This is Atomic Shinobi and today I'm going to narrate second and final part of What If Naruto was trained by a warrior from another world. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe to this channel. Now wasting no more time, let's start the story.
It seems that fate has brought us together, Naruto Uzumaki, V replied. According to Naruto, I don't believe in fate at all. V responded, is that a fact, Uzumaki, or should I say, Blade? I see, that you know my nickname, Naruto remarked. And your mentor, V added. Naruto replied, so, you are a vampire. I knew something was familiar to you. But I never would have thought that you would be able to come here. V took hold of his cloak and threw it in the air, exposing himself. He had a sword by his side and was tall and well built, wearing metal armor strapped to his shoulders. Image of Drake. The vampire declared, I am Vlad, the son of Drake. Naruto replied, but, I thought that Drake never had a son, and how the hell did you get here? Vlad replied, I was born illegitimate after the virus Daystar came and destroyed my father along with the rest of the vampires. Then I made a deal with a friend of mine, the devil, to transport me here since that was where he knew Blade was. But I heard Blade soon left and found out that you took on the mantle of his name. Hey, the surrogate son of Blade battles against the son of the king of vampires. A fitting battle, don't you think? So you want revenge then? Asked Naruto. Vlad replied, partly yes, but I wanted to see how my father could lose to him. After nodding and drawing his sword, Naruto threw his shades to Tenten and his trenchcoat to Hinata. Naruto gave them a wink and said, keep those for me, will you, ladies? Naruto's actions caused Tenten and Hinata to flush, and the Jinchuriki turned to Vlad and said, so no jutsu, only taijutsu and kenjutsu. Vlad replied, I agree to those terms, using jutsu is useless with me. So Blade, ready to die? Was born ready, motherfucker, grinned Naruto. Motherfucker, I like that, Vlad grinned. When Vlad attempted an overhand blow during their charge, Naruto jumped forward beneath him and attempted to cut at Vlad's legs. The vampire stepped back to kick Naruto after leaping over his blow. After falling backwards, Naruto jumped up in time to dodge Vlad's stab and was backhanded to the ground. Vlad got back up and gave him a forceful kick to the chest, sending him flying into the wall. Before charging Vlad, Naruto withdrew and cracked his neck. A crater was created in the center of the room as the prince and his charge clashed in the center. According to Naruto, you're good. Your master has taught you well, Vlad remarked. As Naruto put it, I know. The two started slashing at one another, and the force of their blows caused their swords to spark. This is one intense battle. Naruto is amazing, Sakura remarked. Sasuke grabbed the handle. That Vlad character is strong and Naruto is the one fighting him. Why am I always so weak? Why does he tend to defeat every strong person I meet? Why? I am a Uchiha. I have the Sharingan, I have hatred. So why am I still so weak when Naruto has no hatred and a stupid body enchantment bloodline? Kakashi pondered, Sasuke, he must be jealous of Naruto's strength. Itachi has done a number on you. I know that you can win this, Naruto-kun, Hinata thought. Naruto-kun, please win, I don't want to see you die, Tenten thought. Fu was thinking, so Vlad is a vampire, but I thought that they couldn't go in sunlight. Natsumi was thinking, vampire. Must be a nickname. But why does Naruto seem to recognize him, and who is Blade and Drake? With a loud clash, Naruto and Vlad met, their eyes flashing between each other. I noticed that you are proficient in kenjutsu, Blade, but what about taijutsu? Vlad said, dropping his sword to assume a stance. Come, Blade. After putting his blade away, Naruto assumed his stance. No one dared to move or even breathe in anticipation of the next round, and the room was silent. The fight and Asuma's cigarette ash falling from the cancer stick to the ground captivated everyone, even Gaara. Are you ready to die, motherfucker? Vlad yelled as he ran toward him. After dodging his blow, Naruto shot the vampire in the stomach. When Vlad rolled over, Naruto kneed him in the stomach while holding onto his arms and waist to keep them locked. Each blow landed in the same spot at the same time, causing Vlad to grimace in pain and become agitated. After struggling to free his arm and seize Naruto's leg, Vlad threw himself backwards, landing on his back along with Naruto. After they both stood up and leapt apart to circle one another, Vlad lunged forward and seized Naruto by the waist, causing him to slam his back against the wall. When Vlad struck Naruto in the ribs, he felt something break and coughed up blood. He was kicked in the groin by Naruto, who then sent him a right hook, a left, a third left, and a strong roundhouse kick to the head, which knocked him into the statue's left forearm. While Yumi was trying to fix the damage rather than the bruises he sustained, Naruto clutched his side and winced as he verified that his rib was broken. Vlad emerged from the wreckage to transform into a human. Damn, and he is only in his human form. He is strong. If I can compare his hits, then he is like Guy only with a gate open. Shit, he really wants to kill me. Oh, fuck me. Naruto exclaimed as he raised his gaze to the sky. He struck Vlad in the stomach as he ran, but he was unfazed. Oh, fuck me sideways. Naruto was lifted by Vlad and flung against the wall. I will not lose this battle. I just found someone who loves me regardless of my status, and I am not going to die in front of her. I refuse for this to end this way, Naruto said, crashing into the wall and turning to face him. When Naruto removed his muscle shirt and Kevlar vest to show off his toned body, Hinata, Ino, Sakura, Fu, Natsumi, Temari, and most importantly, Tenten, began to have unclean thoughts about her boyfriend. Daystar! Exclaimed Naruto. Tattoos sprung from the jewel in the center of his pectorals, which lit up in an unsettling blue, and stopped on his neck, pectorals, and detroits. With his misty blue eyes, Naruto glared at his opponent and yelled, "Let's dance, motherfucker." With a growl, Vlad lunged towards Naruto and leapt into the air. Naruto followed suit, and after exchanging airborne blows, they leapt apart in different directions. Vlad landed on the wall and roared at the Uzumaki, while Naruto landed on the railing close to Tenten and Hinata. I will be back, I promise, just give me a little time, and I want a kiss for my victory, Naruto said, turning to face his girlfriend. With a smile, Hinata said, I will, Naruto. Naruto launched himself at the creature after sending chakra to his legs. The Jinchuriki twisted in midair and grabbed the creature's leg to throw him to the ground as it swiped at Naruto. The Jinchuriki then landed on the ceiling and adhered himself to it with glue. Vlad also roared and leapt to the ceiling. The Jinchuriki blocked the kick with two arms and gave the creature a vicious headbutt after Vlad ducked it and threw a clawed arm at Naruto. When the creature stumbled back, Naruto kneed him in the stomach, causing Vlad to fall to the ground. Naruto then knelt down to punch him in the face before giving him a right haymaker, which caused Vlad's jaw to break. The Jinchuriki then leapt up and gave him 3 kicks to the chest, forcing Vlad to get back up and drop his head to the ground. Naruto leapt down to stab Vlad with his unsheathed sword after he fell to the ground and attempted to stand up. As Vlad's form assumed his human form, he let out a roar of animalistic pain that quickly turned back into a human scream. Vlad replied, "Ah, I see, father, why, you lost the Daywalker." The vampire let out a gasp. He turned to Naruto and said, "You will carry on our legacy, Daywalker, you fight with honor and grace, I respect, but remember the thirst will always win." Naruto replied, "I am not a Dhampir, Vlad. I am human with the essence of the Daywalker, but I will carry on your wish." Orochimaru thought, "Damn, I will never get a chance to explore that body of his, that form was so exquisite, and maybe if I get that boy's blood, I might be able to recreate it." Vlad closed his eyes and died instantly, smiling. To everyone's surprise, his body withered into ashes, and Sasuke scowled, "Damn it, I will never be able to get his power." With a smile, Hayate declared, "Winner, Naruto Uzumaki." In a whisper, Naruto said, "Night Stalker." Holding his side, Naruto went upstairs, and Hinata approached him to kiss him and apply ointment to his injured side. "There's your reward, Naru.kun." Naruto grinned as Yumi helped the ointment do its job. It would hurt a little, but he would get through it. Now the next match is Ino Yamanaka versus Takashi of AIM. "Will the contestants please come down to the stage?" said Hayate. "You can do it, Ino," Choji said. "It will be too damn troublesome if you lose," Shikamaru remarked. The young Yamanaka received smiles from Hinata, Tenten, Fu, and Natsumi. Ino smiled brightly at her friends, Fu and Natsumi, but she gave Sasuke a fierce look at the Uchiha, who was taken aback by the girl's aggression. Kakashi responded, "Let me guess, Sasuke. You happen to insult her too along with Sakura, correct?" Sasuke replied, "She is a weak fangirl, which is all that she is." "That is where you are wrong, Sasuke," said Naruto. "And what do you mean by that, Dobi?" Sasuke shot back. "Watch, you just might learn something from her," Sakura said calmly. Hayate stated, "The 9th match between Ino Yamanaka and Takashi of AIM, begin." Takeshi pulled out a sword and opened a water flask at his side as Takashi leapt back to go through hand signals. Sweden. Mizu no Yaiba. The impetuous Takeshi swung wildly as Ino assumed a boxing stance. Ino moved in with a 1-2 punch after dodging. Takeshi stumbled backward, disrupting the water sword. He then moved toward her left cross as Ino kicked him in the side. After that, Takashi lost his balance and performed a suplex on the AIM ninja after Ino tackled him and swung him around. Her move instantly knocked Takashi unconscious. Putting down his cigarette, Asuma remarked, I didn't teach her that. Asuma-san, that would be me who taught her, Naruto remarked. Asuma replied, nice move and thanks, I have been trying for days to break that fangirl attitude of hers. Naruto laughed. Oh, don't thank me, thank Sasuke for being an ass to break the fangirlism in Ino's heart. Strange, she didn't even have to use any jutsu at all. What jutsu did you teach her? Inquired Asuma. Kaden. Housenka was the only one I taught her, stated Naruto. According to Asuma, anyway, thanks. Hayate responded. Okay, winner. Ino Yamanaka, and now we will take a 5-minute break. You would teach Sakura and Ino, but not me? Said Sasuke, frowning at Naruto. Naruto replied, oh, I'm sorry, I thought the Uchiha already knew those jutsu. Sasuke replied, you have others, now show me the hand signs for all of them. Naruto replied, hell to the no, bitch. I am not playing this game with you, Sasuke. Furious, Sasuke threw himself at Naruto, kunai in hand, but the Uzumaki grabbed his arm and flung him over the railing. What the fuck, motherfucker? Are you out of your goddamn mind? Naruto yelled. What is going on here? Asked Kakashi as he abruptly appeared. Then he saw Naruto furious and Sasuke rising from his back. The Jonin said, Sasuke, what did you do? Smugly, Sasuke remarked, I asked for his jutsu and he said no and threw me over the railing. Naruto replied, yeah, after you tried to stab with a kunai in my back when I told you no, you have your own jutsu, now leave mine alone. Kakashi responded, fine, here is the deal, Sasuke, you will not demand Naruto of his jutsu. Don't even think that I don't know how you ask for something. Naruto, you will not interact with Sasuke for the remainder of this event nor provoke him. Not even with that explosive device on his chest. For Naruto, it was, fine with me. I will discover your secrets, Uzumaki. With Orochimaru's cursed seal, I will be even stronger than you with your so-called bloodline activated, Sasuke thought, glaring daggers at Naruto. Everyone returned to the arena shortly after. Sakura, Naruto, Fu, and Natsumi, along with their sensei Shinobu, went to sit by Hinata and Team 8. While standing with Kakashi, Sasuke mostly observed Hinata, Fu, Natsumi, and Tenten interacting with Naruto, but he also glanced at Sakura and Ino occasionally. The 10th match will be Shikamaru Nara and Oboro of AIM. Oboro replied, I forfeit, my arsenal is only Genjutsu and I know that he would beat me. According to Hayate, very well, by forfeit, Shikamaru Nara advances. Damn, Shikamaru swore, now I have to train. Naruto replied, Shikamaru, you don't even train, you just look at the clouds and avoid your mother from trying to brain with her frying pan of doom. According to Shikamaru, that is true. The match was, in fact, Sabaku no Gaara vs Dosu Kinuda. Hayate said, okay, next match is, Gaara used the Suna Shunshin and turned to Dosu, saying, get down here. Fine, begin, said Hayate. Dosu replied, I wonder what is faster, your sand or my sound. Just shut up and fight. Gaara simply let the stopper pop out, causing sand to pour out of the gourd. Ninpo. Kiyomisan passed through Gaara's sand and tried to enter her inner ear as Dosu lifted his sleeve to reveal a gauntlet with holes in it and slammed it against the sand barrier. Dosu exclaimed, what? No way, it is not working. Gaara said in a monotone, this is a waste of my time to die. Dosu attempted to pull away when the sand grabbed his arm, but Gaara said, Sabaku Q. Gaara closed his hand, crushing Dosu's arm and gauntlet, but fortunately not severely because the gauntlet absorbed the majority of the pressure. When Dosu let out a cry of agony, Gaara's sand started to cover him, until Gaara glanced up at Naruto, that is. Gaara gave in when Naruto made a silent mouth movement and said, your blood is not worthy of mother. The author is feeling lazy, so we will describe the match. Hayate coughed and said, winner. Sabaku no Gaara. Next match will be Choji Akamichi and Mubi of AIM. That was anticlimactic, wasn't it? Choji fell because Mubi knocked him unconscious after a pack of Pringles fell out of his pocket and he jumped on them. But instead of nodding, the Iwa ninjas chose to glare at Naruto. Okay, now for the battle royale. Naruto Uzumaki vs Hiro, Okuba and Shun of Iwa. Are the contestants ready? Hayate exclaimed, begin, sighing, look, I don't have anything against Iwa, but I know my father had to do some things to your country to defend his, but there is no reason to try and get revenge against me for my father's actions. The fact that Naruto Uzumaki was the son of the Yondaime shocked everyone in the room, and Hiro sneered, so we're right, you are Minato Namikaze's son. Yes, I am. I won't deny it, Naruto uttered. The Jinchuriki remarked, if you forfeit now, you will be able to leave with your lives intact, as the Iwajonin gave Naruto a fierce look. Die, Namikaze, Okuba bellowed foolishly toward Naruto. After flinching a punch and swerving to avoid Okuba's blow, Naruto snatched a stake and drove it into his heart, saying, sorry, I have not gotten that name yet. Okuba collapsed to his knees and perished, and Hiro and Shun charged at him together, forcing Naruto to sidestep or block their blows. Doden. Gansetsukan no Jutsu. Hiro yelled, and a number of rock staffs emerged from the earth and were hurled at Naruto, who swung his sword out and sliced them in two. Hiro launched his new jutsu, Doden. Domu no Jutsu, as Naruto backflipped over Shun, who attempted to stab him from behind. An earth spear was launched, embedding itself in Shun's chest. His teammate exclaimed, no, Shun, damn you, Namikaze. Naruto replied, how many times I have to tell you? I am not Namikaze, not yet that is. Forfeit now. Yelled Hiro, never, I warned you, Hiro.san, you leave me no choice, Naruto remarked. When Hiro yelled, Doden. Doryuso. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Naruto yelled as he leapt up. A clone materialized next to him, and the clone exclaimed, Kaden. Gukakyu no Jutsu, Naruto yelled, Fuden. Daitopa. Without employing hand signals, with his back to Sasuke to prevent him from copying. Together, the wind and fire jutsus created a massive fireball that slightly turned white. Hiro screamed in agony before he was reduced to ashes because he was unable to avoid the enormous fireball. He saw the Iwajonin launch himself at Naruto out of the corner of his eye as he leapt to the ground. The Jinchuriki pulled out a tiny needle, ducked under the Jonin's blow in midair, and inserted it into the back of his neck. You would have walked away like the rest of your students if you was not so stubborn. Now Hokage.G.San is going to have to explain why one of his Jonin along with 3 of his genin are dead. When he became immobile, the Iwajonin exclaimed, what the hell did you do to me? The Kiss of the Dragon is a technique that I don't own, but Universal Studios does. Damn it. Naruto responded, I must do this because I know you would kill me in a heartbeat. You see, the reason you can move is because I stuck a needle in one of your nerve points, which also happens to be a forbidden point. The blood from your entire body goes to your head and stops there, but soon it will come out of your nose, your ears, and even your eyes. Then you will die, painfully. When Naruto removed the needle, the Iwajonin attempted to move but was completely immobile. The Jonin's ears started to bleed after his eyes suddenly rolled up in the back of his head and he started coughing up blood from his mouth. The Jonin started to shake and cough a lot because he was having trouble breathing. His body trembled until he gurgled one last time and keeled sideways, lying on the ground with his eyes open and lifeless. With the exception of Hinata, the rookie 9 started to feel nauseous and hurried to the closest restroom to relieve their symptoms. Iwajonin and his genin team's bodies were taken by the medics, and Hayate remarked, this concludes the preliminary matches, congratulations finalists. While Guy was crying over the wager, Kakashi was pleased that his entire team had won the wager and advanced past the preliminary round. Guy apparently had to go a month without mentioning youth. Isn't that harsh? Kurenai and Asuma were happy that both of their students had passed the test. Orochimaru was grinning because he knew his plan was working, but he was unaware that Naruto had substituted Special Kage Bunshin for the Sound Trio. Now we will have to wait a month in order to complete the finals. Why? Wouldn't it be better to get rid of it now? Asked Natsumi. According to Hayate, the reason is that most of you have shown your capabilities and arsenal, therefore a month should give you a chance to train and obtain new jutsu or strategies to defeat your opponent. The matchups will be decided by these lots. After everyone had taken a piece of paper, Hayate said, now tell us your numbers. Lucky number 7, Naruto uttered. 6, Mubi said. 2, said Ino. According to Sakura, I am number 1. 3, said Natsumi. Gazing at Naruto, Fu uttered, number 9. In a monotone, Shino said, 10. According to Hinata, I'm 4. 5, said Konkuro. 13. Gaara said, according to Shikamaru, troublesome, 11. 12. Temari said, 8, said Sasuke. All right, said Hayate, this is the matchup. Final Sakura vs Ino, Match 1 Match 2, Hinata vs Natsumi. Match 3. Mubi vs Konkuro. Match 4, Sasuke vs Naruto. Match 5. Shino vs Fu. Match 6, Temari vs Shikamaru. Gaara vs winner in Match 7. Sakura and Ino exchanged a sly smile, renewing their friendship but maintaining their rivalry, this time to see who could be stronger rather than to win the Uchiha's affection. Knowing that both Hinata and Natsumi needed to switch up their tactics to win their matches against one another, they nodded to one another. While Mubi was aware that he would need to put in a lot of training to overcome the puppet master, Kankuro was grinning smugly. Shino was surprised and disappointed by his match. He felt a connection to Fu but wanted to test his strength against her because he and she were both associated with bugs. Shikamaru was thinking, damn, I got to fight a girl, damn, this is too troublesome, what a drag. Gaara felt that Fu was a formidable opponent as well, and she was itching for a fight and considering ways to spill the blood of Naruto and the Uchiha. Naruto was thinking, hey, this is going to be fun, hell yeah, kicking the Uchiha's ass while getting a promotion, plus we get to ass rape him over for Sakura's assault. Hayate responded, you are dismissed until a month's time has passed. After the finalists nodded, Kakashi and his group arrived to meet the Hokage. Naruto, how did you find out about your father? Asked Sarutobi. Naruto replied, no, Sarutobi.G.San. The main question is why didn't you tell me that the Yondaime was my father? Sarutobi exhaled. You saw the reason many ninjas including Iwa have a grudge against your father. If they had found out that you were his son, they would have tried to kill you. Oh, don't think I forgot about you, Kakashi. Sensei, Naruto said, turning to face Kakashi. I know that you were my father's student. Kakashi responded, I couldn't tell you even if I wanted to, Hokage. Sama told me that it was an SS rank secret along with your unique condition. Naruto responded, well, if I make Chunin, will I be able to take up my father's name? Sarutobi responded, if that is what you wish, but I will let you stay in your father's home since you do know about it. Sasuke pondered, so what if he is the son of the Yondaime, he is nothing before Uchiha. Well, if that is all, then you may leave, said Sarutobi. Naruto and Sakura knew that Kakashi was compelled to teach him, but Sasuke left with him to begin his training. Is there something else? Asked Sarutobi. Sakura responded, I would like to press charges against Sasuke Uchiha. Really? Under what charges? Asked Sarutobi. According to Sakura, sexual harassment, assault, and battery. Those are serious charges, do you have any proof? Asked Sarutobi. When Naruto pressed the recorder, Sasuke's attack on Sakura was replayed. Sarutobi responded, I see, you do realize that you have to take off that device on his chest. Naruto replied, actually sensei, it is a dud. I did it to scare him a bit, making sure Sakura was safe. Sarutobi responded, still the prankster, I see. I will call the council this afternoon, the hearing will be at 5 p.m. Naruto replied, good, oh, Sakura, here. This is your training regiment and some Doden Jutsu too. Are you going to do the same thing with Ino-chan? Sakura asked, nodding. With a nod, Naruto said, yeah, it is only fair game since I can't play for just one side, I am just the bridge. The Jinchuriki went to another location to face the man who attempted to make him lose his temper. Heishi was perplexed by the Hyuga compound because Hinata wasn't supposed to be that powerful. She used to only last 18 minutes against Neji and 24 minutes against her younger sister during her training sessions with Neji and Hanabi. However, he soon learned that Neji was in the hospital, resuscitating, and Hinata had a frown on her face. Suddenly the heiress spoke with an icy voice. I knew that you didn't approve of our relationship, but you have sunk low to do this. You knew that Neji hates the main family, mainly me, for not being able to stop that Kumo ambassador from taking me away from my room. Then Hinata went on, by all rights, I should kill you or challenge you for the head of the main family, but I will overlook this event of your arrogance and I will not kill you. So I challenge you for the head seat. Heishi winced at her icy, burning eyes. What? Said Heishi. Her audacity caught the Hyuga's attention, and Hinata reiterated, you heard me. I challenge for the right of the head seat of the Hyuga clan. All right, then I'll teach your place, Heishi said. Hyuga dojo. Hinata and Heishi stood facing one another as the Hyuga entered the dojo. The match of the head of the Hyuga clan will begin between Hinata Hyuga, the challenger, and Heishi Hyuga, the current Hyuga. Ready? Begin. Hinata advanced and launched a barrage of blows at Heishi. Heishi had to block Hinata with difficulty because he was not prepared for this kind of attack. His daughter was more concerned with accuracy, speed, and flexibility than he was with power. Heishi tried to hit her shoulder, but Hinata sidestepped and struck his right arm's points, making it ineffective. It occurred to Heishi, I can't feel my arm. Heishi became somewhat alarmed when he realized that Hinata had attacked some of his nerve points as well as his chakra points. Her father became defensive after Hinata attacked him once more. The clan council's elders were taken aback by Hinata's intensity against her father and thought the match would end quickly, but it continued for 15 minutes and Heishi was under pressure. As Hinata entered the divination stance and exclaimed, "Hake! Sanju ni Sho!" the match was over. Ni Sho, Yan Sho, Hachi Sho, Juroku Sho. Sanju ni Sho. The Hyuga clan name on a board fell on top of Hiyoshi's form as he flew back into the wall. Winner. Hinata Hyuga. The announcer continued. Now as the new Hyuga head, you have the ability to create through laws that can't be overridden by the council or yourself in the near future. Hinata said with a loud voice, "My first law is that the caged bird seal is officially disbanded and anyone who refuses to do so or attempts to use it will be executed immediately." The branch members were applauding her, and the Hyuga council went pale at this. Next, my next act is that the Hyuga council will be disbanded and executed immediately for crimes against my mother, Hitomi Hyuga, by poisoning her tea. Arrest them. The Hyuga council was immediately restrained by the main family, who also removed the elderly men to be put to death outside. Now for my last and final act, I will step down and reinstate Heishi Hyuga as clan head. I know that I could be clan head, but that is not where my heart lies. I wish to be with the person I love and I can't do that if I am stuck here. Just know that you all will be in my heart forever, Hinata said, raising her hand in silence as the families began to object. As Heishi gazed at his daughter, the families applauded Hinata's moving speech. Hinata gave him a disdainful glance. Hiyoshi's eyes widened at the level of killing intent she was producing as she turned on her heel and said, "In the meantime, I want you to stay away from me and my business with Naruto-kun. If I ever hear that you have done anything to him, I will definitely kill you. Hell hath no wrath like a woman scorned, as I mentioned." Heishi Hyuga was yelled by Naruto as there were sudden cries and shouts outside the compound. Heishi went outside to discover that the branch member guards had been sent away unharmed and without any broken bones or bruises. When Heishi noticed that Hanabi was attempting to strike Naruto, he stopped her in her tracks by placing his hand firmly on her head. "Who are you, little one?" "I'm Hanabi Hyuga, the daughter of Heishi Hyuga," yelled Hanabi. As Naruto replied, "Oh, so you are the arrogant little sister that Hinata told me about. Well, then Hanabi Hyuga. Go away now, your father and I have some business to discuss. This is not a place for little kids," Naruto said, removing his hand and flicking her forehead. Naruto raised his killing intent and launched it at Hanabi, who was stunned and had trouble breathing, as Hanabi moved to the side. "Get out of my sight. I have no time or the patience to teach a mere infant to breathe." "Hello, Heishi. Sama, care to explain why you had a branch member let alone her own cousin to try and hurt her when you knew for a goddamn fact that he would potentially kill her? Are you fucking stupid?" Naruto interrupted and strode forward to Heishi, who was screaming inwardly in terror. The surrounding Hyuga were shocked that the Hyuga head would act in such a manner and that Naruto, Konoha's outcast and the lover of their beloved heiress Hinata, was the one scolding himself. "I thought," Heishi started to say, but Naruto quickly interrupted, "No, you did not thought shit, you didn't think at all, Heishi. You were the one who wanted Hinata to act like a Hyuga, confident, strong and blunt, not afraid to speak her mind at all. You finally got it and now you don't like her attitude, make up your fucking mind. You were the one who pushed away your daughter, ridiculing her for her failures, training Hanabi instead of helping Hinata with her training. You could have showed her how to perform the techniques instead of shouting at her. Luckily for you, I was the one helping her train to get stronger on some of our dates and she also happened to find something, her mother's personal style." "Hitomi?" Heishi whispered. Naruto responded, "Yes, Hitomi. I am sure that she is rolling in her grave at your treatment of your daughters. Thanks to you, your younger daughter will die because of her arrogance about being a Hyuga and Hinata has finally isolated you. I warn you. Now you are not longer her father, in her eyes, you are just Lord Hyuga. Congratulations, Lord Hyuga. You have created a Hyuga in her daughter and the old Hinata will never come back. You were lucky that I don't kill you where you stand, but that right is reserved for Hinata for sending Neji to kill her." With a scroll fastened to her back, Hinata emerged. "Ready to go?" inquired Naruto. In response, Hinata said, "I am, Naruto-kun." Hinata glanced back at the Hyuga Lord and said, "I am leaving this house along with my boyfriend. This place has too many bad memories for me." Heishi then asked, "Where are you going?" "You can't do this, Hinata," said Heishi. Heishi stated, "You will be branded with the caged bird seal if you do." Hinata stated, "I think I just did." "The seal is prohibited from use of practice," Hinata declared. Naruto replied, "Also I happened to stumble on something, my heritage. Years ago, you made a marriage contract with my father and signed it along with your wife confirming it." "What?" said Heishi. Hiyoshi's eyes widened when he saw the likeness of the only man to ever kick his ass, and Naruto added, and my father happens to be Minato Namikaze, the Kiroi Senko and the late Yondaime Hokage. Naruto replied, the contract stated that my future wife, Hinata, can have the choice to marry me and live with me, and guess what her answer was? Hinata replied, I am not your daughter anymore, nor am I a Hyuga by title. I am Hinata Uzumaki, this is my new name. Goodbye, Lord Hyuga. I pray that we will never meet again. Heishi cried as he got on his knees and did something he hadn't done in a decade, for his wife, Hitomi, his deceased brother, Hizashi, and most importantly, his departed daughter, Hinata. The council was called in for a meeting at 5 o'clock. Aside from Heishi Hyuga, Naruto was the only person currently absent. Everyone noticed that Heishi had lost his confident demeanor when he entered. After that, Naruto entered with Sakura and briefly observed Heishi. The Hyuga's head remained low and avoided looking at him. What is this meeting about, Hokage? Sama replied that, the meeting concerns an incident between Sakura Haruno and Sasuke Uchiha. What? Has she decided to become the Uchiha's wife? Asked the ebullient civilian council. Frankly, it is quite the opposite, Sarutobi stated. Sarutobi responded, Sasuke Uchiha, you are hereby accused of charges of sexual harassment, assault and battery. What? Said Sasuke. You heard me, Uchiha-san. How do you plead? Asked Sarutobi. Sasuke replied, of course, not guilty. Who is the one pressing these charges? With bitterness, Sakura uttered, me, asshole. The venom in Sakura's tone shocked the council, particularly the mother. Everyone was aware of Sakura's obvious preference for the Uchiha. Her mother said, what? Sakura, what is the meaning of this? When Sakura said, Uchiha here, she was corrected by her mother, Yuko, who said, his name is Sasuke. Sakura responded, I prefer his surname instead. Now Uchiha-san here wanted to go on a date with me. I politely refused the first time because I was focusing on training, but I admit that I wanted to go out with him when the exams were over. Then Uchiha-san harshly refuses my friend Ino Yamanaka's advances, causing her to cry. I lost all respect and interest in him on that day. Then during the second part of the exams, my teammate Naruto Uzumaki left for a few moments to relieve himself of his biological functions. During that time frame, Uchiha-san asks me again to go out with him. Once again, I replied no and told him my reasons for doing so. Uchiha-san didn't like the fact and caught me off guard, pinning me to the tree and tries to forcibly kiss me. If it wasn't for Naruto, who came in time, I am sure that he would have done far worse. That is a lie, Sasuke would never do something like that, remarked one of the civilian council members. Naruto said, on the contrary, my foolish friend, he would. Exhibit A, as he moved forward. So, Naruto said, pressing a recorder, will you go out with me, Sakura? I will even forget that you voted against me. The offer is still open. I will never go out with you again, Uchiha Sasuke, because of the way you treated Ino and the way you made fun of me for being weak. Hell no, is my response. Would you dare turn down a request from Uchiha? Absolutely, I do, in my opinion. You have done nothing but think about yourself, and you have seriously injured Ino. I see. Too bad. I apologize, Uchiha. It's too bad, for you, I said. I guess it doesn't matter, but it would have been so much easier if you had agreed to go out with me. Leave me alone. No, hold on, let me go. Sasuke yelled, just relax, it is just a kiss, it will all be over soon. You will enjoy it. No, no. Naruto pulled Sasuke into a tree by yanking him by the back of his shirt as his lips grew closer and closer. Naruto yelled, you bastard. I leave you for 2 fucking minutes to find you trying to force yourself on Sakura. Even though she also likes me, she would have enjoyed it. She likes to follow me around, you recall. You were extremely fortunate that we need you for the exams. Otherwise, I would kill you right there, but for now. That device will detonate if you even try to contact it with malicious or sexual intent. You can't touch her at all, but she can touch you. You are unable to harm her because it tracks your pheromones and degree of rage toward her. The civilian council was taken aback by the Uchiha's behavior, while the shinobi council was repulsed by them. There has to be some mistake, he could have been under a henge, Kaharu replied. Naruto raised his eyebrows. No, it was not a henge because I threw him in the back of the tree and he still has that device on him. Now if you still don't believe, I guess I will have to go with the seeing is believing trick. With a tape in hand, he said, I had to call in a favor to get this security tape. Who did you get it from? Asked Homura. Naruto laughed, the person who was in charge of the second part of the exam, Enko Midarashi. She is a traitor, she can't be trusted with this matter, remarked one of the civilians. Naruto replied, Excuse me, but I thought she has proved that she fucking hate her former sensei's guts and would kill him in a heartbeat, and on top of that, her worth was proving when she made Tokubetsu Jonin. Now she gave this tape to me but for a price. Your virginity? Homura mockingly asked. Naruto laughed. She offered, but I declined. Her price was to buy her dango for the next 3 months. With the deceased Gado's money, it shouldn't bring a dent considering she is like me when it comes to ramen. Now let's watch, shall we? When Naruto inserted the video, they saw that Team 7 had recorded Naruto leaving the scene and Sasuke interacting with Sakura. Abruptly, he pinned her to the tree, and Naruto returned in time to pull Sasuke back into the tree. Yuko Haruno and Inoichi Yamanaka glared at the Uchiha after the truth was confirmed, and the elders and civilian council were unable to save him. Although she may have detested Naruto for taking her husband's life, he prevented her daughter from being beaten or worse. Her opinion of Naruto was altered by that incident, and she no longer respected the last devoted Uchiha. So council, what is your verdict? Asked Sarutobi. Danzo continued, due to the incriminating evidence, we find Sasuke Uchiha guilty of all charges. Sakura Haruno, being the victim, can decide the punishment or ask someone else to do it. Sakura glanced at Naruto and the Jinchuriki. No, Sasuke Uchiha will not be executed at all. His life will be spared, however. His Sharingan will be sealed for the remainder of the month during his training regiment with Kakashi Hitaki, and will pay a fine of 12,000 ryu in compensation of the Haruno household for the injustice. Does the council agree? Sarutobi and the Shinobi Council silenced Sasuke and the Civilian Council just as they were about to protest. Then we are at the agreement. Sasuke's Sharingan will be sealed until the Chunin exams will arrive. Meeting adjourned. You may leave now. Oh, and Naruto, Sarutobi responded. Turning to face Sarutobi, Naruto was flung a scroll that read, "There is the deed to your new house." According to Naruto, thank you, Sarutobi.G.San. Everyone left the room, either grinning or scowling at Naruto for his daring deed. Naruto secretly laughed because Sasuke was furious. Yumi remarked, "Got the bastard, huh?" Naruto pondered, yes, this will lessen the load on Kakashi when he is training Sasuke. That way he will have to earn the jutsu being taught to him instead of giving it to him. Yumi responded, so how are you going to train? I have taught most of the Kaden jutsu here in Konoha in my arsenal, including Kitsune.bi. Naruto pondered, there is one person I know that has many knowledge of wind jutsu in his arsenal. Sarutobi Isuma. I will ask him to help me train. I have already asked Enko to teach Sakura and Ino some Doden jutsu, so they will be fine with her. The Jinchuriki remarked, so you finally realize what you lost, huh, Heishi? As Heishi passed Naruto. Heishi opened his eyes only for Naruto to extend a hand. Look, Heishi, if you are looking for forgiveness, it is not me you should apologize to, but Hinata. She is the victim here. I was just the bridge connected between you two. I can see that you are not the man you once were anymore, but if you want your daughter back, you will apologize to her. For now, I need you to stay away from her, or I fear that she might kill you. Give her a month and she will be less volatile. Just try to think what you were going to say. As Heishi put it, thank you, Namikaze. Sama. Naruto replied, don't call me that just yet. I want to see the look on the villagers' faces when I reveal my heritage. Heishi grinned. Just like your father, always plotting something mischievous. Thanks, Naruto said, I take that as a compliment. After leaving the council room, the Uzumaki and Hyuga decided to part ways. While the other went to his old apartment to move into his new home with his girlfriend and the Sound Trio, the first went to his house with the intention of apologizing to his daughter. The Sound Trio was seated at the table when Naruto and Hinata entered the Namikaze complex. Zaku questioned, why did you save us? According to Naruto, because you three are considered pawns to Orochimaru. Your previous mission was to track down and kill Sasuke Uchiha, but what he didn't tell you was that he marked Sasuke Uchiha as his next vessel. If you had met us, you would have been killed by Sasuke after he had awakened from his cursed state. Therefore Orochimaru used you three to test Sasuke and doesn't care if you live or die. Zaku started hurling a series of expletives as Dosu clutched his usable hand. Kin's fist clenched until blood began to flow. Naruto replied, since you all knew this factor, I figured that you three would want another shot at him. Knowing him, he would have killed you as soon as you were admitted into the hospital, which is why I took you three here. Are you going to make us stay here? Asked Zaku. Naruto nodded his head. No, you have two choices. You can stay here and train to make yourselves strong to survive the upcoming invasion, or you can go and try to avoid Orochimaru to live a normal life. Zaku replied, that bastard tried to kill me, so I will stay here. As will I, Dosu said. Me too, Kin said. Naruto replied, very well, We will report to the Hokage and tell him that you three requested to go to Konoha and tell him everything you know about Orochimaru. After that, I am going to have to ask you three to keep a low profile, especially if one Sasuke Uchiha tries to infiltrate the mansion. He, no doubt, happens to be very pissed at me and will probably try to discover my techniques discreetly. There will be no fighting amongst each other. If you have a problem, it will be sorted out on the ring. Also, my room along with my girlfriends is off limits. If I find that you are trying to gain favor to the snake bastard, I will not hesitate to kill you. Is that clear? Good. Now Hinata, you take Kin to do some shopping. I will tend to Zaku and Dosu's arms. The three nodded, and Naruto said, "Come on, Kin, let's get you out of those hideous clothes." Hinata nodded and grinned at Kin. As Naruto removed the cast from Dosu's arm, the girls left the room. Naruto swept over his arm after channeling chakra into his hand. Yumi replied, "His arm is almost completely crushed. If you were a second too late, that Gaara kid would have made his arm useless. I think I can fix it if you sent my chakra through the seal." "I thought your chakra is fatal to everyone except me," Naruto thought. Yumi responded, "Not if you sent it through the seal. When you used it against Gato, you made a crack and my chakra was allowed to sift through. Since your father made a chakra purifier seal for your healing abilities, you can use that to heal his arm." "Alright, just tell me what to do," Naruto thought. He worked on Zaku's arms after Yumi gave him instructions to heal Dosu's arm. Although Naruto was unable to repair them, he modified it by adding the same air holes that Orochimaru had implanted in him and replacing it with bionic arms that also functioned as replacements for lost limbs. Following that, Naruto started learning taijutsu and kenjutsu in the dojo. The Jinchuriki were aware of Sasuke's frailties, including his brother and pride. The Uchiha were easily agitated by insults to his clan or the mention of his brother's name. He was aware that he was proficient in both close quarters and long-range combat with Kaiden Jutsu, and it is certain that the council will order Kakashi to teach Sasuke a powerful jutsu in order to defeat the demon. The drawback is that Naruto would have to use a different strategy this time since he was aware that Sasuke was proficient in some of his own jutsu and had probably imitated some of his taijutsu moves. "Okay, I have Sasuke as my first opponent. He might be easy, but I can't underestimate him. Last time I did that, I almost got my ass killed. The real competition will be Fu, Shino, Gaara, Kankuro, Hinata and Natsumi. Fu specializes in lightning techniques and has some kind of unique armor like Gaara to a certain extent from her demon. I need to pierce that armor of hers to get to her. Shino specializes in his clan jutsu to make him dangerous, but I doubt that he will be able to beat Fu, especially since his Kakaichu can't stand demonic chakra. Gaara is dangerous and psychotic. He has that sand protecting him at an instant. I need a piercing technique to break that barrier of his, but he just might have another barrier set up. He seems to rely on his demon as well. Kankuro has a puppet, which means that the thing is filled with dangerous traps, and like all known puppet masters, they laced their weapons with poison. Therefore I got to get up close and personal before he can activate any mechanism. Hinata is a Hyuga, and since she will be facing Natsumi, I can't train her anymore. She is flexible, exceptional in her Juken and has precise chakra control. Though she is my girlfriend, I have to be careful with her. Natsumi, little known about her except that she is very good at kenjutsu. I will have to be very cautious around her. He thought to himself, I got to train hard to make sure I survive these matches. Most likely I will be killed in this exam if I am not careful. Yumi responded, you better start calling in some favors. Naruto entered the dojo carrying his portable boombox and thought, yeah, I can ask Asuma to train me in the Hokage for some help, but first I am going to practice some Aikido. After removing his shirt to show off his toned chest, he hit the music player's play button. Rob Dugan's Club to Death starts playing. After practicing his taijutsu and Aikido, Naruto came up with a method to combine the two, making his moves unpredictable. This was crucial for confusing the Sharingan by using random moves at various times. Sweat trickled from his body as he leapt into the air and performed punches and kicks. He exhaled slowly after completing the first stance. Then, as he wiped himself down with a towel, he turned to face Hinata and heard her say, you know, you never cease to amaze me, Naruto-kun. I aim to please, Hinata-chan. How was your shopping? He asked. Hinata responded, it was great, nobody suspected a thing under Kin's henge. Naruto replied, good, the last thing we need is for people to get suspicious of us. Well, I will be with you in a few moments, I have to take a shower. Alright, then I will be in your room, Hinata said, planting a kiss on his cheek. For what? Said Naruto. Laughing, Hinata said, it is a surprise. An eyebrow went up, and Naruto said, okay. Wondering what Hinata was doing and his tenant laughing at his antics, the Jinchuriki went to the shower and jumped in the hot water. Yumi. Sensei, do you know something about this? He inquired. Yumi said, oh, you will see, I don't want to spoil the surprise. Naruto became even more intrigued by Yumi's remark and hurried out of the shower to go to his room, only to discover Hinata in lavender lingerie, lying on the bed. Naruto said, Hinata, what is going on? Hinata replied, I wanted to thank you for everything that you have done. You helped me become stronger, I have freed my clan from the caged bird curse seal, I stood up to my father and defeated my cousin, possibly change him for the better. To reward you, I give you myself. But, we are still too young, Naruto remarked. At the same time, Yumi was yelling in his, Naruto, damn it, you are both fucking 13, closing on 14. The girl wants this to happen. You seriously need to stop thinking and work on instinct. Now get your ass laid. In response, Naruto said, Sensei, Yumi responded, don't sensei me, Naruto. You are going to become a man or so help me Kami I will take over this damn body and do it myself. Knowing that Yumi did a great job fulfilling her threats, Naruto sighed. Approaching Naruto, Hinata put her arms around his back. Are you sure that this is what you want, Hinata-chan? Naruto whispered. In order to avoid disturbing the sound trio, Naruto put up a silencing seal and held Hinata at arm's length before gently kissing her. Hinata replied, yes, I do. The lemon begins. Hinata tipped backwards on his bed, causing Naruto to lie on top of her, and Naruto kissed her. After he kissed the nape of her neck and gave it a light nip and suck, Hinata gasped and realized she would have to wear a high-collar shirt for that hickey. While he preoccupied his lover with their make-out session, Naruto's hands explored her body. She pouted a little when Naruto took his mouth away from hers and unclasped her bra, releasing the constraints on her breasts. Your breasts are so larger, my hands are practically sinking into them, Naruto said, starting to massage them. Hinata groaned, N. Naruto-kun, please D. Don't tease me like that, yes. The female Hyuga gasped in pleasure as Naruto sat her up straight and took her areola in his mouth, licking it in slow, sensual circles while sending electrical pulses through her body with his smooth, wet tongue. In an attempt to get her to move, Hinata unzipped his pants and placed her hand on his crotch. Trapped in the tent of his panties, she felt his instrument pop out. Since the other hand was now holding his blonde hair, Hinata worked on releasing it from its prison and started to caress it with her free hand. Hinata had a minor win when the Jinchuriki started to groan with pleasure and she was able to tease Naruto by slowly and gently massaging it. That is, until Naruto bit her right nipple and twisted the other one between his fingers. They resumed kissing to their heart's content after Hinata arched her back and pressed her boobs into his hand for easier access. After a struggle for supremacy between their tongues, Naruto ultimately gave in to Hinata's demands. They both moaned as her tongue probed every square inch of his mouth. Naruto started to play with her sexual button as his calloused, smooth hands moved toward the underside. Naruto whispered, do you like that, Hina-chan? Do you like me rubbing your pussy? Hinata was grumbling, yes, that feels so good, Naruto-kun, More, please, give me more. Make me feel good. Hinata screamed with pleasure as Naruto complied by sticking his finger into her hole. She felt more waves of pleasure as his finger moved in circles. Naruto grunted at the unexpected speed and bit his lip to adapt as Hinata's hands started to rub up and down on his shaft more and more. Hinata felt herself getting hotter and hotter. Then he made a movement with his finger, quickly and forcefully slipping into her folds. In an attempt to meet his thrust, Hinata's hips started to buck to meet his fingers. Naruto-kun. And Naruto-kun. I feel hot, I feel so hot. Yeah, oh yeah, it feels good the way your fingers are plunging into my pussy. Yes. Hinata began to pant. Naruto was taken aback by Hinata's abrupt attitude shift. Naruto smirked and remarked, Hinata, you have become a dirty little girl. Returning his glance, Hinata said, but I am your dirty little girl, your horny dirty little girl. With a smile, Naruto gave her another kiss and said, I love you, Hinata. The Hyuga girl arched her back fully, and shortly after, Naruto grunted as he arrived. Hinata panted, I love you, too, Naruto-kun. Oh yes, that is my spot, I am about to come, yes, I am. Coming. Then. After collapsing back onto his chest, Hinata turned to face her covered hand. Tasty, she said, lifting it and licking it clean. Where the hell did you learn this, Hinata? Asked Naruto. The response from Hinata was, sex education and Kama Sutra. As the Jinchuriki grinned, he said, "Wow, I never thought you would know this. Hell, I didn't think that you would suggest this." Hinata replied, "There are all of things that you don't know about me, Naruto-kun. Plus if Lord Heishi tries to marry me off to a suitor, then I at least want to have my first time with you." Naruto replied, "He wouldn't dare try that, he already knows what I can do to him when somebody's pissed me off. I will have to give him a refresher with the Uchiha as my little guinea pig to remind him why you should never piss me off." At his dick, Hinata exclaimed, "Wow, you are still hard and so big." The Jinchuriki laughed. "The perks of being a Jinchuriki, Hina-chan. Since I am the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi, I am basically like a gobstopper. I am everlasting all day long." As Naruto stood up, his tool hovering over her head, Hinata dropped to her hands and knees and said, "Well, I better clean it before the main event." Grabbing it gently, she thought, "Wow, 7 inches and he is still going strong." He shuddered a little as Hinata opened her mouth and licked the head of his organ. She engulfed his tool in her hot mouth while grinning sensuously at him. Muffled, Hinata uttered, Putting his fingers through his girlfriend's hair, Naruto moaned, "Hinata-chan, your mouth feels so good, damn, this is good. His dick, it is so salty and the smell, it is turning me on so much," Hinata thought as she sucked and caressed the small portion that her mouth could not fit over. "God, I never thought that sex would be this good, especially fellatio." As Hinata continued to move more quickly, Naruto reached down to massage her breast. He then grunted again as he entered her mouth. As Yumi sat in her chair and watched the two spar, Hinata's eyes glazed over as she tasted his seed, which made her think of cinnamon rolls. As she put a kernel in her mouth, she remarked, "What can I say? I taught the kid well. I am surprised he lasts 10 minutes. Normally with virgins, it is between 2 to 5 minutes." Spreading her legs out on the bed, Hinata said, "Naruto-kun, I am ready now." "Hina-chan, are you sure you want this? One word is all it takes to stop this," the Jinchuriki said as he climbed onto the bed. With a sigh, Hinata said, "Naruto-kun, yes?" was Naruto's hesitant response. With a kiss and a look into his eyes, Hinata said, "Shut up and fuck me." "How do you want it? Do you want me to fuck you, make love to you, or bang you?" Naruto asked her with a savage smile. In a whisper, Hinata said, "Make love to me, Naruto-kun." Slowly, Naruto inserted his dick inside her until he was fully inserted. Hinata let out a scream that was both painful and pleasurable. Naruto rubbed her back and kissed her on the mouth to distract her from the pain. "Are you alright now, Hinata-chan?" he asked, raising his head. "Yes, I am. You can start moving now," Hinata said with a nod. After giving a slow nod, Naruto started to move slowly at first before accelerating slightly. As they locked eyes and shared the moment, Hinata put her hands around his neck. As she exhaled, Hinata felt waves of pleasure wash over her body. "Oh, Naruto-kun, yes, please make sweet love to me, fill me up with your cum." "Are you sure?" asked Naruto. Hinata replied, "It's okay, I am on the pill and I did the birth control jutsu to make sure it never happens." "In that case," Naruto said, quickening his pace as he moved deeper and deeper inside Hinata, his instrument clamping down on her pussy. Hinata yelled, "Oh, Naruto-kun, yes, that is it. Yes, oh yes. Oh, I'm about to come, yes, oh." "Hinata-chan," Naruto yelled, "I am coming too. Please, come with me, Naruto-kun." Hinata said, and Naruto did just that. The two converged and then collapsed beside one another. With a gasp, Hinata said, "That felt so good." According to Naruto, hell yeah it did. As Hinata put it, "You know we are not finished yet. You want more? Fine by me. Time for round 2. Before long, the two were fighting once more, and the sound trio noticed that 2 hours later, Hinata was glowing and practically limping, while Naruto emerged with a broad smile. "You just got some, didn't you?" deadpanned Zaku. While Kin flushed and Naruto nodded, Zaku remarked, "Damn, and he got a cute girl too." Ends of lemons. Naruto stopped by the store later that day to see Tenten. He purchased daffodils for Tenten when he visited the Yamanaka florist shop. Since Ino was running the store at the time and felt obligated to pay him back for training her a little, recommending her to her trainer, and consoling her from her former crush, now known as Uchiha Teme, they were provided without charge. Ino's father, Inoichi, personally thanked him for assisting his daughter in seeing the light and promised to give him a discount on any flowers he wanted to purchase. "Excuse me." He walked confidently to the store and knocked on the door. "Oh, hey, Naruto. Those for Tenten?" Jin asked. Nodded. I wanted to give her some flowers. I know that she can't be on her feet for a while in case of rupturing her kidney again. According to Jin, her room is upstairs to the left. After giving a nod, Naruto went upstairs and knocked on the door at the end of the hallway. When Naruto heard rustling in her room, Tenten opened the door and said, "Just a minute." "Yes?" Tenten asked. "Hey, Tenten. How are you?" said Naruto. Stuttering, Tenten said, "N. Naruto.kun. "Hey, may I come in?" said the Jinchuriki. The boy entered the room after the weapons mistress gave a stupid nod. He noticed that there were numerous weapons in her room, along with a poster featuring Tsunade's Senju and her training regiment. It appeared that the cabinet had not been used since the day of Naruto and Hinata's first date, but it was there in case she wanted to go out on the town for a while. "So what do I owe the honor of you visiting me?" Tenten asked after gathering the daffodils and putting them in a vase. Naruto stated, "I wanted to see how my friend was doing despite the fact that the doctors told her that she has to be bedridden for a few days in the risk of rupturing her kidney. I hated it. Uncle Jin won't let me do anything," Tenten remarked. Naruto replied, "He is just worried about your health. I mean, I am too." With a flush, Tenten said, "Why? You are?" Naruto replied, "Yeah, you are my friend. I am not going to let you strain yourself if there is a risk that you are going to potentially die." According to Tenten, "Thank you, Naruto.kun. And, so have you visited your team?" the Jinchuriki inquired. Tenten replied, "Yeah, I have. Lee is okay and he should be up and running in a few days, as always." "That's Lee for you," Naruto said with a laugh. Tenten went on, "And Neji. He is different now that Hinata kicked his ass. He changes and he seems more mellowed out. He scowled less and tries to smile more often too." Smirking, Naruto said, "That is my girl for you." Tenten replied, "Yes, Hinata seems very strong now and she is fighting an opponent that I couldn't beat." Naruto replied, "Hey, don't get down. You did your best and that is all that matters. Hokage.G did say that you could become a Chunin even if you lose." According to Tenten, "But I wanted to win so badly." Naruto stated, "Winning is not everything. Hell, I had to fight for my life or else I would have died. You did your best and lost, but now you know that you have to do better if you want to win against your opponent. Besides, I think you need to be more versatile too." Tenten asked. Naruto replied, "You know weapons very well, but I think you need to learn some ninjutsu or genjutsu just in case." "But I don't need," Tenten said. Naruto responded, "Tenten, everyone needs to be well-rounded, but I am not saying that you can't have a forte in weaponry. I am being logical because what if Natsumi had been a ninjutsu user?" "Unfortunately," Tenten remarked, "I would have got my ass kicked." Naruto replied, "Correct, which is why you need to train in ninjutsu. Besides, I am sure that Tsunade knows ninjutsu. After all, she is one of the Sannin." According to Tenten, okay, I got the picture." While grinning, Naruto said, "That is a good Tenten." Tenten giggled and gave Naruto a playful shove, saying, "Stop that." Speaking with a smile, Naruto said, "You know, you are cute when you smile." The remark made Tenten flush, and Naruto stood up, saying, "Well, I got to go back home. Hinata is expecting me." As Tenten put it, "Oh, okay, goodbye, Naruto.kun. I will see you tomorrow, Ten-chan," the Jinchuriki said. "What is this feeling I have? Why do I feel so empty when Naruto leaves? Do I have feelings for Naruto.kun?" Tenten asked herself as he left the room, her heart tightening. Gates. "Oh, good to be home. Now to check out Konoha's babes. To the hot springs. Ladies and gentlemen, the gallant Jiraiya has returned," said a white-haired man who had just arrived at the gates. The Jinchuriki entered the hot springs and spoke with a woman who worked there. Naruto thought, "I should stop by the hot springs. It has been a long time that I have relaxed with all of this drama with Orochimaru and Sasuke along with the council." As he paid for his towel and led Naruto to the changing room, the legal teen blushed at his adorable features. The woman blushed and almost passed out at Naruto's muscular chest, and he was grinning when he emerged. The boy thought, "Hey, it looks like I am famous with the female population." Yumi responded, "It is due to our training that me and Eric gave you." Naruto replied, "You are right, although it was hell you two put me through." The teen sat in the hot water and moved slowly through it, letting out a little sigh as the water splashed over his body. "While we are at it, we might as well think of strategies against your potential opponents," Yumi put forward. The jailer nodded mentally, "Right, my first opponent is Sasuke. It will be easy to beat him despite the fact he has his Sharingan sealed. Once unsealed during the exams, it will be a bit difficult to defeat him." So to screw him over, I have to taunt him about his family, more so his brother. That way, he will become sloppy. Now against Shino, his bugs will be a problem if they get to me. So I will have to end it quickly. By using Kaiden Jutsu or controlling your chakra to poison his bugs. He will not have time to have his bugs adapt in the midst of battle. Against Natsumi, she is mainly a Kenjutsu user and I don't know anything about her. So I will have to wing it against her, Temari. Her Fuden Jutsu are extremely dangerous, so I will have to take the fan or use Kaiden Jutsu against her. Konkuro. Destroy the puppet filled with hidden mechanisms, which are probably laced with poison. Gaara. He controls sand and has the Ichibi, so I need a seal to suppress the chakra or defeat him using Suiden and or Raiden Jutsus. Now. Huh? His thoughts stopped for the moment to hear someone giggling perversely. Naruto used a kunai he had concealed in the water to see a white-haired man, who appeared to be in his 50s, peeking on the woman's side. Looking at the man, Naruto muttered, "TCH. I hate perverts." His red geta with metal tips and kabuki style suit caught the Jinchuriki's attention. He had a big scroll on his back and was in a relaxed but tense position for a surprise attack. The voice of Naruto said, "Oi, arrow.og.san. Shut up, you are interrupting my research," the man said looking at him. Then proceed to the red light district. It is approximately 12 blocks from here, the Jinchuriki advised. Naruto sighed and shook his head in response to the old pervert's statement, "I don't like used products. Fresh products are better. Now leave me alone." The man turned around. He kicked the old man quickly in the back, knocking the pervert over the women's sidewall and dropping his notebook into Naruto's grasp. After glancing at it and catching a glimpse of Ichi's title, he thought, "Great, the man is the one who writes that stupid series that Kakashi-sensei loves so much." He threw the notebook into the water, rendering it useless, and watched as the man was severely beating the women. Feeling content, he left the onsen to get dressed and was about to return home to his girlfriend when he felt a hand resting on his shoulder. Naruto instinctively took hold of his hand and threw the attacker over his shoulder, revealing that it was the same elderly man, albeit one who was soaked and had numerous facial bruises. You ruined my research, Gaki. Do you know who I am?" the elderly man asked. Naruto replied, "Am I supposed to care? You are a pervert, and what is worse is that you have to resort to peeking because you can't get some." According to the elderly man, "I am not a pervert. I am a super pervert." With a drop of sweat forming behind his head, Naruto said, "You are not supposed to admit that." The enigmatic trickster stated, "But I am also the gallant Jiraiya, the wise toad sage, savior to women and children. All of my enemies tremble before my name." Naruto replied, "So you are Jiraiya of the Sannin. Hey, good, I could use you." Jiraiya replied, No favors for you. You interrupted my research, Gaki. "I guess you don't want to know about your old teammate, Orochimaru," Naruto said as the toad sage turned to leave. Jiraiya instantly stopped and became very serious. "What of Orochimaru?" she asked. Naruto replied, "First, you owe me considering that you are my father's sensei." With wide eyes, Jiraiya said, "You?" "No." Nodded. "I figured it out, plus the Kyuubi confirmed it. Now all I understand that you had to do your job, but it could have been nice if you would have just visited me once in a while. I was alone for 6 years, being abused and neglected because of people's ignorance." The fabled three Sannin's Jiraiya now bowed his head in embarrassment. It's funny because, looking back, it made him think of how his former student used to fuss over his past romantic relationships. "So, in return, you will train me in everything that you and my father knew. I will have to surpass him sometime. While we are doing this, there will be no peeking whatsoever." Naruto went on. "According to Jiraiya, no research?" His gaze was imposing. "Unless you want me to warn every single woman in this village that Jiraiya the perverted Sannin is in town, I suggest that you will not peek at any woman for the time being. Plus I don't think you will take me seriously while you are peeking and it is your punishment for not being there for 13 years. I have a feeling that the invasion your old friend is cooking up will be hard and long." Jiraiya responded, "You are right, I should have been there for you, but you look so much like your father. I couldn't bear to stay too long with you. It should have been me to do the sealing instead of him. It is your birthright to learn your father's techniques. Now tell me about Orochimaru." According to Naruto, Orochimaru seems to be after Sasuke Uchiha or rather his eyes. What I don't understand is why he didn't take them when we confronted him at the time. "You fought against him? Are you nuts?" Jiraiya asked. Naruto stated, "We were safe anyway. He couldn't use his full strength against us in risk of alerting the Anbu patrolling the edge of the forest in the tower. Plus he is like Sasuke, arrogant and always underestimating people." I was able to take the Kusanagi no Tsurugi and cut off one of his arms. So he can't use jutsu unless he gets back the Kusanagi to purge the poison from the cut. Jiraiya responded, I am impressed that you were able to do that despite the fact that he was holding back. Naruto responded, anyway, he gave Sasuke a curse mark just like his apprentice Enko Midarashi. The seal is inactive due to my sensei Kakashi Hitaki. So Orochimaru perfected that kinjutsu, Jiraiya remarked. Says Naruto. What kinjutsu? The Gamma Sennin responded, before Orochimaru fled, he was trying to perfect a jutsu that basically can overtake a person's soul and therefore he could control the body and use the techniques that are locked within it along with his own. Naruto continued, so he planted the curse seal to make Sasuke stronger and crave for more power to place his hooks into him. Knowing the Avenger side of Sasuke, he will try to go to Orochimaru and have him train him in all of his techniques as well as others. Then he will overtake Sasuke's body along with the jutsu that he has learned, if that happens. Jiraiya said, Orochimaru will be unstoppable. We need to stop him from destroying this village first. I think that is his first priority along with trying to kill Sarutobi, sensei. Right. Said Naruto. So before I train you, what do you know, Naruto? Jiraiya asked. The Jinchuriki continued. I consider my taijutsu to be high chunin, my ninjutsu is low jonin and my genjutsu is almost non-existent, but I can recognize and dispel genjutsu. My kenjutsu is low jonin as well. Jiraiya continued, so you are basically at high chunin level if you can fend off Orochimaru. Do you know your affinities? Naruto nodded his head and Jiraiya pulled out a piece of chakra paper. Here is a paper from a tree that specifically nurtured with chakra. If you send your chakra through it, you can find out what your affinities are. If it is fire, it will burn. If water, it will get wet. If earth, it will crumble to dust. If lightning, it will crumple, and if it is wind, it will split. When Naruto sent his chakra into the paper, he saw it split in two and crumple on both sides simultaneously. Your affinities are wind and lightning, Jiraiya stated. I am limited to both, but I think Asuma has a wind affinity. After this test is over, you can ask Kakashi for clarification on your lightning affinity. However, I will train you in summoning and this in the interim. With a light blue spiraling ball in his hand, Jiraiya extended his palm and said, the Rasengan. The jutsu that your father created along with the Hiraishin and your birthright. Alright, arrow. Sensei. Naruto said, don't call me that, Jiraiya yelled. Nays. Said Naruto. It works for you. You're old, my father's son, my sensei, and a self-described super pervert. Furthermore, you owe me. Jiraiya started complaining about brats and disrespect before saying, come on, it's time to start summoning. Jiraiya led Naruto to a training area, where the Gamma Sennin gave him instructions. Before I teach you the hand signs, you must first sign the contract. Jiraiya performed the hand signals and exclaimed, Kachiyose no Jutsu. The last time she did it, she performed a reverse summoning and instead fell into the summon world. Then, in a plume of smoke, Jiraiya materialized atop a huge toad, and when Naruto opened the scroll, he discovered Jiraiya's name and his father's beside it. Naruto removed one of his gloves and bit his thumb to sign his name and imprint his fingertips on the contract. Okay, now you should be able to do it. I will show you the hand seals and then you can take over from there, Jiraiya said as his name briefly glowed. Kachiyose no Jutsu. Naruto yelled as he executed the hand seals and slammed his right palm into the ground. A tiny yellow, green toad in an orange vest emerged from a tiny plume of smoke. Hello, I'm Gamakin. It's good to meet you. Nice to meet you, Gamakin, Naruto said with a smile. So you are our new summoner aside from Jiraiya. Sama, Gamakin retorted. I think Gamabunta Sama will like you because you appear to be quite strong. According to Naruto, I hope so. Well, Gamakin began, I will spread the news. Says Naruto. Thanks, Gamakin. After Gamakin vanished back into his own world, Jiraiya said, I am surprised. I was expecting you to have summoned a tadpole with your large chakra capacity. I have to learn chakra control to a great extent, the Jinchuriki retorted. I failed the Bunshin no Jutsu graduation exam because of this. I was expending excessive amounts of chakra. Well, let's see if you can summon the boss, Jiraiya said. With a nod, Naruto called forth a great deal of chakra and exclaimed, Kachiyose no Jutsu. This time, Naruto was on top of a dark brown toad with a scar across one of its eyes, wearing a jacket resembling a yakuza, with a pipe in his mouth and a big plume of smoke rising up. Who the fuck are you and where is Jiraiya? The toad asked, glancing up at his nose. I am Naruto Uzumaki at your service, Gamabunta, Naruto retorted. Jiraiya is located less than 2 feet from your left foot. I was called upon to inform you that I am your new summoner, in addition to Ero. Sensei. Gamabunta chuckled. You? A fresh summoner? You hardly have enough chakra in your tiny body, boy, to call me at all. Need I mention that I am also the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi no Kitsune incapable of using its chakra? Naruto asked, without saying anything, as he called forth his chakra to swirl around him. You're that Gaki, then, Gamabunta said. I have memories of you as a newborn. Naruto laughed. That is right, you were the one who helped the Yondaime fight against the Kyuubi on that day. The Toad replied, okay, Gaki, I acknowledge you as my subordinate. We should have a drink sometime to seal the deal. Arigato gozaimasu, said Naruto. Jiraiya exclaimed, congrats, you are now a summoner. As Naruto leapt to the ground and Gamabunta returned to his realm. With a slight pant, Naruto said, good, that last one took a lot out of me. You ought to have used the Kyuubi chakra instead, Jiraiya remarked. Maybe, Naruto retorted, but I would rather rely on my own strength. The chakra of the Kyuubi is a powerful tool. Jiraiya replied, we will continue your training tomorrow. Meet me at the hot springs by 4. As Jiraiya made his way to the Hokage Tower, the boy nodded and headed for his house. He reminds me so much of you, Minato. Jiraiya thought, grinning a little. When her other teammate arrived, Tenten, the weapon mistress, performed light training at her regular team training ground after she was finally able to walk on her own 2 feet. Neji said, hello, Tenten. Tenten responded, hello, Neji. What do you want, may I ask? She threw a kunai lightly at a dummy's head, and Neji winced at the impact. I also want to apologize for using you while I was spying on Hinata and Naruto's date, Neji said, bowing his head slightly. I deserved that. I wanted to apologize for the way I have acted towards you, Lee and Guy. Sensei. Even though Tenten threw kunai at the important places, he went on, I should never have insulted you or her on that day. Tenten looked at Neji and the Hyuga branch member's eyes lifted slightly as he turned around and was startled to see Neji kneeling on the ground with his head low to the ground. I humbly ask for your forgiveness and hope that in the future, we could be friends, instead of colleagues. Neji, you hurt my feelings that day and right now, I am not even sure that I want to forgive you. Neji kept his head down as she threw a kunai behind her, and the weapon sank at the crotch target, causing Neji to perspire a little. Tenten went on, but, you look pitiful like that on the ground, so. I will forgive you, Neji Hyuga. But you are going to have to do a lot of kissing up to become on friendly terms again. Neji replied, I will do my best to regain your trust, Tenten. Kakashi glanced at Sasuke and said, so it seems that you can use the Chidori only 2 times. The Uchiha gasped in effort as he gazed at the enormous rock in front of him, which had 3 holes that appeared to have been sloppily drilled into it. The conceited little bastard was unaware that Kakashi was teaching him the weaker version of his jutsu, but he thought, damn that council, even though it helps that he doesn't have his Sharingan active thanks to Naruto, but they managed to make me teach the Uchiha my original jutsu, the Raikiri. But I can do more. I need more power. Sasuke, look at yourself. You are panting with exertion, Kakashi said, looking up from his book. You can only take 3 shots, and 2 if you're wearing the Sharingan. You will die if you attempt to use the jutsu at all. That's enough for today. Naruto. You were the one who stopped me for claiming Sakura, gaining power, and you have more power as well as a bloodline, the Uchiha thought bitterly as he returned home to rest, despite Sasuke's growl. I'll humiliate you for your arrogance and demonstrate the Uchiha clan's actual might. At the moment, Shino, the Aburame, was meditating on his own adversary, the enigmatic Fu of Takigakure. He was aware that she was somewhat similar to him, but her chakra was strange. It reminded him of Naruto's own chakra and felt sinister to him and his colony. In contrast to his aura from his bloodline, the Uzumaki had a propensity to release a sinister chakra when he was upset or angry. Fortunately, he discovered the dead bug he had placed on Fu, which allowed his colony to adjust to the strange chakra. However, it also raised questions about the mystery that is Naruto Uzumaki, and the only way to find the answers was to ask either Fu or Naruto himself. The 2 girls, Fu and Natsumi, were standing before their superiors in their own village. Do you 2 recall your goals? The head of the council said. Did the Takikage initially approve of this matter? Asked Natsumi. The Takikage, with much effort, was persuaded to go along with this plan, Natsumi-san, the leader said, lying through his teeth. Fu grumbled, so we are to help Orochimaru with his invasion against Konoha, also have ourselves be impregnated with Uchiha Sasuke's seed. The leader replied, that is correct, but to add to that, The council wishes that one of you take the seed of Uzumaki Naruto also. From your reports of his bloodline, we could make super soldiers with his Daywalker bloodline. But sir, isn't Konoha one of our allies? Asked Natsumi. Yes, they are, the man said, but because of Konoha, Takigakure has been a small village. Konoha will have to recover if Orochimaru, with the help of his covert ally Suna, is able to harm them. With your assistance in assuming the Sharingan and Daywalker bloodlines, Taki will take Konoha's place as one of the 5 great countries. You both have formidable opponents to defeat, so get ready for your matches now. Fu remarked, he was lying. Either the Takikage would have told us about this mission himself, never a council member, as the hooded council member left the training area and the two kunoichi exchanged glances. There's a problem. Natsumi responded, there is no way I am doing this mission. I have a feeling why they would ask us to do this mission. Since you are the Jinchuriki of the 7. Winged Beetle and I am shunned for my bloodline. The Reiki. So what should we do? Fu asked. We will be treated unfairly if we tell Konoha anything. I will be used as a weapon, you as breeding stock, and if we return without finishing our mission, we will be put to death. Natsumi responded, I think we need to seek the help of Naruto Uzumaki, he will help us. Him? Fu asked. Why? So you really were not paying attention to your Biju at all? Asked Natsumi. In addition, Naruto is a Jinchuriki for the 9-tailed fox, the strongest Biju. I don't trust the council, and he will at least vouch for us both if we swear allegiance to him. Fu replied, of course, all power corrupts the weak-minded. With a sly smile, Natsumi said, I am surprised it has not corrupted you. Indignantly, the Jinchuriki yelled, hey, I am not weak-minded. Never said you were, said the swordswoman with a sly smile. The Anbu was on leave because of an incident that destroyed her fiancé, Gekko Hayate, and training Hinata Hyuga, who has disregarded the Hyuga clan's traditional rules, helped her forget about her deceased fiancé, Hinata. The Hyuga was training with Hyuga Ozuki, an associate of Naruto's sensei, Kakashi Hitaki. Hinata was being taught the Tsuki style of Kenjutsu, which is the same style used by Hayate and Hyuga. Hinata knew that she would be severely messed up if Natsumi employed that long sword or that enigmatic palm technique. Since Naruto was a possible opponent, she knew she couldn't ask him to help her prepare for the Chunin exams. Instead, she chose to ask Kakashi, who suggested her to Hyuga Ozuki. Hyuga said, again, Hinata-san, you are still a bit slow. Then Hinata stood up and said, hi, sensei. Welcome to the Chunin exam finals. The contestants are as follows, Natsumi of Takigakure, Fu of Takigakure, Sabaku no Temari, Sabaku no Gaara, Shino Aburame, Sabaku no Kankuro, Naruto Uzumaki, Sasuke Uchiha, Hinata Hyuga, Mubi of Omegakure, Shikamaru Nara, Sakura Haruno, and Ino Yamanaka. Please enjoy the matches that are ordered in your pamphlets. The Hokage said with a microphone. Everyone stood in front of the crowd below in the arena. Genma Shiranui, the proctor, responded, alright, here are the matchups in case you guys have forgotten. The first match will be Sakura Haruno and Ino Yamanaka. The second match will be Natsumi and Hinata Hyuga. The third match will be Sabaku no Kankuro and Mubi of AIM. The fourth match will be Naruto Uzumaki and Sasuke Uchiha. The fifth match will be Shino Aburame vs Fu. The sixth match will be Shikamaru Nara and Sabaku no Temari. The seventh match will be Gaara and the winner of the sixth match. As the Uzumaki walked with his girlfriend, Sasuke glared at Naruto's back and said, I will make you suffer, Uzumaki. Naruto felt Sasuke's hatred and murderous intent gradually growing, and he grinned as he thought, good, he is still pissed at me. This match will be too easy. Everyone nodded, and Genma said, alright, now will everyone except Sakura Haruno and Ino Yamanaka please proceed to the balcony? Just be careful, his cursed mark may activate because of it. Yumi issued a warning. Naruto thought, right, what is this? As he turned to see Fu and Natsumi gesturing for him to approach them. Squeezing Hinata's hand, Naruto remarked, I will be right back, Hinata-chan. All right, the girl said as she turned to face them. Natsumi said, hello, Naruto-san, as Naruto approached them. Hey, Natsumi, Fu. Best of luck in your matches. Shino and Hinata-chan will be tough opponents for each of you to beat. Natsumi responded, I believe so, but there is something of importance that I need to tell you. What is it? Naruto asked, his expression growing serious. Fu responded with a whispered voice, Takigakure has found out that Suna and Ado has made an alliance in order to invade Konoha during the semifinals. We are supposed to join them. Natsumi responded, not only that, we're assigned to impregnate ourselves with your seed along with Sasuke Uchiha's. Naruto responded, I see, so Orochimaru is actually going to try and kill Hokage.G.San. But why tell me this? Natsumi responded, because we would like to become ninjas for Konoha. There is nothing for us there anymore and we have a feeling that the council is lying because the Takikage doesn't like conflict. He learned from Kumo's mistake to steal the Byakugan from your village and its result. Fu is shunned for her burden and I am a great granddaughter of a traitorous missing ninja. Alright, I will see what I can do. Really? You would trust us so easily? If I thought that you were lying, I would have noticed it by your body language, Natsumi.san. Plus you wouldn't have bothered to tell me about your side mission. Now let's enjoy the matches and try not to use up a lot of energy. Got it? As Naruto returned to Hinata and informed her of the situation, the two girls nodded and turned to face the arena. Naruto.kun, are you sure that you can trust them? It could be a trap, she inquired. I am sure. Fu is a Jinchuriki like me, hated and shunned for something that was out of her hands, and Natsumi is hated because of her background associated to a traitor. Sakura wore a crimson shirt with the Haruno symbol on the back that exposed her midriff and tight leather pants in the arena. Normally tied in her hair, her headband was now on her forehead. Ino was dressed in a sleeveless top and purple shorts that exposed the ends of her fishnet bodysuit. The first match between Sakura Haruno and Ino Yamanaka began. Smirking, Ino asked, "Are you ready, Sakura?" "Always, let's show them what we are made of and give them a show," Sakura said, tying her headband tightly. Ino tied her headband on her forehead after removing it from her waist. After that, they both assumed stances and charged at one another. Ino was hit by Sakura's left hook, but the blonde ducked low and gave her friend an uppercut instead. After Sakura took off, Ino grabbed her by the ankles and slammed her to the ground, but Sakura quickly got back up and waited for a few seconds. She put her palms in front of her and twisted just before she hit the ground, causing Ino to lose her hold on one of her legs and allowing the Haruno to slam her foot into Ino's abdomen. While Sakura flipped back onto her feet, the Yamanaka staggered backward. As she performed hand signals, Kage Kanai no Jutsu, Ino's blue eyes widened as the Haruno pulled out a Kanai and launched it, multiplying it into 20 Kanai. While I am distracted with the Kanai, she will use clones to confuse me while she herself will come in, Ino said, navigating the barrage with grace while keeping watch over Sakura. Sakura followed through on her promise to attack Ino from the side, but Ino disproved her theory by revealing that it was a bunshin. Then Ino yelled, "I got you, Sakura," and punched Sakura, who was approaching from the opposite direction, only to expose it as another clone. "What?" Ino exclaimed, startled. Over here, when Ino turned around, she saw Sakura fall to the ground after taking a rabbit punch to the face. When Sakura leapt to the ground to kick Ino's fallen form with an axe, the Yamanaka rolled sideways and kicked Sakura's head with her hand, turning her like a spinning top. Sakura gave a vicious sideways head snap. As Naruto watched the two kunoichi inflict bruises on one another, he thought, geez, they are really duking it out. Anko Chan did a nice job with those two. I wonder what different things she taught to the both of them. Now they are strong, perfect. Now I can claim them as my brides to rebuild my fallen clan. Sasuke was thinking. Sakura yelled, Kaden. Gukakyu no Jutsu. She threw back her head and spit out a massive ball of fire that was aimed at Ino. Doden. Doryuheki, exclaimed Ino. To shield herself from the flaming ball of death, she knelt down and forced a souled earth wall to rise. Sakura yelled again, Kaden. Gukakyu no Jutsu. But the same thing happened. Sakura entered with a roundhouse kick as the wall collapsed in front of Ino. To trip Sakura, Ino ducked and swept her leg. Sakura was able to move away when the girl with the bubblegum hair fell to the ground and threw a kunai at Ino, causing her to bend matrix style to avoid it. Sakura ran up the wall to push off backwards as Ino ran after her. In addition, she saw that Sakura was throwing shuriken between her fingers. Sakura released the stars and spun in midair to gain momentum. Because of the increased speed, Ino could hardly see them, and while some of them only scratched her clothing, one managed to lodge itself in her calf. Ino thought, I don't have enough chakra to use any Dotenjutsu, but I have enough to use the Shintenshin. If I can get her before she lands, I can win the match. Though you have grown into a beautiful flower, Sakura, this match is over. After kneeling down, Ino yanked out the shuriken. Shintenshin no Jutsu. The jutsu managed to strike Sakura just as she hit the ground. It is over. Ino has complete control over Sakura's body. No one can break that jutsu. Naruto laughed. Don't be so sure, Shikamaru, there is a first time for everything. Though Ino is strong, Sakura has one of the strongest minds here besides yours. Sakura was about to leave the match when her body started to tremble and struggle as soon as Naruto's words left his lips. What the hell? Ino pondered, she has two minds. That is impossible. The inner Sakura yelled, "Begone, Kai," Ino said, moving her hands in the release seal. With a gasp, Ino opened her eyes and said, "Sakura, you have two different minds inside you." Her thoughts returned to her lifeless body. "You met my inner self, an exact opposite of me. Don't you know, a girl has to have a hard center or she is not going to make it in this world." Sakura stood up and said, "Damn it, it took a lot of chakra to push Ino out of my mind, not to mention doing 2 Bukakus. I can barely stand, I only got one shot." Ino responded, "Looks like we both are on our last legs, what do you think, one last attack?" Sakura grinned and turned to face her opponent, "One last attack." The two molded kunoichis prepared themselves before running toward each other and meeting in the center of the arena. They then delivered strong punches and kicks to each other. The two girls gave it their all, and everyone watched in wonder. As they slammed their fists into each other's chests, they both thought resolutely, "Time to end this, I will win." The kunoichis fell face forward after flying backwards into the walls. After a brief pause, Genma declared, "This match is a draw because neither contestant is standing, so neither of them advances." As the medics raced to the scene to transport Sakura and Ino to the temporary hospital, the crowd applauded in respect. "The second match, will Hinata, Hyuga and Natsumi please come down?" Genma responded. As they descended the steps to the arena, Natsumi and Hinata nodded. Genma began to say, "The second match, Natsumi vs Hinata Hyu, but was cut off." "Excuse me, Proctor.san, my name is not Hyuga anymore, it's Uzumaki." "Very well, Natsumi of Takigakure vs Hinata Uzumaki, begin." Kurenai asked himself, how and when, Uzumaki? She is married to Naruto. Natsumi asked, "Does she have a name?" after drawing her sword and hefting it in front of her. "Yes, her name is Hakuren, named after my mother." "Interesting." Then, out of nowhere, Natsumi moved to Hinata's left, but Hinata managed to track her movement and deflect the blow. Hinata grinned and said, "I see you." Hinata pushed Natsumi's sword away and attacked at her head, but Natsumi retaliated with an overhead strike after backflipping to avoid the horizontal strike. "So it appears. Then let's take it up a notch. The question is, can you keep up your move?" Konoha no Ryu. Mikazuki no Mai. Hinata rolled to the side and assumed her well-known pose. 3 of her clones then materialized and started to attack Natsumi from various angles. So Yugo taught Hinata her sword style too. Hinata is really changing the outlook of the Hyuga, but I don't understand how she is married to Naruto so soon. She can't attain her dream after that statement. Kurenai was thinking. Asuma said, "Maybe you shouldn't jump to conclusions so soon, Kurenai. Hinata is not the type of person to jump into something headlong without knowing anything. If she admired Naruto, she would not do that." In response, Kurenai said, "You don't know her." "You're right, I don't, but neither do you anymore, and you know that she changed after she was captured on that mission along with you. If you don't trust Naruto, then trust Hinata and her judgment," Asuma replied. "Fine, but I will talk to the both of them when her match is done." Fu said, "Your girlfriend sure is fast, I never seen anyone that can keep up with her besides that bun-haired girl and me." Naruto responded, "Yes, she sure is amazing and I am lucky to have her as my future wife." "Future wife? Yeah, lucky for me, she loves me for who I am, regardless of my tenant." With a downward glance, Fu said, "I wish that could happen to me. And it will, waiting is not easy, but it will be worth in the end." The two human sacrifices snapped their necks back to the fight after a large explosion in the arena. "Burst pulse!" exclaimed Natsumi. Hinata exclaimed, "Kaden." Another explosion occurred when the dome of blue chakra collided with the red crescent beam. Natsumi made an unsuccessful attempt to locate Hinata by looking through the smoke. Natsumi looked up just in time to see Hinata descend with her sword ready to kill when a shadow passed over her. As Hinata stabbed the ground, the tacky ninja rolled aside, and Natsumi was about to strike when Hinata muttered, "Rippling water moon." The ground trembled, throwing Natsumi off balance. With her katana drawn from the ground, Hinata slashed Natsumi diagonally and downward. With a gasp of agony, Natsumi slashed desperately, catching Hinata in the abdomen. Hinata jumped back to gain some distance after hissing in pain and automatically grabbing the wound. "Damn, I still haven't perfected Rippling Water Moon and it still takes a lot of chakra to do. She has a way to counter Mikazuki no Mai, that's for sure. Plus there's the invasion to deal with." Clinging to her wound, Natsumi said, "Hinata, we need to finish this now, one final bout." After Hinata nodded, she and Natsumi assumed a duel stance and charged at one another. When Natsumi attempted to hit Hinata's vulnerable area, Hinata deflected the blows. Hinata deflected the opponent's attempt to slash at her while she was in the air. Hinata shifted her katana behind her back, allowing Natsumi's sword to clang against it as the former Hyuga attempted a thrust, but Natsumi sidestepped and struck at her back. Hinata turned around quickly, spinning like a top with her momentum. The blows repeatedly struck Natsumi's sword, causing her to skid back. Dragon's Roar. Banishing Eclipse. As the aftereffects of their techniques struck the walls, smoke billowed out and their swords clashed blindingly. On either side of each other were the two swordswomen. "You did good, Hinata. Your teacher taught you well." "Thanks, you did well too. Did you teach yourself?" Natsumi remarked. "No, my father did before he died." Then the two turned and collapsed, unconscious, on the floor. When Genma said, "This match is a draw too. Now will Sabaku no Kankuro and Mubi please come down?" The crowd cheered once more. Kankuro reflected, "This match is so trivial, and I can't reveal the secrets of Karasu before the invasion. I forfeit," howled the puppeteer. Both Naruto and Sasuke jumped off the balcony into the arena and approached the proctor. "TCH, fine. Winner by forfeit. Mubi of AIM. Will Naruto Uzumaki and Sasuke Uchiha please come down?" The fourth match, Sasuke Uchiha vs. Naruto Namikaze. The crowd became eerily quiet as Hokage continued. "Now before anyone dares to protest, Naruto Uzumaki is truly Naruto Namikaze. Not only he looks like my successor, I also have a copy of his birth certificate and blood comparison tests matching him to his father by 95%. He will be granted 2 seats on the Shinobi Council as well as his heritage from the Uzumaki clan and Namikaze clan." Genma turned to face the crowd, who were displaying shock and fear at what they had done to their savior's only son. As he observed their precious faces, Naruto was secretly laughing uncontrollably at some of the cage buncheons he had positioned in the crowd. The proctor then yelled, "Begin." "So, Namikaze, you think that since you are the late Hokage's son will let you win against me?" Sasuke replied with arrogance, "Huh? You are a fool as well as your father." Naruto laughed. "So says the Uchiha, whose family was murdered by one of their own, who is also the only Uchiha I respected beside your mother. Oh, and by the way, if the Uchiha clan was so elite, then how come your father was killed by Itachi or didn't become the Hokage, huh?" Naruto went on, while Sasuke clenched his teeth. "And your mother, remind me to kick Itachi's ass when I see him. Your mother was one of the nicest people I have ever met, not to mention she was pretty hot," Naruto said, unfazed by the deadly intent that Sasuke was producing at an alarming rate, as his Sharingan flared to life. Sasuke yelled, "Shut up!" and hurled himself at Naruto, who promptly removed his cloak and flung it in front of Sasuke's face. When Sasuke threw away the cloak in front of his eyes, he discovered Naruto had vanished. "Oh, and there was Shisui-san too. He was a great man, taught me the Shunshin no Jutsu a few weeks before he drowned. You, on the other hand, are a washout." Naruto slackly pulled out a spike and blocked Sasuke's shuriken. "Ever since that day, the council has been wiping your ass, giving you everything, extra training, discounts on food and clothing, etc., all because of that cheating eye of yours. If you were any other man, you would be treated like everyone else that you have put down. You were just jealous of me." Naruto threw the spike at the Uchiha, who ducked it only to collide with Naruto's fist. "Of you? Of an eye that can easily be countered by not looking into them. Huh? Don't make me laugh," Naruto said. The Namikaze then pulled him back for a vicious right cross by grabbing his collar. Sasuke's head started to roll in agony, but Naruto's knee to his abdomen caused his ribs to start to ache as well, causing the Uchiha to roll across the arena. Sasuke yelled, "Kaden! Bukaku no Jutsu! Kaden! Housenka no Jutsu!" Several fireballs flew at Naruto, who pulled out his sword and slashed at the fireballs and shuriken concealed inside of them. The classic fireball struck Naruto, who stepped aside only to watch Sasuke launch himself into the air. "Pathetic! Spit out Naruto!" Naruto then slashed at Sasuke's head as he attempted to ambush him from behind. Fortunately, the Uchiha smirked as he ducked, but as soon as Naruto's foot touched Sasuke's face, the smirk vanished. "Are you finished yet? How does a loser like you get so much stronger than me?" "How? Easy. I have people to protect. Generally, when the most precious thing that you have is threatened, you would do anything to protect it. That precious thing is my friends. In essence, my friends are my power. You, Uchiha, don't have anyone. People tried to befriend you, but you felt that you didn't need weak friends. You needed power to kill your brother. Hatred versus love, a constant battle, but in the end, love will always win. That's a lie. All a lie. I refuse to believe that bullshit. Sasuke screamed. A recognizable chirping came from his hand as he made 3 hand signals. So you copied Kakashi's Chidori, or did you actually have to work for it? Replied Naruto. I worked for it. I had to make the council convince Kakashi in exchange for me to activate the CRA. I was going to save this move for Gaara, but I think I will settle, for killing you and then take your woman. Looking like a crack and heroin addict, Sasuke screamed as he ran at Naruto. Dodge it, Naruto. He will kill you, yelled Shikamaru. Naruto dispelled the Chidori by swerving to the side, grabbing his wrist, and slamming his hand into the ground. Naruto kicked his head, effectively cutting off Sasuke's speech, and Genma yelled, "Winner! Naruto Namikaze!" Sasuke screamed in agony at his broken arm, saying, "As useless. This match is over. Good night, Uchiha. What a shame, I am still alive in your arm." When the crowd realized that the Yondaimi's son had defeated the Uchiha with relative ease, their jaws dropped. Although he was intrigued by Naruto's power, the Kazekage, who was secretly posing as Orochimaru, was furious about it overall. After performing a shunshin, Naruto showed up at the hospital. Sakura and Ino were around the corner, their faces and arms wrapped in gauze pads, while he looked for Hinata's room. Naruto said, "Hey there, ladies. Good match, you too." Ino responded, "Thanks, you are done with your match already?" "Yep, the Uchiha was no match for me at all. Now I got to keep up my guard since the others are a bit difficult. Mubi from a Megacure, I have no idea, but Shikamaru, Temari, Shino, Fu and especially Gaara, I have to watch out for. Do you two know where Hinata's room is?" "According to Sakura, 3rd floor, 6th door on the right." "Thanks, oh and watch out for Sasuke, both of you. He will try to get one of you to join his harem since he has activated his clan restoration privileges." "What? Why?" asked Ino. "To learn Sensei's original technique, the Reikiri, but luckily Kakashi gave him the unperfected version, the Chidori, but it is still dangerous." Together, the two Kunoichi exclaimed, "Got it," and made their way to the stands to prepare for the upcoming game. Naruto and Natsumi went up the stairs and followed Sakura's directions to locate Hinata. Naruto inquired, "How are you two doing?" According to Natsumi, "I'm fine." "Same, luckily that stab wound wasn't aimed at any vital points." "Good, remember, Hinata. I just got you as my future wife and I will be damned if I lose you. Also thanks, Natsumi for not hurting her severely," Naruto replied. "You're welcome, Naruto-san, but the thought occurred that you were going to help me and Fu, plus the fact that you love her so much was the fact that I held back a bit." Naruto looked at her and said, "Good, I will make sure that when this is over, I will let you two have a rematch, first one to submission will win." "We both look forward to it," Hinata and Natsumi said, grinning at each other equally. Kurenai entered the room at that moment and said, "Excuse me, Natsumi-san, could you please give me a few moments with Naruto and Hinata alone?" Natsumi gave a nod and Naruto responded, "Oh, Natsumi-chan, be careful of Sasuke, he has activated his clan restoration privilege and he will stop at nothing to get you. Do you realize what you have done?" Natsumi asked, nodding as she left the room as Kurenai turned to face Naruto. I am guessing that this is about the last name thing, right? Just so you know, Hinata has already achieved her dream," Naruto said, a little uneasy. "Hinata got involved, after I found out that Lord Hyuga sent Neji to hurt me just enough to anger Naruto to show that he was unstable for being the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi no Kitsune." Kurenai was a bit apprehensive about the kept going. "Yes, I know about the Kyuubi, he told me. Now after I came home, I challenged Lord Hyuga for the Hyuga clan seat due to the fact that he did an unforgivable act of trying to kill me through Neji. I won. As it is custom, the newly appointed Hyuga head is allowed to make 3 laws that can't be outlawed by the council or the Hyuga head himself or herself. I outlawed the Hyuga caged bird seal, destroyed the council for poisoning my mother and then reinstated my father back to the position. Then Naruto-kun here revealed that our fathers along with our mothers have betrothed us to each other. Now that Hokage Sama has revealed his heritage as the Yondaimi's son, it is official." "Oh," Kurenai said. Naruto replied with kindness, "I know that you were the one that cared for Hinata after her mother died and when her father's parental skills were lacking, but you should know that Hinata-chan would not do anything without thinking about every possible consequence." Kurenai bowed to them and nodded, saying, "Gomen nasai, Naruto, Hinata, I just..." "You don't have to apologize, Kurenai. Sensei," But maybe you should listen to your boyfriend more often. He knows things like that despite the fact that he is a lazy chain smoker. Hinata responded. Cherished, Kurenai said. Asuma is not my. After a few minutes, Kurenai withered away as the Jinchuriki tilted his shades to reveal his azure eyes. The woman muttered, how did you know? Naruto responded matter of factly, easy. You two are always seen together at the exact same time. You denied relations with him every time. And plus he was my futon manipulation teacher. Seeing her sensei turn a fiery red, Hinata laughed and said, now don't deny it. You may as well be open about it. Kurenai smiled slowly and asked, do you think that we will last? Replied Naruto, in the words of Asuma, Kurenai, she is the most beautiful woman that I have ever seen. Though she seems to close out people is because of the fact that she has been hurt by several idiotic people in the past. Despite that she is trying to push me away, I want to be the one to shield her from that pain. She is a diamond among rhinestones and anybody would be lucky to have her. Asuma's words caused Kurenai to flush and Hinata to coo in silence. The red-eyed Jonin then hurriedly left the room to make amends with Asuma. Looks like my work here is done. Will you be able to walk to the arena with your injury? Replied Naruto. Yes, being a Hyuga has its perks. I can regulate my chakra to any part of my body to quicken the healing process. Good, then let's go. Shino and Fu's match is starting. Hinata thought about moving, but the wound was still sensitive. Hinata kissed his cheek and said, you are so sweet, but you spoiled me every day. Naruto then stepped forward and took her in his arms in a bridal fashion, saying, looks like the wound is still tender. Today is the day you get spoiled, Haim. The boy grinned and said, I know. As they left the hospital, they ran into Heishi. Hinata, Hyuga. Sama, was her curt response. Hinata. Chan, be nice. I know he has done wrong and hasn't been exactly the ideal father figure to you. But at least hear him out. Heishi responded, thank you, Naruto. Sama. Hinata. Sama, I know that I have been unfair to you with everything. I know that I don't deserve your forgiveness because of my actions in the past, but I know that would have to face you one last time. I am working to change myself, the Hyuga clan and most importantly, your sister's attitude. I hope that you are happy with Naruto and understand completely that you don't want to ever associate with me after this. With a lowly bow, he said, please forgive this fool of a father. Hinata replied, Lord Hyuga, get up. I can't stand people groveling at my expense. Plus the one who is giving me off at my wedding at 16. Heishi glanced up to observe Hinata's face with slight grin as she talked. I admit that I was very upset with you for a while, but over the month, Naruto helped me to forgive when you would apologize. I can tell that you were sincere with your words, so I forgive you, but if you ever make the same mistake again, not even my mother will save you. Understood. Lady Uzumaki, Heishi grinned. Call me daughter. Now let's go see my teammate kick some ass. Heishi mockingly glared at Naruto, saying, now that is the only thing that I hate that you changed Hinata about. The three went to the arena and took seats to watch the match after Naruto grinned and said, I like it, it suits her just fine. The fifth match, Shino Aburame of Konohagakure vs Fu of Takigakure. Genma yelled, begin. As Shino started to conceal his Kakaichu colony and Fu called forth her demon chakra in the arena. A ring of dark jade encircled the edges of her pupilless red eyes, which turned into a slitted red. As she charged at him, she thought, I must finish this quickly. Sorry that I can't have fun with you, Shino-san. She yelled, Beetle Stinger, as she swooped directly at the Aburame. As the Aburame emerged beneath the tree's shadow, Shino scattered into a small colony of Kakaichu and said, I won't go easy on you, Fu-san. He ordered the bugs to swarm at Fu, but the Kakaichu started to crumble at Fu's wall of demonic chakra. Fu boldly said, come on, stop trying to hit me and hit me. Briefly, Shino remarked, that statement doesn't make any sense at all. Kakaichu. Drill. Shino's collection of bugs took the form of a drill on his arm, and the boy charged at Fu, piercing her heart with it. Her demonic shield was not penetrated, but it did cause some bruises. Kakaichu. Spear. Shino struck Fu once more, aiming for the same location, and to Fu's surprise, a crack appeared on her stomach. Fu yelled, what? Before Shino kicked her in the stomach, sending her flying back. I don't understand, how did you break through my armored defense? Fu responded. I wanted to be prepared against you, Fu. During your battle with Lee, I sent only one beetle on you to get used to your unique chakra despite the fact that the process would kill it in an hour due to your unique chakra. I know the condition of Naruto and the connection that you both share. Fu's eyes widened as Shino continued. Frankly, I could care less about it. On a note, I could relate. I had a few friends because of my clan's way of assimilating the Kakaichu inside my body. I was labeled as a freak, but Naruto befriended me and soon others saw past it. Personally, I believe that they are ignorant of the burden you nine have. Now that it covered, let's continue our fight. While Fu assumed her stance and grinned, Shino allowed his bugs to spread out in a spiral around him. Thank you, Shino-kun. She whispered. She charged at Shino, her fist blazing with green chakra as she ran at him. Fu appeared behind the Aburame as he retreated to avoid the blow. Siren cricket. She screamed in a high voice. Everyone in the stands had to cover their ears as the screech broke up the Kakaichu. Shino lost his balance and his hearing was damaged because he was so close to the explosion. Fu used the occasion to launch a scarab strike attack on Shino. Fu yelled, "Yes, I won," as Shino took his chakra punch to the face, sending him crashing into the wall. Not quite. She turned to see Shino standing behind her, his hands in his pockets, and asked, "What? How did you?" "Bug clone, very useful, but I am afraid with my current skills, I would not be able to defeat you, Fu-san. Therefore it is logical for me to forfeit this match," Shino said in a monotone voice. Winner. Fu. Shino, promise me that we will have a rematch when you get stronger. I won't be satisfied with that, Fu said, feeling a little let down. I promise, Fu-san, Shino said. Genma replied, now will Shikamaru Nara and Sabaku no Temari please come down? Temari responded, come on, get up, are you going to just lie down all day? I got stuck with a girl again? Shikamaru thought. If you won't come, then I will, Temari yelled at him. Hey, the match hasn't started, exclaimed Genma. The indolent boy swiftly removed two kunai and embedded them in the wall behind him, but Temari ignored him and slammed the iron fan onto Shikamaru. I hate to fight and I don't care about being chunin, but I can't stand losing to a woman. So I'll guess I will take you on. Shikamaru grinned as he stood atop the kunai with his hands in his pockets. You know, she said. With a sly smile, Temari blew a wind strike at him while opening her fan. Temari glanced at the smoke billowing and said, well, he's great at running. Naruto smirked and shook his head. No, Shikamaru may be lazy, but he hides his potential. He is able to think ahead at every possible situation and make strategical moves against his opponents, but most likely he is going to win, but quit. Temari pondered, okay, he is a ninja that uses shadows and probably trying to lure me into the trees. I will fall for that. The lazy Shikamaru thought, oh man, those clouds are lucky, so free. I really don't feel like doing this. I just became a ninja so I wouldn't be bothering, but I suppose, those things are not that simple. What the hell? Is he mocking me with that smile of his? Temari asked herself. The wind blew hard in the arena as she yelled, Ninpo. Kamaitachi no jutsu. While swinging her fan. Tenten pondered, that move was the one that knocked me out cold. Shikamaru has his hands full. A line of shadow suddenly materialized, speeding toward Temari, who hurried back until the shadow began to fade. Hey, there is a limit to how much you can shrink, stretch or change your shadow, isn't there? You can't stretch it any further than your normal shadow's surface area no matter how you change it. Laughing, Shikamaru said, that's right. Temari then shut down her fan and measured the distance, 15 meters and 32 centimeters. He can use other shadows, but he can't control them, so he is using the shaded area to increase his length. But unfortunately, no matter if he goes to the edge, the length will be the same. Konkuro replied, Temari is better at long range fighting, this match is over. With a smile, Naruto said, nope, not yet. Shikamaru lowered himself into his contemplative position. Said Naruto, even though his grades were as bad as mine, he often said that he was too lazy to pick up his pencil to write, but he loves to play shogi a lot. Whenever he gets in a tight spot, he assumes that pose. His sensei Asuma gave him an IQ test in shogi form and found out that his IQ is over 200, he is a freaking genius. According to Konkuro, so he might win, not quit. We shall see, he is out of his pose now, Naruto replied. So it looks like you are finally getting serious now. Ninpo. Kamaitachi, Temari remarked as Shikamaru ducked under the trees and removed his shirt. It is no use trying to hide. Stop running or give up. Temari ducked as two kunai were suddenly thrown, only to get caught in the path of another. A series of explosions sounded in front of and behind her as she used her fan to block it. He attached explosive tags. She was thinking, he is trying to distract me. Then Shikamaru's shadow appeared and began to move. Nice try, but your shadow can't pass this line. Wait, hold on. Ah, shit. Temari thought. The shadow did, in fact, cross the line, causing the wind user to leap backwards once more. I see, she said, you used those kunai as distractions to keep me occupied while the sun moves, giving me more leverage. This should be your limit now. Kankuro cried out, Temari, above you, while Shikamaru remained silent and stared at her. When she looked up, she saw a kunai fastened to the bottom of Shikamaru's shirt, which was used as a makeshift parachute. As she avoided the encroaching shadow, Temari swore, son of a. Shikamaru proclaimed, you will not escape. Temari was thinking as she moved, impressive, using the kunai to distract me from his shadow and then using his shadow to distract me from looking up and noticing the parachute. But it's clear to me now. I need to finish this quickly. His shadow will move farther as the sun moves, so I will use Bunshin no Jutsu, which will draw his attention to it. Then I will jump out and use all my chakra into the strongest possible Kamaitachi to rip him apart. Temari thought, initiating attack. Bunshin no, as the shadow paused and slowly moved away. What? I'm frozen, she thought as she suddenly froze. With his hands spread wide, Shikamaru exclaimed, finally, Kagemain no Jutsu success. Temari responded, but your shadow was nowhere near me, how did you get me? According to Shikamaru, I let you look behind you. He turned his head and Temari, who was enchanted by his jutsu, followed suit. When Temari noticed a hole behind her and realized that his shadow was indeed joining hers, her eyes widened. When Fu.San made that hole to attack Shino earlier, it made a connection with Sasuke's Chidori hole. You can put 2 and 2 together to figure out that the attempts I made to get you in my jutsu were all distractions and lures to bring you her. Checkmate, said Shikamaru as Temari clenched her teeth. Go, Ino yelled. Shikamaru and Temari approached each other while Choji munched frantically. They both raised their hands when the shadow wielder declared, that's it, I quit. Huh? Ino asked. Shikamaru replied, those failed successions used up my chakra. I had thought up over 200 moves and I'm getting tired of this. One match is enough for me. Plus I believe that I can only hold you for about 5 more minutes. Genma yelled, winner. Sabaku no Temari, next match, Sabaku no Temari versus Sabaku no. Temari yelled, oh, hell no, I forfeit, winner by forfeit. Sabaku no Gaara, now will Naruto Namikaze and Mubi of Aim please come down? Genma went on. Mubi winced when Naruto turned to face him. Shakily, the Omegature ninja said, I forfeit. Genma's gaze widened. What the hell is with everyone forfeiting their match now? He thought to himself, I know that Naruto practically bitch-slapped the Uchiha across the arena and Gaara is the most bloodthirsty here, but, never mind, it just clicked. Now for the semi-finals, will Fu of Takigakure and Sabaku no Gaara please come down? Shosha by forfeit. Naruto Namikaze. Fu leapt down to the arena as Gaara performed his specialized Suna Shunshin, his eerie smile visible. Ready, begin. Gaara's gourd started spitting sand right away. So this is the sand that belonged to the Ichibi no Shukaku, Fu asked, taking a small leap back. Be careful, my little insect. Shukaku is the most insane out of all of us. That boy will kill you if you are not careful. Got it, Takeshi. Gaara's demonic monologue continued. I know I fed you some bad blood, but I promise that this time, it will be delicious. Fu thought, oh, great, he thinks Shukaku is his mother now. Gaara suddenly clutched his head and said, don't get so angry, mother. Come, said Gaara after Suna Jinchuriki twitched once more and composed himself. She called forth her chakra and yelled, Ninpo. Maikuchu no Yoroi. Fu retorted, thought that you would never ask. She darted over to Gaara and started punching the living daylights out of him, sending pieces of his armor flying to the left and right along with his body. Gaara attempted to defend himself by using his sand, but it was too slow to prevent Fu from striking her with strong blows. Fu yelled, come on, let's go. Gaara gave her a fierce look as his sand balled up around him. The Nanabi Jinchuriki yelled, oh, no, you don't, you coward. She charged at Gaara, punching at the opening with her fist while glowing light green chakra. The spikes pierced her armor, and the sand closed around her fist. Damn you, Raikuhu! Gaara cried as he was hurled from the back of his sand, his armor broken and his torso gushing blood. Phew, that was close. My hand feels like it was about to pop off. Fu replied. Winner. Fu of Takigak, Genma said as she turned to leave. Genma yelled, what the hell? As the feathers began to drift down into the arena, lulling the civilians to sleep and causing the cage booth to burst in a cloud of smoke. Naruto immediately acted by approaching Fu. Fu. Get away from Gaara now, huh? She noticed that Gaara had grown and was encircled by his sand. His demon is coming out. Fu's eyes widened as she grabbed his shirt and threw the boy out of the arena and into the forest. Naruto questioned, "What in God's name told you to do that?" Shukaku was getting out. Gaara can't be unconscious, that is why all of Shukaku's containers has insomnia. Yumi replied. Shit. We better go get him or Shukaku will destroy the whole village in seconds. Naruto was thinking. Fu, let's go now. Right. Exclaimed the two Jinchuriki as they hurried across the arena, followed closely by Temari and Kankuro. Roof. The two bodyguards immediately acted after the cage threw a smoke grenade. They were cut in half by the Anbu, but 4 shadows emerged from each of the 2 pieces. The cage commanded, "Do it," as they touched down on the roof's 4 corners. Yes. The bodyguards yelled. Together, they put their palms together and yelled, "Ninpo. Shishienjin." So it is you, Orochimaru. Looks I will have the chance to rectify my mistake, Sarutobi replied. So you knew, how? A blade tipped me off? I am going to kill that Namikaze brat, but first, I will deal with you, Orochimaru said, his eyes narrowing. Orochimaru undressed to display his everyday clothes, while Sarutobi tore off his clothes to reveal his battle armor. Hiruzen said, "Bring on, bitch," with a tone of danger. Naruto exclaimed loudly, Fu-san, now would be a really good time to get him the hell out of here. The Nanabi Jinchuriki sprang into action at once, snatching Gaara by the strap holding his gourd to his back and hurling him from the stadium. Come on, we are going after him, exclaimed Naruto as he landed next to her, Shino and Sakura at his sides. But what about Uchiha? Asked Sakura, one of his teammates. He is a liability as well as Orochimaru's objective. In the midst of the chaos, it would be perfect to obtain him. In response, Kyuubi Jinchuriki said, I got that covered. Natsumi-san will be protecting him, and besides I think he would have his hands full with Hokage.G.san. However, as he was finishing his sentence, a number of kunai were hurled at him, and just as he was about to knock them aside, a number of auto ninja appeared in front of them. One of the Jonin sneered, You shall not pass while we live. Gaara will destroy this pathetic village and you will watch as it happens. An arrow suddenly descended in front of the Jonin, who then started to blink. The Oto group watched it with interest as the blinking sound increased in frequency. Naruto recognized it right away as Blade's way of telling him about his adventures and yelled, Scatter. The arrow exploded in front of the Oto Jonin with a loud squeal, instantly killing and dismembering some, and the Konoha Genin and Fu fled just in time. A rough voice from the person in the center yelled, You kids okay? As 3 people came into view. Astonished, Naruto raised his head and exclaimed, Blade. Sensei. What are you doing here? I was in the neighborhood, thought that you might need a hand, so I came here with a couple of friends, but we will catch up later. You have an insane brother to take care of right now, so go. Blade replied with a grin on his face. After giving his master a nod, the Jinchuriki jumped off with his friends. Let's go, guys, Shino, Sakura, and Fu said. Right. A moment later, a man approached Blade with a shotgun on his shoulder and said, So, that is Naruto Uzumaki, he acts like a mini-you. Shut up and kill people except the ones with the swirl on their headband. Just as his female companion decided to respond by hurling 2 ninja to hell with explosive arrows, Hannibal said, Right. As she dashed into the fray, Hannibal and Blade exchanged glances and smiled as they followed their female companion's lead. Come on, boys, I am already on 7. Suddenly, Fu said, We are being followed, as the group of Naruto, Fu, Shino, and Sakura pulled Shikamaru along for the ride. How many? Sakura inquired. The Nanabi holder retorted, 8, no, 9, 9 of them are coming fast. Shikamaru-san, can you stall them? The Nara heir paused to quickly devise a plan to halt the pursuing ninja, and he said, Yeah, I got it, besides I really don't want to deal with Gaara at all. At last, the group arrived at Gaara and his siblings. Naruto and Fu faced a maniacal Gaara. Sakura faced his sister Temari, and Kankuro faced Shino. She enmeshed herself into the bubbling Biju chakra, turning it into a one-tailed cloak. Ah, Uzumaki, Fu-san, I have been waiting for you, now come and let me feel your blood through my fingers, Fu responded. He is very unstable, let's hell our brother. Hey, Yumi, if I drew on your chakra, will it look like that? Yes, the look is reserved for 2 tails and up to take the shape of our bestial form, hence the beetle form on Fu with her stinger. Now look sharp, he is coming. Gaara threw a roundhouse kick to her face after Naruto sidestepped a sandclaw, but the insane Ichibi Jinchuriki caught it and threw her away. After Naruto and Fu collided in midair and crashed into multiple trees, they both awoke groggily, and the Kyuubi Jinchuriki muttered, Daystar. The Jinchuriki flipped Gaara over, using the tree as a springboard, and struck Gaara on his back after he sprang at him with the Dampire's spirit coursing through his entire body. Gaara met his charge with tremendous speed. Snarling, Gaara said, that was weak, Uzumaki. Before Gaara could react, the offending beeping became loud and exploded, knocking her straight forward where Fu used her armored arm to clothesline her. Then he heard a faint beeping sound and it was on his back. After coughing up blood and getting burned by Fu's Biju cloak, Gaara began to giggle, which quickly turned into full-fledged maniacal laughter. As the Tsunade Jinchuriki turned to face them, Naruto and Fu frowned and said, you two made me bleed. Naruto said, okay, after this, I am going to fuck up his dad next, this is ridiculous. He gazed at his blood-covered hand with utter fascination, saying, 12 years, at last, for 12 years, I have finally seen my own blood, so fascinating. I want more, Gaara yelled at them, give me more pain. Weeping, Fu said, and he is a masochist. Gaara became a miniature Shukaku as his sand sprayed out and covered his upper body. Futon. Mugen Sajin Daitopa. Gaara yelled savagely as he blew out a gust of air that was heavy with sand. Kaden. Gukaku no Jutsu. Naruto said as he flipped through the hand signals. The air filled with sand was hurled back as glass fragments as the Kyuubi Jinchuriki spat out a massive fireball. As the glass fragments sliced into his body, Gaara closed his eyes. When he opened them, he saw Fu standing in front of him holding a green, electric ball. She thrust out her hand and the ball exploded into a beam of lightning chakra, engulfing Gaara completely. Sorry, brother, but you need to wake up. Raiden. Raikaho. Fu smirked as she said confidently, got him. The Taki Jinchuriki stood up and held her stomach while coughing up blood, saying, I am okay, but her thoughts were different, damn, he broke 2 ribs, my armor wasn't strong enough. Then, a sand arm suddenly grabbed her by the neck, and Gaara's face smiled through the smoke, my turn. He slammed both of his palms into her torso, sending her back into the trees as Naruto yelled, Fu. I am going to kill you slowly, no, I am going to kill your woman first and make you suffer and then kill you. When Naruto said, yeah, unfortunately for you, you will never touch her because I am going to stop you here and now. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. His chakra levels rose dramatically in a whirlpool of red and blue. You obviously don't know who you are fucking with, Naruto said in a menacing tone as a swarm of clones surrounded Gaara. At that moment, the clones charged at the miniature Shukaku and smashed him with punches, kicks, sword strikes, and explosives. Gaara made an effort to defend himself, but the clones kept slipping away from him so they could attack him. Then 2 clones clotheslined Gaara, knocking him to the ground as another group of clones shot Gaara in the gut, causing saliva and blood to flow from his mouth. Then Gaara was sent straight up to meet a plethora of clones as 3 more appeared from the bottom. It ends, now. Gaara was slammed into the ground by all of the clones, which also created a crater and sent dust clouds skyward. Am I being defeated? No, 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 I can't be, I refuse to be defeated, my existence will not be extinguished by the likes of you two, Sho and Fu yelled. Oh, come on, you have got to be kidding me. As the sand soon burst out of Gaara's body to form the Ichibi no. Naruto continued, you have been a thorn in my side, now die, as the sand slowly engulfed him. Gaara was a little unnerved by the eerie glance that Naruto gave him before the sand obscured his vision. I commend you for making this enjoyable for me, Naruto Uzumaki and Fu. You two have become far more interesting than the Uchiha, but... Sabaku Su, as Naruto's red-orange chakra began to flare, there was an explosion. The boy removed his shades to show off his crimson, feline eyes, which he then covered over Fu's. I will be back for those soon, I gotta teach our brother some respect and manners. He then jumped into the treetops and saw Gaara on the Shukaku's forehead. Well, it seems like I need to put more effort into this battle. Tanuki Niri no Jutsu, Gaara said, looking at Naruto with indifference. Naruto saw that Shukaku's dull brown eyes were filled with a vivid malevolence of yellow-brown as Gaara's body sagged forward. It exclaimed loudly, Yahoo! I am free! The Biju then turned to face Naruto, who prepared himself by assuming his stance. One small fry, I will play with you then, Ninjin. Futon. Renkuden. Fortunately, Naruto was able to use his own jutsu in time to stop the air bullet from hurtling the human daywalker. Kaden. Enden. The air bullet was struck by the white-hot flames, which strengthened it and sent it back to the Ichibi, which screamed in agony at the flames and turned its sand skin into glass. I am running out of time, the more this battle drags on, the more chakra I lose trying to fight a shadow form of a Biju. But, Naruto knelt down to one knee, panting as he lost his shroud. He struggled to stand, thinking, I can't give up right now, I need to save my village and my friends. I will not lose. He ran up to jump on the Ichibi's arm and sped off to his destination, which was Gaara, as soon as the Kyuubi cloak materialized. If I can wake up that bastard, the Ichibi's consciousness goes back into his seal. Shouting, oh, no you don't, as the sand tried to ensnare him, Naruto dropped to his knees and zigzagged along the way. The Shukaku cried out in rage, no, I just got out, as the Kyuubi Jinchuriki leapt into the air and slammed Yumi's fist into Gaara with a Yuki. Enriched arm. Rise and shine. Gaara's body flopped around and he woke up instantly. The boy was left panting heavily as Naruto's foxcloak vanished, and he was looking at Gaara, who was also panting. After a brief moment of staring at one another, they both jumped into the air and slammed their fists into each other's faces. They both fell through the treetops and landed hard on their backs a short distance apart. It hurts, doesn't it? Being alone for most of your life, Naruto said, turning to face Gaara. What? You were alone from the beginning, everyone hated and feared you. I remember that feeling, but then, someone gave companionship, soon I gained more friends. Naruto awoke groggily and said, and now I will extend that same invitation to you. He smiled as he approached his brother. What? Why? I tried to kill you and your friends. You were misguided, but if you ever do that again, Jinchuriki brother or not, I will not hesitate to kill you. Gaara gazed at him in amazement and disbelief, saying, Uzumaki, Naruto. Kankuro and Temari then joined Gaara, panting, while Sakura and Shikamaru appeared on Naruto's side, prepared to battle. Gaara said softly, no, we are done. His siblings glanced at him before turning to face one another. Okay, Gaara, Kankuro said. As the two older siblings were working on their assignment, they heard a whisper, Temari, Kankuro, I am sorry. Gaara's apology startled and surprised both of them, and the oldest female thought to herself, Naruto Uzumaki, whatever you did to my brother for this change in him, thank you. As they walked away, Naruto watched as Fu returned with his shades and tapped his shoulder. Well, that was fun, he said, taking them and sliding them back over his blue eyes after thanking her. Uzumaki, you are one tough son of a bitch, Fu said to her brother. He answered solemnly, I was built tough. Now, could you do me a favor? Sure, what is it? Fu nodded, tilting her head to the side. Just before he fainted and fell forward, Naruto said, catch me, I am running on empty. His fellow Jinchuriki grabbed him in her arms and said, Naruto, you are going to be one amazing shinobi, let's get you out of here. As the invasion's climax approached, Konohagakure remained standing, repelling the combined might of Otogakure and Tsunagakure. However, the cost was high. The Nanabi Jinchuriki took her unconscious comrade over her shoulder and leapt away to a safe location. On the roof of the cage box at the top of Chunin Exam Stadium, the Jonin assembled and gazed solemnly over the body of the Sandaime Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi. Kakashi said, he died with a smile on his face, this is depressing. But he died protecting the thing that he loved most, this village and the inhabitants that dwell within it. I see why Naruto admired him greatly. Everyone turned to see Whistler, Hannibal, and Blade. Kakashi inquired cautiously, that outfit, who are you and how do you know Naruto? I thought the attire would be obvious enough, but it seems I will have to introduce myself. You may call me Blade. I am also the mentor of Naruto Uzumaki. Blade stood next to Naruto while the shinobi watched the funeral service for the fallen shinobi and their leader, the Sandaime Hokage, while the rain soaked them in its icy waters. Sensei, Naruto said softly. Yes, Naruto, was this how you felt when you lost Whistler? Blade took a moment to consider the heavens. Yes, Whistler was like the father I never had and he died, going down swinging, but I remembered something that he taught me before he died. Death is a natural part of life. Whistler died to protect me from making a mistake. I accidentally killed a human familiar who posed as a vampire. The authorities surrounded our base and Whistler was wounded greatly. He sacrificed himself to save me. He turned to gaze at Naruto. Both Whistler and your Hokage are the same. They both sacrificed themselves to save the ones that mattered most in their life. In Whistler's case, me and the ones who were fighting for the same cause, and in Sarutobi's, the village and the inhabitants of it. He was able to keep fighting because he loved this village greatly, and he didn't want to see the bonds between friends and loved ones shatter because of one man's ambition. I think I understand, Jinchuriki said softly, looking at Iruka and soothing a sobbing Konohamaru. He briefly closed his eyes and then opened them to reveal a gleam of resolve. Then I was shed no tears until I take down the one who killed him in cold blood. Blade raised his eyebrows. Then we better get to training you, there is still much I have to teach you. A week later, the elders went up to a spying Jiraiya who was using a telescope from a vantage point. Excuse me, Lord Jiraiya, do you have a moment? Kaharu cleared her throat disapprovingly. Jiraiya turned to face them and asked, what is it? After a moment of staring, Jiraiya said, no way, I refuse the position, I am much better as a spy and I like my freedom a lot. Plus there is someone that is much better suited for the job. Homura responded, we need a new leader, and you are the only one in the village that is strong enough to be our new Hokage, Jiraiya. Sama. You don't mean, yes, the third component of the Densatsu no Sannin, Tsunade Senju. Kaharu was speechless. But she hasn't been seen in this village in years. Even if you can find her in Fire Country, how will you convince her to return to the village that she swore that she would never set foot in? You leave that one to me, Jiraiya said, turning to face the elders, but I would like to request that you bring a few companions with me. Who? Naruto responded, you want to bring me and Sensei along with you for this mission of yours? The Toad Sennin gave a nod, yeah, it would be great considering you can have your Sensei and me train you along the way. Alright, I'll go then. Just give me a little time to get ready and meet me here in an hour, the Jinchuriki said with a nod. Right, Jiraiya grinned. Two figures were standing atop the Konoha wall. They wore straw hats with paper streamers on the sides. Their cloaks were black with red clouds and had high collars. The shorter one was silent and had black hair, but you couldn't see his face. The tall one had odd blue skin and a shark-like face. The tall, shark man said to his partner, well, it seems that this village took quite a beating, are you feeling nostalgic? The shorter one said, no, I don't feel nostalgic at all. He raised his gaze to see Konoha in full view, and a mature Sharingan was visible in his eyes. Orochimaru was yelling in pain somewhere in Fire Country, deep inside a man. Made base, damn that old fool, he took my arms, my jutsu. Kabuto responded, but on the plus side, we got Sasuke with your cursed seal and soon he will be within our grasp, in an attempt to appease his master. Despite his pain, Orochimaru was able to smile and say, yes, that is true. So what is our next step, Lord Orochimaru? Our next phase is to see an old friend of mine about these arms of mine. The two enigmatic men returned to Konoha and sat down in a tea shop. The Sharingan wielder accepted the taller of the two's suggestion to his partner. It's been a long journey. Want to have a drink before we begin our search? He entered the restaurant cautious of the jonin that was close to their location. While waiting for his protege Sasuke, Kakashi was reading Icha Icha Paradise when he looked up to see Asuma and Kurenai strolling together. He was thinking, I don't know why they just can't come out of the closet and say that they are dating, it is way too obvious how they acted in each other's presence. So guys, what are you up to? Asuma casually replied, I came here to pick up some sweets for Konohamaru. Kurenai turned away, I just happened to be walking in the same direction as him. The jonin said, right. The bearded Sarutobi then turned the conversation to Kakashi, asking, so what are you doing here, Kakashi? I thought you hated sweets. In response, the Sharingan wielder said, I am here to meet Sasuke as well as pick up on a few things. The jonin all noticed the shorter man with the Sharingan's hand twitching over his cup of tea at the mention of Sasuke. At that moment, Kakashi narrowed his lone eye and said, do you really want me to push the Shinobi Council to extend your no Sharingan punishment? Sasuke said, well, this is a rare occurrence. Kakashi, you are actually on time for once. Are you that eager to train me? In an effort to sidestep the threat, Sasuke looked at the store and said, I hate sweets. After giving Asuma and Kurenai a nod, Kakashi vanished behind the enigmatic pair. You two don't look like the locals. Why are you here? Said the chain smoker after Asuma and Kurenai stopped them. Long time no see, Asuma.san, Kurenai.san, the shorter man said. You seem to know us, were you a ninja from here? Asuma replied. Asuma said, you are, Uchiha Itachi. The shorter man remained silent, but he lifted his hat to reveal his Sharingan eyes. I guess I have to introduce myself too since you two know Itachi. I am Kisame Hoshigaki, the blue man said. Kurenai replied, you are a missing nin from Kiri, also responsible for killing some of Kiri's daimyos and the destruction of neighboring countries. Why are two S-rank criminals here? Asuma responded, judging by the outfit, they have a purpose. What is it? Why are you back here? You know after that incident you caused, you would be killed on sight. Itachi responded, Asuma, Kurenai, get out of our way, I don't want to kill you. Removing the bandaged sword from his back, Kisame slammed it into the concrete, shattering it. Can I kill him? He is so annoying, Kisame said. Itachi spoke in a monotone voice, It seems that they will not let us leave, just try to keep it down or you will attract more flies. Kisame hefted his sword and swung it downward, smiling. As Kurenai made hand signals to vanish like a ghost, Asuma pulled out his trench knives and stopped the assault. As he struggled with Samahata, Asuma thought, he can easily pressure me with the tip of his sword, what power? Itachi's Sharingan eyes widened with a sheen, and he thought, this is Genjutsu. Kisame yanked the sword back, a toothy smile spreading across his mouth. The sword on Asuma's shoulder tore at her arm, revealing its bandages. Kisame replied, my Samahata doesn't cut, it shaved people to pieces. Holding his arm, Asuma remarked, damn, Kurenai, you were pretty slow. Itachi was suddenly wedged against a tree, and Kurenai emerged from inside, holding a kunai. When Kurenai was suddenly trapped in her own genjutsu, Itachi remarked, nice genjutsu, but that level is useless against me. Kurenai thought, this is counter-jutsu, it's over. Kurenai bit her lip to escape the genjutsu as Itachi allowed a kunai to fall into his grasp. She dodged his swipe right away, but she had to cross her arms to lessen the force of his foot as it came hurtling toward her. Upon her launch into the lake, Asuma exclaimed, Kurenai. Asuma had to avoid Kisami's blows as he said, you don't have time to worry about others. Itachi then emerged behind Kurenai and said, as expected from you, Kurenai, but... Sorry, but the person that it is over for is you, Itachi, a fresh voice said abruptly. When Asuma noticed a gap, he pointed his knuckle blades at Kisami's head. Kisame cocked his head to the side, but his cheek got sliced. What? Kisame exclaimed, startled. He then saw that Asuma's blades were coated in chakra. Kisame then flipped through hand signals and exclaimed, Suiden. Suikoden. The jutsu was launched, but it was negated when another one was thrown in its path. Itachi said, Hitaki Kakashi. The real one blocked Kisami's jutsu, while the one behind him was a cage bunshin. Kisame laughed. Ah, the copy ninja, I heard that you and Zabuza-chan got in a fight, a good opportunity to shred you into ribbons. Itachi yelled, Kisame, stop messing around. You take too long in your fights, which will make us bound to be found out by Anbu. Don't forget our mission. What is this mission? Kakashi inquired. According to Itachi, we are looking for something. According to Kakashi, and that is, if I tell you, then I have to kill you. Unlike Kisame, I won't waste time. Itachi's hand suddenly emerged from the shuriken, and Kakashi yelled, Suiden. Suijinheki. Kakashi was shielded from Itachi's Suikoden by a wall of water. His jutsu is too fast, my eyes can't keep up with me. From the looks of it, he used the shuriken as bait and used Suiden to attack my legs, the idiot thought. Then a cage bunshin of Itachi materialized behind Kakashi to stab him with a kunai. Am I right? Itachi said, your eye is highly remarkable, Kakashi. Cage bunshin? Kurenai remarked, his jutsu is very fast. When Kakashi abruptly changed into water, Kisame remarked, Mizu bunshin, he knows our techniques very well. Nice one, Kakashi, Kurenai said. Kurenai was seized by Kakashi, who said, get down, this is the cage bunshin. What? Kurenai thought. Asuma hurried to the water to check on the two and Itachi said, it is impressive that you can use the Sharingan to that extent even though you are not of our blood, but still it doesn't suit you at all, Kakashi. Do you know why we are known as the strongest? I will show you the true power of the Sharingan. He then whispered, Bunshin Deibakuha. The clone exploded, and Asuma yelled, Kakashi, Kurenai. It couldn't be, Kakashi said, his eyes widening. You two, close your eyes and don't open them. Only those with Sharingan can counter his technique, he yelled. Kakashi was crucified to a cross, and Itachi clones appeared holding katanas. Itachi stated, that is correct, only someone with Sharingan can provide resistance to the jutsu. But only someone with Uchiha blood has a chance of defeating this Genjutsu Tsukuyomi. The clones immediately proceeded to shank Kakashi, and after the Tsukuyomi was over, Kakashi fell to his knees. Itachi said, within this realm, space, time, everything is under my control. For the next 72 hours, you will be shanked by these katana repeatedly. Ho? Kisame asked, that jutsu is to break people's spirits, but you are still alive. However, Itachi, that eye is dangerous to you as well. Both Itachi and Kakashi were panting heavily at that point. Are you after Sasuke? Asked Kakashi. The reply from Itachi was, no, we are after the Nine Tails. Naruto, Kurenai said. What do you want with the Kyuubi? Asked Kakashi. Itachi replied, that is none of your concern. Kisame, take them. The shout, Konoha Goriki Senpu, and a kick sent Kisame flying as he charged at them. Who are you? Kisame said as he stood up. The Leaf's noble beast, made a guy, the man said. Funny guy, what is with the outfit, are you an exotic beast? Kisame remarked. According to Itachi, don't take him lightly. Guy grabbed the man as Kakashi collapsed from exhaustion, and Asuma remarked, Guy, don't look in Itachi's eyes. Guy replied, I know that, you can open your eyes, just focus on his feet, that is how I trained to beat the Sharingan. Kurenai, take Kakashi to the hospital. Asuma and I will take them, he said, handing Kakashi to Kurenai. You're brave, Kisame said. Itachi responded, Kisame, forget about it, we didn't come here to start a war. Plus I sense Anbu are on their way. In the meantime, a frustrated Uchiha was training diligently as usual in the forest while Kisame said, and I finally got excited, that is too bad. The two fled using the Shunshin no Jutsu. How much more do I need to grow? Naruto has thunderous power and he never showed it at the academy. Where has he been hiding that power? How can I get that power? The Uchiha pondered. Sasuke soon discovered Kakashi sleeping with Kurenai, Guy, and Asuma encircling him. Before a random Jonin barged in and asked, is it true that Itachi Uchiha has returned to the village after Naruto Uzumaki? They were acting suspiciously toward him. Aoba, you idiot, yelled Kurenai. The young Avenger, however, had already hurried out of the room and was headed straight for his rival, power measuring stick and the person who had destroyed his clan and his life in a single night, so it was too late. Jiraiya eventually led Naruto and the others to a hotel and placed an order for a room. A young woman briefly diverted Jiraiya's attention at that point, so he approached her, leaving Naruto in Blade's capable care. And he is supposed to be your godfather? Unfortunately, yes, well, we better get some rest if we are going to find this Tsunade woman. He doesn't know you know about him and your father, right? The Jinchuriki answered the door and said, so you got rejected already, Jiraiya. Sensei? Naruto nodded, correct, but I will keep quiet until he chose to reveal it. However, it was an older Sasuke, not him. Naruto became serious and asked, what do you want from me? You must be Itachi Uchiha. We need you to come with us, Naruto-kun, to help our cause in our organization. The tall companion said, hey, Itachi, it seems that this one doesn't want to come with us. Shall I cut off one of his legs, so he doesn't run? To which the boy returned, and just what is this organization and why do you need me? Actually I don't plan on running, why don't you meet my friend? Smirked the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. Kisame raised an eyebrow, but Blade rushed through the wall, his sword ready to strike him. You were very strong, judging by the similar appearance, you taught this kid, right? Kisame responded, blocking him with Samahata. Blade grinned, his fangs bared, correct, as his sensei, I have a duty to protect him from all shady people. Naruto was avoiding his gaze and in a fighting stance when Itachi turned to face him. Very good, Naruto. Kakashi has taught you well to avoid my gaze since I can easily put you into a genjutsu. The Jinchuriki responded, you seem that you did something to my sensei, right? Naruto became enraged and yelled, you are going to pay for that, Itachi. Itachi responded solemnly, I merely put him in a jutsu that he can't escape from. Then a familiar voice yelled, no, he's mine. At the end of the hallway, they turned to see a panting Sasuke. Uchiha, what are you doing here? Naruto asked. Sasuke ignored him and instead glared at Itachi, who turned away. He looks like you, Itachi. Just who is this kid? Kisame said. After a brief period of eye closure, Itachi replied, he is my little brother. As he prepared his Chidori and charged, Sasuke yelled, Itachi, I have hated you, cursed you with every fiber of my body. And now you die. You die today. Itachi waited until the last second and knocked Sasuke's Chidori aside into the wall, saying, you are such a nuisance. The younger brother screamed in agony as the older Uchiha broke his wrist, but Itachi didn't stop there. He punched Sasuke in the solar plexus before kneeing him in the chin. He then gave the young Avenger another gut punch. Even now, there's still a gap between us. Why is there so big of a difference? Sasuke thought. What the hell have I been doing all this time? Sasuke asked himself as Itachi grabbed him by the neck and slammed him against the wall. Whispering, Tsukuyomi, Itachi said. Sasuke started to scream as he heard his brother's voice echoing, for 24 hours, you will relive that day. Naruto wondered, what kind of genjutsu did he subject Sasuke to? Sasuke was suddenly in his brother's inverted world. You can't defeat me, Sasuke, you are still missing one thing, your hatred. Your hate is not strong enough, Itachi whispered after Sasuke slid slowly to the ground. The hallway then abruptly took on the appearance of flesh, and Itachi focused his gaze on Jiraiya, who appeared with the woman over his shoulder. Sorry, I took so long. You really got the hang of your genjutsu, Itachi, but now, there is no way you are getting your hands on Naruto. Well, this is getting interesting, Kisame grinned. Blade shifted into a kendo stance and turned his blade into a circle, saying, "Watch closely, Naruto. This is the first technique that my sensei taught me long ago. You shouldn't take your eyes off your opponent, my fish friend." "Too bad, he won't see it," Kisame yelled as he swung Samahata, shaving into Blade's right shoulder before revealing it to be a mirage. Just as Blade materialized behind him, slicing open his back, Kisame exclaimed in shock, "What? The first blade? Residual moon." Kisame exclaimed, "Gah," as blood gushed from his wound and Naruto's eyes widened in wonder. "That technique, I couldn't even see when he got behind that guy. A perfect afterimage," Itachi thought for a moment before saying, in his typical monotone, "It seems that we are far outmatched here." Taking Kisame, he ran down the hallway as Jiraiya yelled, "I won't let you escape." The fleshy walls started to close in on the Akatsuki duo until Itachi closed his Sharingan eyes to focus them as the Tomo closed around his pupil to become a three-bladed pinwheel. He stared at Blade, who was always ready to defend Naruto. "We will meet again, Naruto-kun." When Jiraiya went to investigate after sensing something was amiss, he was shocked to see a hole in the fleshy material surrounded by a ring of black flames. They actually managed to escape, but that flame. This is the stomach of the Iwagama and its stomach could withstand any flame. I need to study this, he thought to himself. Fuinjutsu. Fuka Hoin. The Gama Sennin yelled as he pulled out a small scroll. The black flames were drawn into the seal in the center of the scroll, and Jiraiya re-rolled it after the flames were sealed inside. "What the hell was that all about, Jiraiya?" Blade responded, "Why are S-rank missing ninja after Naruto?" "They are not after Naruto. What they want is the Kyuubi sealed inside him," Jiraiya said, turning to face Blade and Naruto. Naruto clutched his stomach and asked, "What do they plan to do with Yumi?" The flamboyant Sennin was taken aback, saying, "Yumi? It has a name." "She has a name. The Biju aren't colossal forces of nature, they are intelligent as well." "My mistake, I am just surprised. I never would have anticipated that the Biju have genders or intelligence. It is surprising to me since the last time I saw the Kyuubi in action. All it did was howl and spat out black balls of destructive chakra." "Well, I think there would be no room for talk when you have Madara Uchiha and Orochimaru kill your family, then have said Uchiha mind control you into attacking Konoha." Jiraiya looked confused. "So, Orochimaru was part of the cause, but I don't understand about Madara Uchiha, he is supposed to be dead." According to her eidetic memory, the man definitely had a Sharingan and had sinister chakra equal or matching him from the first time she was employed under his command. But back to the matter at hand, what is the Akatsuki? Akatsuki is an organization comprised of infamous S-rank Newtonans that are tasked to finding Jinchuriki and extracting their respected Biju that they hold, in which the end result of the host is immediate death. I learned that Orochimaru used to be a part of that group, but he quit in order to pursue his own ambitions in gaining immortality as well as the Sharingan. Jiraiya clarified the matter for the two of them. The Uzumaki briefly remained quiet. "So that is why you took me under your wing, to train me to get strong enough to at least stand a fighting chance against them, but it is going to take a while for me to get there." Blade responded, "And that is why we will do our best to get you there, starting now." Jiraiya interrupted, saying, "We better keep moving and how about you tell him about this Kenjutsu style along the way." The boy looked at him and said, "That style is what you will be learning, the Yugu Shinkage.Ryu. The Yugu Shinkage.Ryu has 3 techniques. The first blade, Residual Moon, the second blade, Phantom Moon, and finally, the third blade, Chaotic Moon. Right now, I will be teaching you the first move," Blade explained as they traveled to a different town. "Why didn't you teach me this style before you went away?" The Jinchuriki immediately fell to the ground, saying, "What the, my body, it feels so heavy." Blade then takes a piece of paper and places it on the back of Naruto's neck, saying, "Your body wasn't durable enough for the style back then, the whole style revolves around speed, but now since you have grown, it is time that you learn the first move. That seal is a gravity seal, it makes your body 10 times heavier than normal. You will have to learn how to move under that seal to get your body into shape and it also keeps your resistance unless I take it off or I give you the command code to release it." "Right, this is nothing." Naruto stumbled beneath it, saying, "Right, this is nothing." Before long, the 3 of them had reached another town and stopped to eat, when the perverted man yelled, "Tsunade," as he recognized the person he was looking for. "Jiraiya, what are you doing here and who is the dark, brooding fellow with the blonde kid?" "My name is Eric Brooks, but you may call me Blade and this is my protege, Naruto Uzumaki, the Blade of Konoha." We are here to ask you to return to the village and become its leader since your sensei, the Sandaime Hokage, perished in battle with Orochimaru. Tsunade saw that Naruto was holding his fist tightly. You, kid, was he close to you? The Jinchuriki asked, tensing up briefly before responding. Yes, he was like the grandfather I never had, and I will kill the one who is responsible for killing him as well as another personal reason. Naruto decided to reply, pardon me, lady, but you are returning to Konoha one way or another. The gambling Sannin sighed for a moment before saying, okay, then here is my answer. I decline to answer the call to becoming Hokage. It is a fool's errand to become one. Are you threatening me, boy? No, I am telling you because 1, yourself. Pity party is over. In fact, it has been over for the past 10 years. 2, you are slowly becoming useless in not even using your skills or passing it on to a new generation, and finally, 3, you are a disgrace to the Senju clan. Your brother and Dan would be so disappointed in your actions. You little brat. How dare you? Tsunade swore angrily. How dare you insult the title of Hokage? How dare you insult the Sandaime, your sensei and your own grandfather and granduncle? You ought to be ashamed of yourself for turning into a shallow, pretentious, arrogant bitch. She yelled angrily, that is it, outside, now, and strode outside, Naruto trailing behind. Tsunade looked at the Jinchuriki. One of the Sannin facing a bratty Chunin. I should be ashamed of myself for even getting riled up by you, but still you need to be taught to respect your elders and their feelings. 1 finger is all I am going to need, she said, raising 1 finger in the air. Shizune and Jiraiya both shivered as Naruto removed his coat and pulled out all of his weapons, thinking, what the hell is he? A walking armory. The Jinchuriki then stood up and turned to face her, saying, Blade. Sensei. Right, but it will be twice as much resistance on you when it comes back on you, got that? Understood. Tsunade threw a kunai at Naruto, who grabbed it out of thin air and threw it back at her. Blade removed the seal, and Naruto rolled his shoulders and cracked his neck before assuming a fighting stance. Let's go, bitch, come get some. What? She asked as she ducked and saw Naruto standing in front of her. He is fast. Just what kind of seal did his sensei put on him? Naruto said icily, don't drop your guard, bitch. The woman had to lean back to avoid the roundhouse kick he sent her, and it struck her forearms, sending her skidding back a few feet. Tsunade said, and he is strong too, I will give that to him, but at that level of strength, he won't beat me. Then she said, why are you so sensitive about the Hokage? Is it your dream? As she gazed at Naruto. No, I admire them all for their views and leadership. The Shoden, for his courage and strength to be able to unite the Uchiha and Senju to create Konoha. The Nidaime, although he is my least favorite in my opinion, he had to make tough decisions as well as filling the sandals of his own brother, and he never waver once. Sandaime, the man was a grandfather to me and protected me in the village until his last dying breath. Finally, the Undaime, if it weren't for him, I may never would have suffered at the hands of the civilians and some of the ninja, but in turn, I would have never met Blade Sensei and gotten to know Yumi, so don't you dare insult their memories. Naruto glared at her as he continued, his eyes turning yellow and cat-like. Tsunade's eyes widened as the Jinchuriki unintentionally created a second stage Rasengan and charged at the Sannin. That jutsu, Tsunade responded by hitting the ground with her fingers, causing the ground to rupture and form a fissure. The Rasengan scattered into the ground, creating a spiral on the ground as Naruto stumbled and fell to the ground. The slug Sannin turned to see the real Naruto approaching her with the same Rasengan after Tsunade smirked at the outcome. Shizune then yelled, behind you. She swiftly responded by flicking her finger into his chest plate, which sent him back into the ground and creating a crater. When Blade applied the seal, Naruto instantly collapsed to the ground. That is enough, Naruto, you have lost this battle. Naruto snarled and forced himself to stand, saying, okay, I'll find somewhere to train. Tsunade glanced at Jiraiya. What the hell are you thinking of teaching that kid the Rasengan? There is no way that he could actually master that technique that the fourth developed. Jiraiya glanced at Naruto. Actually, this kid has mastered the second technique already, and he is just having trouble with the third stage. And he is able to utilize my technique already. To think you would be able to pull it off without the circular motions to create an actual after-image, Naruto, Blade said, glancing at Naruto. I will master both of those techniques. This, I promise you, Naruto said, quietly leaving the crater past Tsunade. Wanna bet? Naruto looked at her as she went on. I bet that you won't master that jutsu and that kenjutsu technique in a week. If you do, I will come back to Konoha and owe you one favor, and if you fail, I will have all your money on you and you will denounce the name of the Hokage. Taking hold of her necklace, she raised it to reveal, and I will also throw in this. What do I care about some trinket? This once belongs to the first Hokage. With this stone, you could buy 3 mountains with it. Lady Tsunade, you ought not to wager with that necklace, yelled Shizune. After giving it some thought, Naruto turned to face Tsunade and said, it's a bet. He then went to the hotel to rest before training to become an expert in the techniques that were taught to him, not only to preserve the Hokage's reputation but also to shield himself and his Biju partner from the evil hands of the Akatsuki organization. The Jinchuriki was obviously unhappy with the outcome that his dispelled clone had given him, but Naruto gritted his teeth and called out the technique for the umpteenth time. The first blade. Residual moon. The clone vanished as Naruto emerged behind him. Panting on one knee, Naruto uttered, damn it, it isn't enough, I need more speed than that. Exhausted, he collapsed to the ground and lost consciousness as he attempted to stand again. Shizune approached Naruto as he emerged from the tree's shadow and carried him back to the hotel. Blade's deep voice startled Shizune as she was about to leave the hotel room after putting him to bed. You know, as soon as he wakes up, he is going to go back to the same spot as he has been for 3 days. Shizune regained her composure and looked at, nevertheless, I can't help but worry about him, he is working very hard, but at the rate that he is going, I don't think he will get the requirements of the bed in time. Besides, that necklace that Tsunade holds is cursed. Cursed? How so? Everyone who has worn that necklace has died a horrible death. It happened to her little brother, Nawaki, who was killed in an explosion trap during the war. That necklace was the only thing that Tsunade could use to identify his body, and the second time happened to Dan, her fiancé, and my uncle. He died on the battlefield in the same war, causing Tsunade's hemophobia to start on that day. So, because of their deaths, the necklace is supposedly cursed. Yes. Blade started to laugh heartily, saying, Lady, you are underestimating my student a lot, but then again, you don't know anything about him. He gave her a menacing look that the medic could clearly sense through his shades, adding, Naruto was dealt a bad hand ever since the Yondaime Hokage chose him to be the vessel of the 9 tails. No friends, no smiles, nothing. He had to mature at a fast pace in order to keep himself alive in his own village. A curse? You and your master don't know anything about curses. I'm very envious of Naruto. He has my abilities, but none of their weaknesses, even the thirst for blood, Blade said, removing his shades as he turned to face Shizune. T. Thirst for B. Blood, yes, I am what you call a daywalker. Vampires do exist as well, the only weaknesses they have are silver, garlic and sunlight. Forget the shit about them not crossing running water and crosses, your ass is grass if you still choose to believe it. A daywalker is essentially a vampire with none of their weaknesses to silver, garlic or sunlight, but I still have to be careful around blood or else I will become a force to be reckoned with, a monster. Blade continued, lucky for you, I have a serum that I have to administer myself every night, hurts like a bitch, but it gets the job done. But my body, it is slowly adapting to the serum, and if I don't find a permanent way to take care of it, I might even end up hurting someone I love or worse. Shizune looked down and said, I'm sorry, I didn't know, Blade.san. He then turned to face the window before continuing. It isn't your fault, Shizune.san. I blame the monster who made me this way, he was the one who turned me into what I am and killed my mother at the same time. I even lost my father figure because of the cunningness of those monsters. I knew that it would happen, but I just didn't want to accept that he was gone. I understand, Blade nodded and left, leaving Shizune to think. Meanwhile, Naruto decided to leave the room without being noticed in order to train again and never come back for the next 2 days. So Kabuto, the week is up, now what do you suppose her answer will be? The snake Sannin asked his right-hand man in Orochimaru's lair. If it is yes, then the destruction of Konohagakure will be in your hands, but if it is the opposite, started Kabuto. As he concluded, Orochimaru grinned and said, it looks like I will have to force to submit to our cause. But do you believe it will be that easy to do, Orochimaru-sama? That is why I have you with me, Kabuto, along with insurance as well. Don't be so concerned. I was the closest to her when we were all a team, and even her own weakness, she will agree with this deal for sure. Why can't I get this damn technique down fast enough? What am I missing here? Was Naruto's frustrated question on the final day of the deadline. The Jinchuriki then had the intriguing idea, wait a minute, I got it. Before pursuing the clone, Naruto called forth his chakra and sent it to his feet. His chakra instantly formed a spiral, resembling the Rasengan's initial training step. He stabbed the clone in the back while circling his opponent, creating an afterimage of himself, using the deadly sword technique number 1, residual moon. The Jinchuriki grinned as the clone's knowledge was ingrained in his brain. Got it finally, now for the Rasengan's third and final step. Naruto calmed himself and held out his right hand. First step, rotation, he said. A bright blue ball with a few swirls in the mixture appeared in his hand, and Naruto thought, gritting his teeth, and finally, the third step, stability. Immediately, blue wisps of chakra were visible swirling around in his hand, and he continued, second step, power. The Jinchuriki flew through the trees as the sphere shifted and then exploded in his face. As he rose, bruised and confused, Naruto exclaimed, OWW, son of a bitch, that really hurts. Well, no pain, no gain as they always say, now let's try this again. He repeated this repeatedly until he collapsed to the ground, unconscious and perilously nearing depletion of chakra. Later, in the midst of all the chaos, Tsunade arrived to greet the sight of fallen trees, craters, and Naruto's resting body. Well, kid, you have been working very hard, I will give you an A for effort, but I think we both know that you will never win that bet with all of that effort now. Naruto was carried back to the hotel to rest without any effort, draped over her shoulder. Then, using her mystical palm jutsu, Tsunade healed Naruto's self-inflicted wounds, particularly the chakra burns on his hands, alongside Shizune. We healed on his injuries, but his chakra exhaustion is all up to him. At that level, he won't wake up until the day after tomorrow. Tsunade said softly, looks like I won the bet, kid. She then laughed bitterly, saying, Jiraiya, you were right, it was a stupid bet that I made with him and I got so worked up about it. The woman then started to leave the room, but Shizune's voice interrupted her, saying, wait, Tsunade-sama. Please don't go tomorrow, I beg of you, Shizune said again as Tsunade halted her movement. The slug Sannin remained silent, staring straight ahead, and her apprentice yelled, why won't you say anything at all? Please answer me, Lady Tsunade. The tension was high as she glared at the back of her lifelong friend, saying, if you dare plan to go to that man, I don't care if it takes my life, I will stop you. Tsunade reacted to that by glaring at Shizune and asking, Shizune, do you know who the hell you are talking to? Shizune flinched, and Tsunade decided to act at that precise moment by lightly punching the young Kato Kunoichi. Please trust me, I know what I am doing. Now that I have taken care of my last loose end, it is almost time to meet at the rendezvous point. Tsunade turned to Shizune as she sagged on the floor, and she left the room to locate Orochimaru and Kabuto, who was also en route to the point. You know, Kabuto, it would be very problematic of us if that companion of Tsunade decided to interrupt our little meeting. So what is your orders on this little matter, Orochimaru-sama? Kill her, we don't need any interruptions at all. As he pulled out a kunai and used a nearby tree as leverage to go in the opposite direction to complete his mission, Kabuto grinned and said, as you wish, Orochimaru-sama. On the final day of the wager, Naruto woke up early in the morning feeling oddly rejuvenated. He then got out of bed and loudly cracked his shoulder. Naruto gripped his fist and thought to himself, okay, more training, I was so close to getting that Rasengan down. He stumbled upon something heavy as he was moving forward, and when he looked down, he saw Shizune unconscious. What the? He got on his knees, shook her awake, and said, hey, Shizune, wake up. When Shizune awoke, he glanced around and said, Naruto, what are you doing up? You should be unconscious until the day after tomorrow. Shizune, I am the Kyuubi Jinchuriki and have an advanced healing factor that is accelerated by my mentor's vampiric powers. The Kyuubi restores my chakra while the Daywalker power inside me restores my body. Of course, but, wait, what is today? Monday. Damn it, she didn't, wait, what are you talking about? You don't mean Tsunade actually. Shizune approached the window and opened it, but a thrown kunai stopped him. Glancing out, she saw a panting Jiraiya using leverage by hanging over Blade's shoulder. What happened to you two? Shizune inquired. Jiraiya. Sama, Blade.san. The bitch slipped us a drug in his drink and my serum. I really can't feel my body and it feels sluggish to move at all. Blade responded, we need to get out of here and stop that woman now. Naruto gave a nod. Right, let's move, Shizune. Can you speed up the body processes to flush the drug out of their systems? With a sincere nod, the Kato Kunoichi said, yes, I can. Tsunade waited at the Tanzaku castle while Orochimaru walked up to her, grinning broadly, saying, I'm glad you woke up, Tsunade. Let's get this over with. Before we do this, I will heal your arms on one condition. What is? Asked Orochimaru. You must promise to leave Konoha alone if you want your arms back. Agreed, the snake Sannin said, looking her in the eyes and starting to laugh a little. The two Sannin then started to move in the direction of one another, facing each other just a few inches apart. As Tsunade summoned her chakra to her hands, Orochimaru raised his arms in her direction. However, a kunai suddenly materialized in the center of them, halting the movement. and the two former teammates leapt away from one another. So I see how it is. Why have you betrayed me? Huh, Tsunade? I know you wouldn't actually keep your word at all, so that is why I was planning to stop you here and now. It seems that your associate has a good knowledge on medical ninjutsu, Tsunade said as she looked up to see Kabuto landing next to Orochimaru. I was trained by Dr. Yakushi, who so graciously took me in, so I would tell that you were going to destroy my master's hands. Well, then it looks like we will have to do this the hard way, Tsunade says as she slowly stands up and cracks her knuckles. Then she jumps into the air and yells, "Heavenly kick of pain." Her leg slams down nearly on top of Orochimaru and Kabuto's heads. The kick created craters and caused an enormous amount of damage to the surrounding area, but the two men jumped away from it. Perhaps we should relocate to a better position then, Kabuto said, turning to his superior. Yes, it would be better this way. With that, the snake Sannin and Kabuto moved to a better spot, while Tsunade was in full swing behind them. Shizune and the group surveyed the demolished meeting spot a few minutes later. Well, it looks like Tsunade rejected the deal that Orochimaru gave her. We better hurry and pick up the pace. It feels that I am back up to at least 40% of my strength back. Damn, she did a number on me, on both of us. How do you feel, Blade? Blade said slowly, well, I have a splitting headache and my body still aches like hell for some reason. I don't know how the hell she got my vampiric blood in the factor of it, but she is very good at this medical shit. When Naruto said, maybe she could help you with that serum of yours then. Let's pick up the pace, so we can get there before Tsunade gets up into more trouble than she knows what she is getting into. The group agreed, and they accelerated to follow the path of destruction left for them by the slug Sannin. As this was going on, Tsunade was struggling to breathe and was attempting to pound Orochimaru and Kabuto's brains into their skulls. Kabuto suggested that they relocate to a more suitable area, realizing that the small space was a disadvantage. Orochimaru consented and allowed his right-hand man to guide him to a spacious clearing. It seems that Tsunade time is out of breath, it might be a good time to put it to use. Orochimaru replied. Then he made hand signals. Chakra Mesu no Jutsu. Kabuto took out a soldier pill and ate it while stating, although taijutsu is not actually my forte. Tsunade thought, so he knows medical jutsu as well. When Kabuto's hand exploded from the ground beneath her feet, the Iryo Nin's eyes widened and she chose to take her time disappearing. Her fist slammed rapidly into the ground after she leapt into the air, but Kabuto dodged the lethal blow. The two medical ninjas were surrounded by large pieces of stone. Tsunade decided to kick Kabuto after noticing a big stone next to her foot. In a moment, she was in mid-air, and his kneeling form was behind her, vanishing from the path of the deadly stone. As Tsunade landed on the ground, Kabuto touched her abdomen and bicep, leaving an opening. Kabuto slid back a few inches from her as she slammed her shoulder into his chest. Tsunade said, ouch. She thought to herself, damn, he cut my muscles. That is right, I have cut your bicep and abdomen muscles, so that super strength trait of yours will not be a nuisance to me anymore. Chakra scalpels. But if you have that, then why would you cut my muscles? Why aren't you aiming for my arteries? As he struck Tsunade, he said, although my skills in the medical field are excellent, but in the middle of a battle, I am not that accurate to aim for your arteries or main organs. But if I aim at your neck, it shouldn't be a problem. Tsunade moved to block, believing he was aiming for her neck, but Kabuto showed that it was a feint, aiming for her chest instead. Tsunade coughed and said, damn you. You hit my lungs. You can't breathe. She continued to think, he isn't an ordinary Iryo.nin. His speed and strength exceed my own even in my prime. Kabuto adjusted his spectacles. It would be a bother if you were to die, so I won't aim for your neck, but after that blow, you shouldn't be able to move around. However, he was taken aback when Tsunade struck him in the neck, sending him sprawling to the ground. Damn it, it didn't hit her lungs at all. HMPH. I guess those large breasts are good for something. It seems that I need to be a bit more serious about this. He became aware that his body was acting strangely all of a sudden. Whoa. Before he could realize what was happening to his body, Tsunade punches him across the face. This isn't caused by my muscles, it's caused by my nervous system. Replied Tsunade, I see that you seem to realize your problem. I converted my chakra into electricity and transfer it throughout your body. Orochimaru was thinking, Fufu, I see, the nervous system is run on electricity, but Tsunade disrupted the initial flow by sending more electricity. Now the signals in Kabuto's body is sending so many signals that it can't distinguish them. While Kabuto knelt down to examine his body, Tsunade took advantage of the situation by healing himself. Kabuto was able to identify 60% of his body in a matter of seconds. Okay, if I moved my right hand, my left leg moves. If I move my left foot, my right shoulder moves. Kabuto yelled, don't think that with the level of power, Dot can defeat me. What? He figured out how to control his body already. He was abruptly kicked back toward Orochimaru's position by an unidentified kick. You are afraid of blood, right? I'll show you some now. I'll scatter just enough blood until you are at the brink of death. Are we late for the party, Ba-chan? Looking up, Tsunade saw Naruto on one knee on the ground, with Jiraiya, Blade, Tauntaun, and Shizune behind him. It has been a long time, Orochimaru, and how have you been? Said the Toad Sannin, grinning slightly. You haven't changed at all, Jiraiya. Blood, Kabuto remarked. Looks like my body is almost back to normal and it is bad enough that I have to fight two of the legendary Sannin, but I will not lose. The moment was abruptly interrupted by the brazen Tsunade, who pushed Jiraiya aside to get to Orochimaru. The combat medic then launched an attack on Tsunade, punching her until she was sprawled to the ground, but Shizune grabbed her by the arms. As Shizune called her name and started to wipe the blood from her face, Tsunade was still shivering. So, Kabuto-san, I was right, you are a spy. Naruto said, thought the Anbu caught you actually, I wonder how the hell you got out of that mess though. Kabuto responded, yes, I remember you did give me that look back at the exams, so it was you that tipped the Anbu Black Ops on my tail. Yes, my sources were reliable to say that you were in league with Orochimaru, good call on her part. Naruto replied, breaking his neck, now, it looks like I will have to kill you myself since the Anbu couldn't handle your bag of tricks. You won't get out of this without a few broken bones or scars for that matter. You can't win against me, Naruto. I am on par with Kakashi Hatake, your sensei, meaning that I can kill you without trying. Kabuto snorted hysterically, and the Jinchuriki rolled his shoulders and assumed a stance, throwing away his leather jacket. Well, let's test that theory then, bitch. Orochimaru. Sama, please remove your left bandage. The spy responded by pulling out a blood-stopping pill. The snake Sannin complied, and Kabuto used his blood to call forth a snake. Jiraiya then attempted to call forth his own animal, but Blade stopped him. The snake struck the Jinchuriki, crushing him in its jaws as Naruto gazed at it and said, okay, you cold-blooded lizard, come at me, Shizune yelled, Naruto. Nevertheless, Naruto's voice said, deadly sword technique number 1, residual moon. The man staggered forward as Naruto emerged behind him and slashed him across the back, causing Kabuto's eyes to widen. The Jinchuriki smirked condescendingly as Kabuto turned on Naruto and asked him, wouldn't you like to know? Too bad, I am a ninja, and ninja never reveal their secrets unless they are dead. You should know that rule all too often, but it is people like you and Orochimaru that like to boast too much. Kabuto laughed. Alright, Naruto, we will play your game for now, and once you are dead, I will be finding how you and your master tick. The two ninja clashed with a spark between their weapons as Naruto said, not today. He was holding his sword in a reverse grip. Let's get down to business. In the center, the two ninjas engaged in a deadlock as Naruto and Kabuto gazed at one another, one sporting a sly grin and the other a scowling expression. You do realize that you are going to die, Naruto. Naruto frowned and said, is that right? Before gradually applying more pressure to Kabuto, who was fighting to avoid being overpowered. Let's see if your hypothesis is correct, traitor. Naruto then pushed Kabuto off balance and swiftly handled his sword in a reverse grip. Clang! As Kabuto stopped Naruto's swift attack, a bloodthirsty grin flashing his fangs, the sound of titanium grinding against steel could be heard. Come on, Kabuto. You better pay better attention or you make it too easy for me, Naruto said. The auto spy sensed a presence behind him a little too late and turned to see Shizune finishing her hand signs, Ninpo. Dokugiri no Jutsu. Kabuto scuffed in frustration before his blonde opponent pushed him back off balance with a slight smirk. Taking a deep breath, Tsunade's assistant released a billowing, dark purple smoke from her orifice. Fuck it. Kabuto cursed in thought as he fell into the poisonous fog. Naruto narrowed his eyes lightly before he heard Shizune cry out in pain, ah! As Kabuto approached a shivering Tsunade who was smeared with blood, the Jinchuriki turned to see Shizune on the ground with her leg tendons severed. You will stay away from her. You will not lay a hand on this woman, not while I am here, you bastard. Naruto stopped the renegade medic Nin's attack with his palm. The medic then cut Kabuto's tendons to hold his sword as the Uzumaki moved his sword to stab him while he was motionless. Now, the right-handed man replied smugly, now you won't use that move on me anymore, Kabuto thought as he kicked it out of Naruto's hand and into Blade's, who caught it between his hands. Naruto stood up, holding his arm lightly and rolling his shoulder, and said, "Yeah, only one thing. Not only I am a swordsman, Kabuto, I am also a shinobi, I haven't forgotten." The medic lost sight of Naruto as a fist struck Kabuto in the face, saying, "My training." The Jinchuriki finished as he sent the man flying. The young boy moved into a stance and bounced about on his toes while staring hard at Kabuto. "Come on, bastard, let's dance. Stop being so arrogant. You will not prevail over me." As he engaged Naruto with a kunai in hand, Kabuto yelled. The Jinchuriki dodged and weaved before landing a body shot to Kabuto's ribs, causing the medic to wince in pain. Naruto's cross then caused the medic's head to lurch violently to the right, and a spinning back kick sent the spectacled man flying back into a rock. His eyes widened as he saw several flashes of Naruto's fists coming at him, and his body ached as the blows came down harder and faster. "He is too fast," Kabuto thought to himself as he rose from the debris only to strike back further. When he was sent slightly upward with an uppercut and then flying again with a roundhouse kick to the liver, Kabuto's agony came to an end for a moment. "At this rate, I am going to die. I can't get time to get away to use my healing technique." Holding his side, Kabuto moaned as he coughed up blood and evaluated the damage, saying, "Broken femur, my left ribs are shattered, bruised liver, and slightly pierced lung. At this rate, he is really going to kill me." Naruto approached Kabuto, who retreated in terror, saying, "No, stay back, you monster." "Kabuto, what's wrong?" In a monotone, Naruto said, "The truth is that even though I am slightly enhanced and you do have superior skill over me, there are two things that are keeping me strong to kick your ass into submission. I thought you were on par with Kakashi Hatake. I thought you could kill me without trying at all, and I thought you were going to kill me and Sensei to dissect us and figure out our power. One of the reasons I detest you so much is that you and your master killed the old man, who was one of the people I cared about the most in that village, along with a lot of other good people. In addition, I am also responsible for the sound crew you sent for." Then Naruto went on, "And two, I have something to protect, something that keeps me pushing me to pass my limits and go further. Strive higher to be strong enough to defeat anyone who threatens the things I love, and right now, that is you. Kabuto, this is the end." Kabuto's eyes widened even more at this information. Tsunade's eyes widened as she saw Naruto's chakra condense into his palm at an exponential rate. "That is impossible. His chakra is condensing into his palm. Did he actually manage to master that jutsu?" The Jinchuriki said, holding out his hand to the side. "Hey, Tsunade-san, I held up my end of the bet, so after this, I expect you to keep up yours." As Naruto accelerated his pace to attack Kabuto, the boy tried to run, but the boy leapt to attack his exposed back. "Gather my chakra and rotate it all directions, then focus it gradually, and lastly," Naruto thought. "Perish!" Kabuto yelled. "I told you not to be so stubborn, now you are dead, Naruto." As he threw a kunai into the boy's chest, who appeared stunned by the move. Kabuto smiled maniacally. "And I thought I told you not to make assumptions, Kabuto. They have a tendency to make an ass out of people when they end up wrong," said a voice from below him, making Kabuto tense in terror. "And keep it all up. Now feel the innocents' cries for their lives you took," was Naruto's final thought. Rasengan. Instantly Kabuto felt the effects of the Yondaime's signature jutsu, grinding deep into his abdomen. "What is this, power?" He was soon blasted away in a straight line, spiraling out of control through a number of boulders before coming to a complete stop with his back slamming straight into it. Kabuto stared at Naruto, who was panting heavily, and his vision gradually blurred before the Jinchuriki coughed out blood. Naruto had severe burn marks on his abdomen. "What did you do to me, bastard? Don't tell me, please. You cut something on my body with those cheap chakra scalpels, but that doesn't explain how in the world you're still standing." I began healing all of my wounds with my chakra during that little speech of yours, so now there is hardly any damage that you did to me." With blood streaming from the left corner of his mouth, the Jinchuriki grinned and said, "I got careless. Who knew you had something like that up your sleeve?" The boy coughed up more blood, and Kabuto laughed as he approached Naruto, but his body stiffened and his glasses broke at that precise moment. But then again, the mechanism of the Rasengan is not only to damage you externally, but internally as well. Thinking, "I can't move and I don't have enough chakra to actually heal this time around," the renegade medic ninja collapsed to the ground. "Oh no," Naruto chuckled softly as he turned to face Tsunade, who was still shivering. "Hey, Tsunade, I might need a little assistance from a doctor." Tsunade caught him as he fell backwards, and he started working on fixing his heart right away. "It is no use. I cut his chakra network from getting help from the Kyuubi locked inside him and he doesn't have the strength to save himself," Kabuto said with a mocking laugh. "And from where I am standing, neither do you," he said, glancing at Naruto, as a shadow passed over him and he turned to see Blade with Shizune over his shoulder, holding Naruto's sword. I personally trained that kid, and he is one tough son of a bitch and he won't die from something this stupid, not from a fletching like you, but, if that 1% chance comes up and he dies. With his coal black slowly turning into a glowing amber and slanted like a cat, Blade removed his shades and gazed into Kabuto's eyes as he concluded, I will kill your master in front of your eyes before gutting you like a fish. As he concentrated on healing her critically ill patient, Tsunade said, I call first dibs on him, Blade.san. Kabuto established a ranking system in his mind of the individuals he feared at that moment. Orochimaru, Naruto, Tsunade, and Jiraiya. However, Blade immediately took the second place. Tsunade.san. This may be a bit much for you to take, but you may have to give him some of your blood to speed up his healing factor. Blade nodded. The lone Senju glanced at the dark-skinned man and then back at his apprentice before slitting her wrist slightly to offer to the Jinchuriki's mouth. When Naruto took Tsunade's wrist to suckle her blood, a few drops went down his mouth and his eyes flashed amber. Tsunade experienced a rush of euphoria as Naruto greedily drank her blood and struggled to concentrate on healing his heart muscles. Sorry about that, I didn't mean to be a burden on you. Tsunade laughed, it is amazing you are still alive. Naruto blew the wrist away abruptly and panted heavily before turning to face Tsunade, who had healed her wrist and was staring at him in shock. Tsunade laughed lightly and Naruto joined in, saying, well, thank you, I guess I will believe in my village one more time, just once more. Kabuto exclaimed in shock, I can't believe it, he is still alive. What can I say, I really have a strong will of not dying to prove people wrong. It always gets them to have a change of heart, or really piss people off, it's my shtick. Blade smirked and said, looks like you lucked out, shame, I don't get to tear you apart now that those two can do it. Orochimaru and Jiraiya were fighting, and they turned to see that Naruto and Kabuto had successfully defeated the Jinchuriki. That kid is a mere nuisance to me, it would be best for me to kill him now since the Akatsuki are after him, Orochimaru said, infuriated that not only had his right-hand man been defeated by a mere child in his eyes, but that the child had also mastered the Rasengan, his rival genius's most valuable and powerful jutsu. In light of that idea, the snake Sannin advanced swiftly on Naruto's location, and Jiraiya followed, saying, like hell you will. As he fell, Orochimaru simply turned and slammed his old friend into the ground with his long tongue. When he opened his mouth, a snake's head with a blade that resembled Shikudo was ready to stab him. However, Blade stopped him by grabbing the blade with his bare hand, leaving Shizune by his student's side while Tsunade shielded a weak Naruto from the rest of the blade by using her body as a shield. With blood streaming from her mouth, the Senju proudly declared, you will not lay a hand on Naruto. I swear on my name. I swear on the name of the Senju and the name of the Hokage. Orochimaru took a step back and said, Tsunade, I really don't want to kill you, but if that boy is not killed now, it will mean a lot of trouble, stay out of the way now. This boy, I refuse. As Sensei once said, everyone has their own fire within them, but only a few will have a strong will to uphold moral principles and defend those they care about. I will thus stake everything on Naruto Uzumaki, including my life. After that, I'll help you find solace in dying. His attack was blocked by Blade, who said, not today, you bitch. What on earth are you? I am the Daywalker, my name is Blade and your end will be near soon if you ever lay a hand on my student. So you were the one who trained him, and you did train the boy very well, I am impressed, Orochimaru said, narrowing his eyes. Would you mind training Sasuke-kun with me? In his eyes, Blade spat on the snake Sannin before kicking him away, saying, go fuck yourself. You will be genuinely rewarded for your services. The vampiric swordsman realized, he doesn't waste any of his movements at all, despite how handicapped he is very good. The snake Sannin moved quickly against Blade and attacked him with precise stabs and strikes, forcing Blade to block each and every one of his. Just then, Orochimaru got around Blade, and Tsunade was in front of his target once more. Her old teammate then slashed at the slug Sannin, saying, get out of my way. After last-minute dodge, the slug Sannin slammed her fist into his face, sending him flying. Orochimaru, perhaps I didn't make it clear enough, but you won't kill Naruto, and since I've been selected as the Godem Hokage, I'll issue this decree. You won't survive this place. Meiotic regeneration, seal release. In the middle of the clearing, the three summonings appeared as Gamabunta, a large purple snake, and a bluish-white slug. The diamond mark on her forehead broke and was released, and she used the blood on her chest to spread it on her forearm. Orochimaru hurried to Kabuto's side as Kabuto performed the summoning for him, and Jiraiya followed suit. Whoa, Who knew summoning was so awesome? Naruto thought as he looked around to see himself on top of the slug with Tsunade. Naruto, can you move? The woman asked softly and the Jinchuriki nodded, yay. Go where Shizune is. This is going to get pretty ugly, take her somewhere safe and hurry. Just as the legendary Sannin started their furious battle with Orochimaru versus Jiraiya and Tsunade, Blade swiftly followed his pupil after Naruto nodded and leapt off to take Shizune. Let's go, Blade. Sensei, this is going to get greasy. With a broad smile, Blade said, your village, they have some amazing people here, a guy could get used to all of this. Naruto laughed, you were never one to take death lying down, Sensei, ooh, and it's entertaining to watch Orochimaru. Temari get his ass kicked all over the past. Blade concluded, I guess I will be able to go down with a bang after all. As the battle came to an end, Blade's eyes narrowed as Kabuto retreated in a standard Shunshin no jutsu and Orochimaru vanished into the ground. They got away, damn, looks like we have to get them next time. Naruto stood up and approached the two Sannin, saying, we better get out of here before something else happens. Right, Jiraiya nodded. The Jinchuriki grinned subtly and said, well, you do own up to some bets, huh? Tsunade handed Naruto her necklace and placed it over his head before they moved. There, here is the results of the bet, Naruto. After nodding, Tsunade's body began to behave strangely and reveal her true age. So, that seal you released does have adverse effects, don't you think? Unfortunately it does, but if I rest up a bit, I will be back to normal and then we can return to the village. Well, let's get rest up, not everyone has a healing factor and a fox in their guts. As they hobbled back to their hiding place to heal wounds and broken bones for relaxation and rest, they all laughed. Naruto looked at Tsunade and said, Tsunade. Dono. Naruto, I think after that display that you showed here today, I can acknowledge your titles as well as your abilities. You will be the Godem Hokage and your second chance is granted. Thank you, for believing in me. When the group arrived in their hometown a few days later, Tsunade grinned and said, this place hasn't changed a bit, now let's get down to business. The woman entered with her entourage, and the council was soon gathered. First, let's get this meeting under order, Homura said as everyone was seated. First, I would like to congratulate Tsunade in returning to her home and taking up the mantle of Hokage just like her predecessors as well as her sensei, may Kami rest his soul. Thank you, Homura. Sensei, I am honored to be back in my old home, Tsunade said, getting to her feet. Kaharu, Sarutobi, and Homura's former female teammate yelled, first order of business. I motion that Tsunade is returned back her seat representing the Senju clan. Seconded, said Choza Akamichi right away. As Homura yelled, all in favor, each person held up their hand. All opposed. After that, no one raised their hands, and the motion was approved. The second item on the agenda is the possible promotion of the genin who took the Chunin exam in spite of our Suna allies' treachery. We'll go through them by last name, starting with Aburame Shino. As he listened to the council's discussions, Shino's father and clan leader, resigned himself. Given the situation and the footage of Shino's fights, I would like to say that the boy has a good head on his shoulders and strategic thinking, but he is not there just yet. Heishi said in a monotone, I think that with more training and hopefully no interference, we will be able to make a better decision with him. With a nod, Shini said, I agree with this final assessment. Next, Akamichi Choji, to be honest, the boy isn't taking his career seriously and is a bit more focused on his next meal than the next mission and training, as demonstrated in his preliminary match. Sume, the feral Inuzuka matriarch, said with her arms crossed. He won't develop into a great ninja until he is mature and experienced. My boy is much too focused on his stomach rather than his training, and I hope that he will find his path soon, Choza said with a gentle smile. I understand your reasons and I agree with them. I'd hate to have to fix that. Next up is Haruno Sakura. The girl has a lot of potential, and it seems to be heightened around a known factor. Uzumaki Naruto, Danzo said. She transformed from a helpless young woman who had no business being a kunoichi under the guidance of our poison expert, but I would prefer to see more leadership skills without Uzumaki holding her hand and enslaving her. Thinking to herself, Tsunade said, Sakura Haruno, huh? Maybe I could bring up the idea of having a combat medic on the teams once more with her. Hyuga Neji. His skills are up to par with the average Chunin if not higher, but his arrogance is something that could interfere with that as well as the fact that he was also willing to hurt another comrade without remorse almost to the fact that he was close to killing his opponent. The leader of the Hyuga clan nodded in silence, but he knew deep down that he was partially to blame for sending his own nephew down that path. Perhaps he could assist in keeping an eye on him and guiding him in the correct direction. Inuzuka Kiba, Way too brash and overconfident, that one. Despite his leadership qualities, he is quick to look forward to a fight and would rush headlong into a battle without learning the consequences or even the possibilities of what could happen. I would insist that he keep honing his skills as well as learning how to control him before he gets killed. Alright, next is Nara Shikamaru. Troublesome, Shikaku remarked, opening one eye languidly at the mention of his son's name. Shinny then said, the boy is a great strategist and may surpass his father or even take over the role of Jonin commander of his generation, despite the Nara's tendency toward laziness. This is something we need on the battlefield. He used the terrain and his opponent's weaknesses during his battles after careful planning, deduction, and forethought. In addition, he made the selfless decision to lead his fellows to the Ichibi Jinchuriki, the primary goal. I urge that he be elevated to the position of Chunin. Now for Uchiha Sasuke. The shinobi were downplaying Sasuke's power, but the civilian side was calling for them to promote him. Suddenly, chaos broke out, and everyone was silent as they turned to see Tsunade, who was watching over them. I would like to know what the civilian council is involved in regarding shinobi affairs or the decisions made by our ninja force now that I have your attention. Tsunade. Sama, with all due respect, we have been on the council for over 4 years ongoing. Pardon me, but that still has the fact that you have no business promoting or doing any kind of input whatsoever, the lone Senju retorted. A civilian who applies and passes the academy graduation exam is immediately enlisted in Konoha's military and given the responsibility of defending the nation. Tsunade. Sama, no, my grandfather put the civilians on the council to discuss how the village should be run, as well as its businesses, trades, and profits. I will not compromise on this. As your soon-to-be leader, I can utilize 3 laws that must be adhered to right before my inauguration, which is the only purpose for which the civilian council was established. First, the civilian council will no longer be permitted to vote on matters pertaining to shinobi or participate in shinobi affairs. However, unless you are a parent of a shinobi, you may observe. This is outrageous. One of them protested as he stood up, this cannot be done to us. Tsunade responded, I think I just did. Now, please escort yourselves outside in a quiet and orderly manner. Because if you don't, she slowly raised her fist and clenched it, saying, I will personally send you off the expressway. Tsunade turned to the Shinobi Council and said, now tell me about the Uchiha without any bias please. The civilian council, intimidated by her remarks, departed angrily and complained in silence, with the exception of Yuko Haruno, who grinned proudly at what she had heard about her daughter. Sasuke Uchiha has great power and was personally trained by his sensei, Kakashi Hatake, Kaharu said. His victory in the preliminary round demonstrated his clever mind and potential as a leader. Despite that, his mind is unstable because of the trauma that his brother inflicted on him, Sume interrupted. During the second stage of the Chunin exams, he also attempted to rape and assault his own teammate. In addition to being disobedient and easily enraged, he will do whatever it takes to gain power, Inoichi remarked in disgust. He is obviously unfit to become a Chunin at this time, as he purposefully copied Kakashi's own signature jutsu, the Chidori, in secret to try and harm our own with it. Homura softly replied, surely we can overlook that and give him the promotion, it may curb him by putting more responsibility on him. That will not detain him any further, the Uchiha will stay at Genin for his actions towards his teammates as well as trying to kill Uzumaki Naruto, and speaking of Uzumaki Naruto, he should be promoted to Chunin. Of course not, he is too impulsive on his emotions, and when combined with that seal, he could go berserk with his hidden power, Kaharu retorted angrily. Tsunade responded by saying, you're being biased, Kaharu. On a personal note, I have seen Naruto fight at first hand and he hasn't never used the power of the Kyuubi even once against his opponent that he was facing at the moment. The person was probably too weak, he was facing Kabuto Yakushi, one of the spies in Konoha. For my old teammate, Orochimaru, the Senju said, his eyes narrowing. It appeared that Konoha wanted to pay to have his arms healed, so he wasn't the only one looking for me. The elders and heads of the shinobi clans all tensed up, with the exception of Danzo, who squinted when his old friends were mentioned. The slug Sannin went on, the boy has power, but he has never used it against Kabuto, a person that I admit could match me in my prime or soon surpass me. He defeated Kabuto by using only his teacher's gift, which was all he needed. Heishi took over, saying, in addition, he is a born leader and encouraged a number of fangirls to train more instead of chasing their crush or worrying about style. The number of actual kunoichi in our force has increased. The commander of the Jonin said, not to mention that the boy gave us vital information to prepare enough for the invasion we suffered due to the sound team that Orochimaru had sent over, as well as took down Sabaku no Gaara. He has more than earned the position of Chunin. It's obvious that Uzumaki Naruto should be promoted, Danzo said. He has a lot of power and knows how to use it in his mind repeatedly. Though he barely possesses Jonin level power, I believe he needs more experience leading teams into battle before he can reach that level. The other two elders appeared to have swallowed a lemon. Normally, Danzo would follow their judgment, but in this instance, they were taken aback by his support for the Jinchuriki's promotion. Now for Uzumaki Hinata, I would call the same thing for her. Uzumaki Naruto has greatly influenced her and her power has skyrocketed since her encounters with him, the head of the Yamanaka clan said, scratching his cheek. As a result, we must observe her behavior both with and without him present. Yamanaka Ino, building on what Inoichi mentioned, your daughter is the same for Hinata.san and Sakura.san. Even though her growth was a little slower than Sakura's or Hinata's. Sume laughed humorously. She will undoubtedly develop in the upcoming Chunin exams. Rock Lee. The boy has a good head on his shoulder, but Fu San's attacks cut him short, Shoza said, folding his arms across his chest. We should wait until next time, in my opinion, because even though he is incapable of using taijutsu, he is still somewhat naive and lacks leadership skills at the moment. Lastly, Tenten, it is not surprising that the girl, who is a member of Guy's team, is very skilled with both weapons and taijutsu. But I would have to deny her a promotion to Chunin because her tactics are insufficient, and she will require more strength and specific abilities to prove her worth to us, Haishi claimed. So we've reached an agreement to elevate Genin Nara Shikamaru and Genin Uzumaki Naruto to Chunin positions? Shoza inquired. After Danzo and the heads of the shinobi clans nodded in agreement, the elders and Tsunade said, then let it be so. Orochimaru later snarled in agony as his arms started to malfunction once more, somewhere in Kusa. Damn him. Damn him. Damn him. That brat from Uzumaki Namikaze was damned 3 times. I want his head on a platter because it's unbelievable how easily that damn kid can ruin my plans. As he gingerly held his stomach and nursed his sore wound, Kabuto heard Orochimaru scream and become angry. His grimace gradually turned into a smile as he looked at the 2 vials in front of him. Vials bearing the names Blade and Naruto Uzumaki. Containers of their blood. Kabuto was thinking to himself, soon, I will be stronger than you, Naruto. I will surpass Orochimaru Sama and kill you and your master, and the ironic thing is that I will be doing with the help of your blood. All of the things that could be handled by someone on the civilian council, perhaps I should appoint Councilwoman Haruno to do this job. She is trustworthy enough for the job, Tsunade said, scowling slightly as she searched through various items in her new office. I still can't believe that Sensei kept this, she said, picking up an old file and gently blowing off the dust to reveal the combat medic project. I can also use this to limit the unnecessary funds that several civilian councilmen are using, she added. Really, 14 bills with entertainment on them? Lady Hokage, the ninja you requested are here to see you now, Shizune said as she entered the room. Send them in now, Shizune. How does the seat feel, Lady Hokage? Uzumaki grinned as Naruto and Shikamaru entered the room. All kidding aside, I would like to inform you too that you have been promoted to the rank of Chunin, Tsunade said, giving him a mock glare. I have a distinct feeling that I am going to regret ever doing that bet with you, but... Her expression became serious and professional. Shikamaru and Naruto were both taken aback. Nara was the first to remark, it's troublesome, but I must ask. Why were we the only ones promoted? After reviewing the applicants who advanced to the preliminary round and your abilities as reported by multiple sources, you two demonstrated above average abilities in strategy, team leadership, and carrying out the tasks required for this village. We would like to see a little more from your group, but others came close. After letting out a sigh and nodding, Shikamaru said, damn, this means more work for me to do. He laughed and playful elbowed him, lighten up, Shikamaru. A Chunin may have a bit more responsibility, but at the least, we can watch Genin squirm a bit, and this is a fact that we could get out of some mediocre stuff. You do realize that our Hokage is right there. Oh, yeah, but she is most likely going to be swamped by paperwork as well as her new program to get everyone enrolled. As she struggled to control her temper, Tsunade developed a tick mark and coughed, saying, ahem, I will be expecting a lot from you two from now. Do I make myself completely and perfectly clear? The Godime's expression lightened as he said, good, now Shikamaru, you are dismissed at the moment. There is something that I need to talk with Naruto on a private matter. Shikamaru simply nodded and left, but not before turning to face Naruto and saying, hey, meet all of us at Yakiniki-Q. I have a feeling that my sensei will get us all to go there to celebrate our promotion. Yes, Hokage. Sama. Both of them said solemnly, pointing out the setting they were in. Naruto turned to the blonde Senju after finishing his business with Shikamaru and nodded, saying, all right, I will be there. So what is this all about, Tsunade? Sama. Well, for starters, I would like your honest opinion about your sensei and his friends as well as forming another new team. First off, Sensei is a super soldier who could easily defeat some of our best Jonin because of his exceptional strength, speed, and agility. I only know Abigail and Hannibal from the stories my sensei told me about them. Abigail is a skilled markswoman with her arrows, and she also dabbles in swordsmanship, which was taught to her by her father before he vanished from her life. Since Hannibal was once a vampire, he still possesses some of their characteristics, such as their ability to heal, slow down the aging process, and be stronger than the typical human. He is also an excellent marksman, and his deductive abilities are truly remarkable. After a brief pause, the Uzumaki said, Hannibal is a sarcastic and occasionally vulgar talker, Abigail can be a little touchy at times, and Sensei is sadistic and difficult to trust. Having them as a team would be ideal. The slug Sannin gave a nod. Noted, so when I talk to them, I will put them down as Team Blade to work in the village unless they have any means of going back to where they came from. I don't know if they do, but I will ask them. Thank you, and now the next order of business is the sound team that you kept as your wards. I wanted to put them together with Enko Mitarashi as a team due to their similar connections with our old snake in the grass friend. I believe that they are ready to put on the working schedule. Under Enko Mitarashi's guidance, they can learn how to control their abilities as well as new skills, and I am pretty confident that those three would love to jack up his plans for shit and giggles in revenge for Orochimaru's plans to use them as sacrifices for that jutsu. The Jinchuriki turned and strode out the door as the newly christened Hokage perused the village's various files. Tsunade nodded, crossed her fingers, and rested her chin on top of them. I see, thank you for that input, you are dismissed now. Naruto-kun, and please do enjoy your promotion celebration, she said. As he trudged home, the pseudo-daywalker pondered, I wonder if Hinata has returned from her mission? Sasuke screamed in unrelenting rage as he slammed his lightning chakra. Infused fist into the boulder, creating a gaping hole inside the stone. She should be home by now, he said as he shuffled home, but somewhere else, one of his old classmates was practicing anger management theory by himself. Why am I so weak? Damn it. I should be at the top, not some blonde jackass, and this isn't how it should be. First, and for what purpose? He destroys one of my wave power sources. He has the gall to turn Sakura and Ino against me after I recognized their value, all for a trivial sacrifice for a virgin. He yelled. Most of the girls who screamed for my flawless genes no longer even look at me. Plus that petty excuse of a bloodline is like this damn curse mark, but I don't even get to use it because it's deemed too dangerous, he continued after launching into a barrage of punches and kicks. To make matters worse, he was rumored to have been promoted to Chunin, which gives him more access to power. Oh no. The Uchiha finished by slamming his fist into the ground, bruising his knuckles and leaving a tiny crater behind. Inhaling deeply, Sasuke slowly raised his head to gaze at the sky and said, well, no more. I am tired of being stuck in last place. I am tired of being denied my right to be on to the top of the food chain. I am going to find him. Yes, find him and beat him until he gives me what I want, what I deserve. He then sauntered off to find his teammate wherever he might be. Orochimaru's hideout. The snake Sannin surveyed the group in front of him, slouching slightly in the shadows for a moment. The four figures in front of him bowed low and fidgeted a little, as if he had been considering their sentence, but they were relieved when he finally said, the time has come for my new vessel to be retrieved. Jirobo, Kitamaru, Sakin and Tayuya. I task you on infiltrating Konohagakure and finding Sasuke Uchiha. You will either convince him to join us or take him by force, but don't damage him too much. You have your orders, now go. Orochimaru gritted his teeth in excruciating pain and screamed in pure agony as the four of them vanished in an instant, leaving him with a persistent question about the whereabouts of Kabuto, his right-hand man. Damn it all, another failure. This is truly most peculiar. Their blood completely overtakes the human gene, forcibly changing them into vampires with the thirst of blood for others, said Kabuto, who was currently in his room experimenting literally with the blood of his enemies. And although it has amazing strength and agility, blood is necessary to make the infected user to make them stronger, faster, and heal from near fatal wounds, however, unlike Uzumaki and Blade. Dono, Kabuto said, staring at the dead gazelle carcass that was trying to bite him without flinching. They seem to be susceptible to silver and garlic as well as the fact that they need blood as much as craving for food, the medic said, holding a silver scalpel and cutting open the creature's neck, causing the transformed vampire to lose its scream due to severed voice cords and dissolve into hot ash. He moved slowly on to another topic and wrote in his recorder, also blood thinner can cause excruciating pain before the subject explodes. Other than the obvious blows to the heart or head, any damage is virtually able to recover from and sunlight is harmful to them. Simply fascinating. You two are simply just fascinating. but I will figure out your secrets sooner or later. I just need a stronger test subject. After taking a deep breath, Kabuto smiles slowly and says, looks like you still have one final use for your master, and my cause for a higher purpose. At this point, something clicked in his mind, and his smile changed to a cunning smirk. He left his idea in mind and returned to his usual tasks, which included giving Orochimaru his painkillers and leaving his secret lab in his master's secret lair. Back in Konoha, Naruto arrived at Yakiniku with the newly renamed Team Sound, formerly Team Dosu, and his girlfriend on his arm to see Team 10, the rest of Team 8, Team Guy, and Sakura. It appears that the only person missing was Sasuke, who wasn't a favorite among this group. Come on, Hinata and Naruto. The Jinchuriki greeted them warmly, saying, hey guys, it has been a while since we last got together like this. Shino nodded softly, adding, the last time was the Chunin exams, and speaking of which, I see that our former adversaries have become our allies. Welcome, former sound ninjas. Ino shouted loudly as she waved, and the 5 of them approached. Dosu raised his eyebrows. Thank you for welcoming us into your village. Call us Team Sonic. For the people here who haven't met us, I am Dosu Kinuda and these are my teammates, Zaku Abumi and Kinsuchi. All of us are looking forward to work with you in the near future. Hey, everyone is here except that prick. Where the hell is Sasuke at? Kiba asked, as the rookies gave a gentle nod. Is that really something we should care about? Not really, but even though he is a self-righteous prick, he should be a part of this since his is our comrade, an antisocial, egotistical, jealous, borderline sociopathic comrade. Sakura retorted to Ino's heated statement. Well, Hinata replied, if he wants to join, I am pretty sure he will find us eventually. Naruto. Sasuke Uchiha was standing in the center of the entrance with his arms extended when everyone in the restaurant turned around. Tenten muttered, speak of the devil and he shall appear. I wonder what he wants with you. This time? What do you mean this time? Neji asked. Lately I have been getting tailed by that guy for the longest while after missions. I have to use Kage Bunshin to throw him off my trail, and it is even worse when we are outside the village. He keeps trying to get into my stuff. The Jinchuriki clarified to the member of the branch. Sakura nodded, we get some entertainment from the little explosions and electric shocks, even though it's funny when he tries to do that. Naruto keeps his things booby-trapped. I believe that everything is finally coming to a head based on his demeanor and the ominous expression in his eyes. I have finally found you, Naruto. The Uzumaki nodded rigidly before turning to face the Uchiha, who strode over to them in a mighty rage. So you have, so how can I help you today? The Uzumaki said calmly. The Uchiha slammed his hands down on the table, fight me. Pardon me. Fight. Me. Do I have a reason to fight and for what purpose? The Jinchuriki asked, raising an eyebrow. I mean, it's really dumb right now. This is serious, so don't mess with me, now you're going to fight with me. No, Naruto scowled, I'm going to sit here with my old classmates and celebrate both achieving Chunin rank and simply making it through the exams and the improvised invasion. We invite you to attend our small gathering. The Uchiha decided to become angry at this point, clenching his fist so tightly that it left nail marks on his palms. Why do you have so much power? You have taken things that are rightfully mine and denied me authority, but this time it will be the other way around. Oh you dirty bitch, work the shaft, W. What? Sasuke paused in the middle of his tirade, and Naruto laughed a little. I apologize, but when someone is sucking my dick, I get a little cocky. To get right to the point, I haven't taken anything from you except your pride. When have I ever denied power? You have every opportunity to become powerful on your own, but you prefer to covet other people's power instead. You were nothing without your teacher and you still are. He should have bestowed that power onto me and you will tell me the secret right this instant. Or what are you going to do? Or, smirking, Sasuke said, I will use my power on the council to get the thing you value most. Uchiha. It seems that in your pursuit of power, you are willing to cross lines that you shouldn't do so, Naruto said, slowly rising to his feet as the air became quiet and still for the moment. I think you frequently target my girlfriend, so I am inclined to completely disagree with that idea of yours. She is not a toy to be possessed or passed around, so it appears you will finally get your fight, and you get to choose the time and place. Sasuke's grin expanded in satisfaction as he said, Training ground number 12, 2 hours from now. Agreed. Everyone in the restaurant was either in disbelief or silently glaring at the boy as the Uchiha walked out, but he had a distinct feeling of dread in the back of his mind from his earlier run-in with Naruto's mentor. Flashback. Earlier today. Now, Naruto, concentrate. The second technique that I am teaching you is the second blade. Phantom Moon. It requires you to spin at a high rate just enough for when you cut someone into pieces. The corpse's pieces themselves are lit ablaze. The young adult inhaled deeply and exhaled slowly. Okay. He closed his eyes and widened his stance firmly, searching for his center for a few moments before it was discovered and his eyes snapped open in clarity. Then, he jumped into the air and swung his body in a circular motion, slicing into the dummy in front of him with swift, fluid blows, and finally landing behind it, the second blade, Phantom Moon. Blade grinned slightly as he said, "Good job, Naruto, but you could have been faster. Nevertheless, you have finally mastered the second tier of the Yagayu Shinkage.Ryu sacred techniques." The dummy broke apart and caught fire the instant he spoke the words. As he stood up, the Jinchuriki inhaled deeply and said, "I was only able to do this with your guidance, Sensei. You were the one helping me out." Blade nodded, unaware of his student, and the Daywalker's nose twitched at a new smell, causing him to frown slightly. "I see, so that is the reason for his apprehensiveness. I am going to have to deal with this. I know you like to write everything down as if it were breathing, but that's enough for today. Keep going. The work was entirely yours." As he sheathed his double-edged titanium sword, Naruto grinned at Blade and said, "Thank you, Sensei. I think you have a celebration with your friends for your promotion. You can get your ass out here now, kid. I can smell your stench, so unless you want me to drag you out back your duck-ass hair, I suggest you do so now," Blade said, apologizing as he hurried to freshen up before meeting his former classmates. After he watched his student vanish from view, his slight smile vanished like the tide and was replaced by a dark frown. Turning to his left, the Daywalker saw Sasuke emerge from the tree shadows. He spoke in his typical monotone, but you could hear the arrogance in his voice. "I am surprised that Naruto didn't sense me. He got sloppy and careless, not like I would." "Oh, please. He was only unaware of your presence because he was preoccupied with his training. What the fuck do you want now?" "So you are Naruto's teacher," Blade said sarcastically, "Sup?" The Daywalker, slayer of supernatural creatures, that vampire, Drake or whatever his name was, said that you were the most feared. "Oh, you dirty bitch, work the shaft." Sasuke paused in the middle of his statement. "What?" "Sorry, I just get so worked up when someone is sucking my dick." "I see, you just want me to get to the point then. You are the one who made him strong, gave him all of that power." With his arms crossed, the bald, ebony-skinned man said, "Yes, I am his mentor and teacher, but aside from the small bloodline I gave him, all of his power comes from within. He works hard for it, just like everyone else in the world, and trains himself every day in an effort to reach new heights. Nevertheless, power is power and it is the thing that I desired the most in this world. I want you to teach me, train me and help gain power to destroy my enemies, to be the best and on top of the food chain." "Is that correct?" the man said and slowly faced away from Sasuke only to look up at the clouds in the sky for a moment before giving his answer, "I refuse." "You what? You little shit, did I stutter? I said, I refuse. You may have potential, but your attitude betrays a lack of respect for authority, and you despise those who are deemed weak by your standards." Furthermore, Blade turned to face the irate Uchiha and said, "I don't have the patience or time to teach a spoiled brat new skills because he has an inferiority complex and is jealous of his teammate who has grown stronger more quickly. In actuality, you remind me of someone who is very similar to you, and you know what happened to him. Despite my inability to forgive him for what he had done to me, I killed him. What exactly sets Uzumaki apart from me? You mean other than the fact that he isn't selfish and uses his power to protect others?" Blade snorted in mild amusement. "All right, he is strong, compassionate, and determined to always act morally. You lack all of those qualities. You treat people like stepping stones to your personal grudge, take them for granted, steal anything you can to further your own goals, and, finally, you will sacrifice anyone or anything to achieve your goals only if doing so makes you stronger." Sasuke snarled at Blade, but the older man was not having it. He removed his shades to show off his bright cat-like eyes, and the tension in the air increased as Sasuke was momentarily taken aback by the menacing gaze. The teenager backed away, breathing heavily and covered in a light sheen of perspiration. Blade slipped back his shades and walked past him, saying, "Stay away from me and my student. This is your warning. Don't try to be stupid and not heed it or else you will regret it." Sasuke looked behind him and got to his feet shakily, saying, "That man, he is very strong and dangerous." Sasuke was reliving the massacre of his family in that moment of intimidation, but Blade was there instead of Itachi, and he showed no mercy to the Uchiha clan. Not even to him, as he rubbed his throat and the dim memory of Blade's fangs tore it apart like paper. "Fine, if you won't help me, then I will just have to take it from your student through my Sharingan, just like that little technique of his." Final flashback as Naruto is getting ready for his battle with Sasuke at the newly christened Uzumaki home. Hinata approaches him and says, "Are you sure that you want to do this, Naruto-kun? You're dealing with Sasuke, and the fact that he has his Sharingan might give him the motivation to mimic all of your moves." As he sheathed multiple knives on the side of his leg, Naruto remarked, "I don't want to do this at all, Hinata-chan. But, no comrade of mine would ever dare in his mind to cross," he threatened the well-being of my loved ones, most especially you. He inserted small explosives and 2 glaives into their collapsible modes in the back pouch on his chest armor. "But this isn't right, it might escalate into something more or worse. I am more afraid of you killing him, and then the council will be able to act out against you for defying you numerous times in the past and present." Naruto looked at his wife or girlfriend. "I know, Hina-chan. But that is why if it doesn't happen to escalate, I want you to run and notify the nearest Jonin possible to stop the fight, or get Kakashi for that matter." Hinata gave a silent nod, and the Jinchuriki pulled her in for a quick kiss while he also took a collapsible staff. As she melted into the kiss and stood there for a few minutes before leaving, the kiss became a little more personal. "Now let's go, there is an asshole who needs to be brought down a few pegs." Right. Sasuke was patiently waiting in the center of the training area when Naruto and Hinata walked up to him. "You showed up." The Uchiha smirked, adding, "I am impressed that you didn't run away or inform a Jonin about this." "Of course, this is a friendly spar anyway. Right?" the Jinchuriki said calmly, but his partner could tell he was still furious. With a sly smile, Sasuke said, "But of course, I just want to see how far you come after the Chunin exams." "Don't you mean you, because let's see, there was a stadium, people from foreign villages, and oh, yes, I snapped your forearm with my foot." "Very well. I see that there is no room for any more talk, let's get down to business then." After stepping forward and effortlessly assuming his opening stance, Naruto heard a noise and turned to discover that the other rookie 9 had joined him on the ground. "What does this signify? Why are all of you present? It is quite a drag, but everyone here was just a bit curious about the declaration that you made during our little gathering, so it seemed only fair to the others that we crash your little private party," Sasuke said in an irritated tone, causing Shikamaru to sigh while wearing his Chunin vest. "I'm sure that you will have no problems with us watching this little bout, and we won't even interfere." Sasuke said aloud, "HN. Whatever, do as you please, it doesn't matter to me anyway." However, his thoughts were elsewhere. "Actually, this will work better in my favor. I get Naruto beaten and his friends get to watch." After giving Shikamaru a quick glance, Naruto said, "Shika, would you mind getting us started since we're here?" "All right, let's begin the match between Sasuke Uchiha and Naruto Uzumaki. Are you ready?" "Go!" Both men yelled as they charged at one another. The first move was a spinning back fist that Sasuke aimed at Naruto's head. Naruto ducked under it, only to discover that it was a ruse to get him to kick his face covertly. With a slight handshake, Naruto blocked the shot and took a step back, saying, "Upgrades. I guess you can learn from your mistakes." Sasuke laughed arrogantly, "I have been getting stronger than the last time we faced off in the exams. I will have to pay you back for breaking my arm and humiliating me." The Uzumaki scowled softly but remained silent, choosing instead to return to his stance and lunge at the Uchiha, delivering a straight punch to Sasuke's chest that the Uchiha blocked and held him in place. "I thought I told you before, Naruto. I have gotten stronger than last time." Uchiha.san, being stronger does not always imply that you have become smarter. Furthermore, we have only just started, so don't get arrogant. The Uchiha flailed in the air for a while before righting himself to slam feet first into a nearby tree. Naruto then broke Sasuke's hold on him and grabbed his shirt to throw him over his shoulder hard like a rag doll. He then proceeded to move in a familiar series of hand signals. Kaden. Gukaku no Jutsu. Everyone gasped in surprise as a massive fireball blazed towards the Jinchuriki, and the teenager rolled his eyes as the flames consumed him. The Uchiha smiled, but then broke it when Naruto's voice came from behind him and said, "Phew, that was a little toasty. You think you can turn up the heat a little bit more, so we can toast my backside too?" "Stop making fun of me." Naruto pulled out his sword and deflected his opponent's kunai salvo after he roared, "You must do better than that, Uchiha. Then try this. Jibashi, Raiden." Sasuke used Lee's speed to get behind him and grab his arm, causing volts to flow through his body and a scream to escape from his throat before he vanished with a tiny puff of smoke. "What the?" First blade. Residual moon. After being lightly slashed on the back, Sasuke screamed in agony and spun around, eliminating 2 kunai to force a head.to. Head battle. "I see that you have also picked up some knowledge, probably from your master, am I correct?" As they retreated to fight, Sasuke pressed hard against the Jinchuriki, who responded, "Yes, that is correct." Shoji said, looking on with wide eyes. These two. This is a spar. No. This isn't a spar, Shoji-san. This fight is a battle, a clash of ideals. On one side, the ideal of strength found in just yourself or the strength found in protecting the ones you love, Sakura said with a demeanor. When Sasuke delivered a vicious kick to the Jinchuriki's chest, Ino reacted by rolling backwards and hurling his titanium-edged sword at Sasuke. Wow. That is kind of deep, even for you, Sakura. Ino winced a little. Sasuke cursed as he thought, how could I not see that? I should be as fast as Lee with my Sharingan on since I copied his movements. The Uchiha skillfully sidestepped the deadly missile from harm, receiving a slight cut because he was not fast enough. Sasuke yelled, Kaden. Housenka no jutsu. Naruto slowly stood up, thinking, you fool, your eyes may be able to follow and catch movements, but they are useless if your own body can't follow to catch up. In response, Sasuke spat fireballs at Naruto, who dodged the tiny fireballs and ran in a tight circle. Naruto began with a knee to the ribs, but fortunately Sasuke was able to block that and push the offending appendage away to go for a quick jab at Naruto's head. The pseudo Daywalker pulled out his glaives and threw them at Sasuke, who ducked and weaved away, allowing Naruto to approach and engage in hand combat. The Uchiha recovered by punching him in the knee and ribs, but the Jinchuriki quickly spun around on his foot to get out of the way and elbowed Sasuke in the side. The Uchiha was forced to kneel, but Naruto used the position to his advantage, aiming his punches at his opponent's thighs and lower torso before launching a huge uppercut that sent him up on his back and allowing him to regain his bearings for more punishment. With grim satisfaction, everyone watched as he simply countered all of the Uchiha's moves and returned fire, giving him his just desserts. Eventually, the Uzumaki put an end to his suffering by giving the Uchiha a straight kick. For several minutes, Sasuke writhed on the ground in agony, coughing as he struggled to get oxygen back into his lungs. Naruto calmly waited for him to stand up and said, "You okay? Are you in need of a break?" The Uzumaki dodged and blocked every attack as Sasuke yelled in rage and started attacking him carelessly. The Uchiha attempted a straight kick to Naruto, but the Jinchuriki twisted as he leapt in midair and slammed his fist down on his head, sending the Uchiha face first to the ground. Naruto took a step back as Sasuke moaned in agony and remarked, "Well, I believe we are done here, Sasuke, that was a nice spar." "What are you discussing? This battle is far from over, and I have only just begun." "No, this spar is over. Your jutsu repertoire is the only thing I've noticed you change. You haven't learned from any of your mistakes, and your rage gets the better of you, making you careless and irrational. There is no point in continuing if this is all you have because it will be a minor rerun of what occurred during the exams." Naruto then stepped back from the Uchiha, who stood up, trembling with shame, humiliation, and the most common emotion on his face. Anger. "No, Uzumaki. You're going to fight me now. Either way." He ran through hand signals at that point and used Kakashi's signature jutsu to charge directly at Naruto. Naruto turned to face Sasuke and sighed, saying, "There is no point in convincing you to stand down now that you have got and done that." To his surprise and astonishment, however, Sasuke sidestepped the Uzumaki and accelerated toward his intended target, Hinata. The Rasengan appeared as Naruto's eyes widened in shock but quickly narrowed. Using the Kawarimi technique, the Uzumaki replaced his beloved in an instant and swiftly collected chakra in his left hand. "You fool." When someone appeared between them and grabbed each of their wrists to throw them apart, Sakura gasped, "Kakashi." "Sensei." Kakashi slowly stood up and exhaled in relief, saying, "Phew, made it in time. Well, it's nice to see you two playing again, but tell me, do you two have to be so brutal with each other and use such techniques against each other's back? You realize that you are allies, not foes?" "Kakashi, what are you doing here? You had no authority to meddle in our conflict." Kakashi's lone eye narrowed as he said, "First of all, this was an unsanctioned fight that happened here and there. Since you were fighting a Chunin, there had to be a Jonin here." The Uchiha grunted angrily as he tore his arm out of the tree trunk into which his Chidori was embedded. "Second, with the support of the Hyuga clan and a number of other people, you claimed that you would compel the council to do something unpleasant to Hinata Hyuga. Excuse me. Hinata Uzumaki, who is unofficially Naruto's wife. This would result in a blood feud between you and Naruto. Third, you attempted to use my jutsu on an unwary bystander after I warned you about the dangers of doing so against your allies." As he realized that he was facing Kakashi of the Sharingan, the copycat ninja, and not the carefree, bumbling pervert, Sasuke perspired a little because he had never seen Kakashi so enraged. Naruto started gathering his weapons and putting them back where they belonged, and Sasuke answered, What about him? At most, he did everything correctly. The most you will receive is docked pay and several D ranks. This won't happen again, right, Naruto? Kakashi turned to face Naruto. Crystal, our fight is done. Kakashi-san, don't. Just don't, Sasuke said, gritting his teeth and stepping forward to face Naruto, who held up a glaive that was ready to be thrown. The main reason I indulged you was that you seemed very anal retentive about someone who has more skill than you, and you also managed to piss me the fuck off. You take such a step and I will kill you on the grounds for what you just tried to do. The next time you want to fight me, it should be in a sanctioned fight or during the Jonin exams, even though we may not get along. Naruto then left, followed by the Rookie 9, who gave Sasuke angry, shocked, and disappointed glares. Sasuke ignored this, stuffed his fists in his pockets, and started to leave, that is, until ninja wire trapped him against the tree through Kakashi. What? Oh no, Kakashi. Give me a break. We are not done. Genin Uchiha, because I do distinctly remember tell you that if I found you using that move that you stole me no less for ill purposes, I would detain you and have you spend the week in jail. What the devil? What's wrong with you? Why is he so unique? He should have all that authority simply because he is the fourth son. And there it is, your favorite word. I wonder if it was the first word you learned as a child, but whatever, let me respond to your query with one. Sasuke, why do you feel that you are unique enough to desire other people's power rather than honing your own abilities? Compared to you, Naruto had nothing. At least you knew your parents. He had nothing growing up, no one to love, care for, or feed him, but he never sank into self-pity. You have no justification for the things you did today because he got up, made the decision to do something about it, and worked hard to become the person he is today. In just a few months, you have alienated yourself from your comrades, destroyed what little teamwork you had with Naruto and Sakura, and proven yourself to be a flight risk, the one-eyed scarecrow continued in a solemn tone. I have no other option, but you will be placed under arrest for insubordination, assault and battery, attempted murder, and disorderly conduct under my jurisdiction, Genin Uchiha. If you pass, your ability to continue your career as a ninja will be questioned, and you will undergo a psychological evaluation because I believe you are untrustworthy. Man, that felt good, Kakashi whispered as he traveled to the prison via Shunshin no Jutsu. Sasuke's anger reached a peak as he started cursing Kakashi until Kakashi knocked him out cold rather roughly and took him away to be placed in a cell. He had no idea that 4 foreign ninja were watching him and that they were associated with the Land of Sound, which was the territory ruled by the snake Sannin, Orochimaru. So Orochimaru Sama wants that little shit with the duck-ass hair. He looks more like a whiny, prickly bitch than anything impressive. To Yuya, ladies shouldn't use such language like that. Shut the fuck up, Jirobo, nobody was asking your damn opinion, fat ass. Kidomaru, did you get them on track? Quiet down, you too. Naturally, Sakin, I managed to place a tracer of him with one of my spiders, but judging by the look of the map given to us by the proverbial old man from Zelda, it looks like he is heading to the jail. We will have to wait until nightfall to retrieve the vessel, and the person taking him is Sharingan no Kakashi. We need to keep quiet for the time being, but we have plenty of time to deliver Orochimaru's new body on schedule. He is just one goddamn Jonin, Yuya said, gazing at the leader. How could he be that much of a problem? Kakashi Hatake is not to be taken so lightly. His power is just on par with Kabuto, and you do remember that bastard can take down all 4 of us with a bit of difficulty. Plus we don't know the environment as well as he does, and he could be a beacon to get all of the forces here, so we are going to lay low until we see a moment. With her lips pursed, Yuya said, TCH, fine.
That's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this great story. See you in the next one.